growing quickly to where they need people with admin experience and stuff like the other day. It's like him and I are always talking about ADP and how to do payroll and stuff. Cause like I did payroll for like 7 years. So, stuff like that where I think if I get in now and kind of cut my teeth, I think they'll be like, oh yeah, and that guy knows how to do safety stuff, OSHA stuff, emergency response stuff. Like he can train all our guys, he can set our programs up. He can
be dope.
Yeah, so.
Be the official HR.
Yeah, as much as I don't like that title. Fuck HR. But
I think it depends on like where.
HR
is involved.
Yeah. I mean, HR at the end of the day is just to protect the company. Like they portray themselves as like helping you as the employee, but as long as
they're almost kind of like a pseudo legal team. Yeah.
They're the first line of defense. Anyway, I will get out of your way so you guys can get started.
I already pushed the button.
Good to see you, Avery.
Push the button.
I already pushed the button.
You already pushed the button. Good to see you too. Good to see you, V.
Yeah, good to see you. Have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Pull that mic to your face.
Don't have too much fun in the morning.
No, I won't.
There's one for you, 2B.
Hi guys.
Bye.
You talking to this one?
The second head.
He wishes.
I lost my dick on the job a long time ago.
Yeah, just rolling the hardwood one because you don't roll plastic. So
Very, very tragic injection molding accident. Hello, Evan.
I didn't think about that when I named it that, but here we are. Because the episode is called Third Nipple, so because my episode names don't matter. So,
Yeah.
but the bullet.
Well, I guess if we're starting now. Dickie, what would you like to discuss today?
Avery already bounced. I forgot there's like a fucking delay. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, he bounced. He was gonna be. He got changed to 8 in the morning. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Being a mailman.
Yeah, no, I mean that's I can relate to him like a lot in this exact
Oh
way.
yeah, totally.
Because I spent 7 years in the corporate world just fucking bullshit, just my God, just nonstop. And I had an interview today with a synthetic hormone company in North Glen.
Hi guys.
Oof.
Hi, Abin.
Little loud.
And one of the questions I asked them in the interview,
Oh,
because they ask you, what questions do you have for us? And I was just like, all right, do you guys do any sort of like sensitivity training or like anything of that nature? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh yes, we have an extensive blah, blah, blah. And right then and there, I'm like, I'm not working for these people. Not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Like, I get that stuff's important, but I feel like most people are decent enough to kind of inherently have that. And I understand corporations do that to legally cover their ass.
Well, you gotta remember that. I would say that most people don't have that actually. Working with a lot of people.
I do.
I know, I agree, but you also say some ridiculous ass shit too.
Only here. It only goes on YouTube.
I mean, my name is Dick, and I get it. So like, it's one of those like scenarios. Like,
But then again, you have never been unfair or unmeasured.
right,
Like, you know what I mean?
right. I agree.
Even to total strangers that are being assholes to you, you're always like kind of like I am. Like, whoa, guys, let's.
Well, it's also one of those things. Like, I've learned that like.
You're not
It's all
just
in
like
the delivery of things too. I can
you
say
know,
some ridiculous ass shit.
your Amazon package shows up a day late, and you're like, the Jews. You're not like that.
Definitely not. Yeah, I mean that's also comes from like the place of like dealing with those kind of people. Like, even with like a bartender, like that was always miserable. Of like dealing with like people that were like, I need my drink now. I'm like, well, you can wait behind the 30 other people that were here before you. Situation.
Yeah, that guy, and that guy ordered before you. So
yeah, I kind of miss bartending, to be honest. That was, I mean, I worked at like the primo place for a functional drunk to work.
Yes. I was going to say, what is the nice way to say what this was?
Like, I will put it this way, like, I only drink, like, a couple times a week these days, but, like...
It was the best place for a dysfunctional drunk it was the most functional place for a dysfunctional bartender to work.
I'm a functioning drunk. I like being hammered.
Functioned, yes.
Yeah. I function well, even being hammered.
But at the same time, I mean, it was, I don't know, that was kind of those, like, it was a very yin and yang, like two dull edges of a sword colliding sort of thing.
Kinda, yeah. Like, it was one of those places where, like, again, when the owners are feeding you more booze than you're serving everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. They, like, did not give a shit what we did, because I always made money. Like, when I broke my legs and I couldn't work there anymore, they lost 15 G's a month, and I worked Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah. And it's just because when Dickie was working, like, literally the hookah bar, everyone would just be like...
Both hookah bars.
Yeah,
Chiba Hut would come across.
And Chiba Hut would come over.
Dude, like, Monday nights, I'd walk out of there with $400 in my own pocket from tips. So, like, and it was just from the Chiba Hut crew.
And then the fun would really begin.
Oh, my God. We would, like, again, like, the owners there, like, they were not good owners as far as, like, a making money bar. But for me and us, like, as friends, like, we were always in there anyways prior to working there. But when I started working there, there was some nights where, like, if nobody came in and, like, it was like 3 or 4 of us, we'd just drink a bottle and the next day I'd just come and replace it or whatever. So it was like one of the places where they didn't really give a shit. We never got in trouble. Like, the only time I got in trouble, nobody actually should have been in trouble. Like,
it was more political.
Yeah, it was just the police not liking that we had probably too many people in the bar, for one. Because it was like, I think the people limit in that bar is like 90 people. And the night we got in trouble, we probably had 150 to 200 in there.
That's fair.
And one bartender and one bar back, and that was it. Because it was just a one-man show, like, and even then, like, I just had to have Stefan fucking run the drinks because I was running out of cups.
Oh, Stefan.
I didn't have time to do anything.
God, I forgot all about Stefan. Whatever happened to him?
I talked to him. He wanted me to go hang out with him on Sunday. He was playing like where the artery used to be.
Always liked him.
Yeah, so he's
good
still
people.
around.
If you're gonna go like hang out or at a show or something where he's at or whatever, let me know.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him again.
I woke up too late because I was up till like 8 or 9 in the morning. I didn't get it till like fucking like 5 p.m. Yeah. But yeah, I see him every couple months. I see him.
He's one of the goofiest people I ever met. One of the sweetest too, though.
Well, he's a very nice guy. I would agree with him being odd. Odd is the word for that. He's just this. I mean, he's only like a few years older than we are too.
Which is crazy because when you see him, it's like Danny Glover.
Like old Danny Glover,
fuck
not
is
like
that? Old ass black man.
Yeah.
Who are you?
And he is. I mean, he's black too. So.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
He's not light skinned black. He's black.
Hollywood typecast 7 Years a Slave black. He's as black as black gets.
I mean, he's a goofy ass dude for sure.
But he's like I don't know. There was so many times when he was so out of his way to be nice to me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's good people for sure. Yeah, I see him. You know, like I said, like every month or every other month I see him. So
nice. Yeah, I'd like to
last time I heard, like, he was selling fucking forklifts.
With him, nothing surprises, man. Just like, well, all right, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's got the gift of gab for sure.
Yep, exactly.
So,
I mean,
and to sell forklifts, you kind of have to just be able to talk to people because who the fuck is buying forklifts anyways?
Yeah.
Like going to a dealership and buying them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's weird to me. Like, because when you think of like that place, you think of like a corporation where they're just gonna order it from some fucking big place.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, there is a used market or something, but it's weird. I don't get it.
Well, if there's a way to make money, he'll find it.
True. He's also super stingy. So.
That is. Very shrewd businessman.
Not like a bad way, just like you just made.
If you're dealing with him in that sense, you just need to be aware of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just he's always been an odd cookie, but I mean that's also a black man and being into like house music anyways.
Right.
Like just that like right there, you're like, okay, you're a little weird. Just
yeah. Older black guy hanging out with college kids listening to house music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, not in like a fucking like disgusting way, because that sounds gross.
It does. I could have said
I
that.
know what you're talking about.
I could have phrased that a little better. He's a rapist. Yeah. No, that's cool. I'm glad he's doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's me. I talk to people that like nobody's talked to in forever.
no,
Like
I know
again,
you.
like you.
Well, that's
So-
why, like, every time I hang out with you, I'm just like, how's this person? How's this person?
Mm-hmm.
How's this person? Just because, like, you actually talk to these people.
Which is funny because I don't really call anybody, so it's kind of weird how that works out. I'm like you, but I answer my phone. I just don't call anybody.
That could be fair. I will say this, after decades of not answering my phone, people have stopped calling.
Except for me, because again,
Except for you.
I mean, I hit you up every once in a while, but like, I don't know, it's kind of like even on that one. Because like, you'll hit me up for like random ass shit too. Like the other day when you like, what do you think of this car? And I'm like,
Oh, no, what was I asking about?
Ford
Was it-
Flex.
Oh, yeah, the Flex. What don't you like about those?
It's not that I don't like them. I wouldn't own one unless I had an EcoBoost.
Well, yeah.
I go anywhere I see Stefan.
So Teddy. Yeah, so like it's one of those things where like you've always done that with me, but like, you've always been that way with me too. Like I know like
You're gross.
I actually think they look pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always liked the way they looked, and I don't know, I kind of like the style of them. In the EcoBoost all-wheel drive, I mean, that's...
Yeah, and they have
that's
the same EcoBoost that the show has.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean,
they get down.
So it's pretty cool. So
Well,
I don't know.
We were talking about how his dad, for the first time, they both agreed on a vehicle, and I was like, I'd see the day that you and Dickie actually agreed on a vehicle, and then that's when he.
We agree on things, but we just have it's our
reasoning behind the agreement that is
yeah.
very
So like
different.
we'll like certain like
We don't
obviously,
like things for the same reason.
the box. I mean that's what I told you it was. Like it is like a minivan situation.
Teddy, how many Volvos did I own?
Yeah, it is the same styling. But yeah, like we agree on cars and like those kind of things. But he just likes some outliers that I think are dumb, like Jaguars.
Oh,
They're stupid.
on.
Even like the Land Rover, we can agree on because for some reason he has got the best reliability out of the most
Unreliable car in the world.
vehicle ever.
Yes.
Like the Volvos, I understand fully. They're
rock
quirky
solid.
and weird, but they're solid as fuck. You put a ton of boost in them, and they're fun.
Yeah.
But like they've always been that kind of car where it's like
Yes.
there's like that like subset of people that like knows what to do with them and have fun with the situation when they're just designed to be a utilitarian vehicle and safe and all these things. But that makes them also a great car.
Because they're
To put
rigid
boosted-
chassis,
yeah.
rear-wheel drive, stout transmission, like
Yeah.
beat them up.
Like it made them the prime example of like a tuner car before tuner cars were like really
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing. And in Europe they were huge for that reason. Like
As
they-
rally cars and other things.
Yeah, because they're super tough. And honestly, that's what he needs, not a fucking hunk of chunk of Zuzu. But he does like things that I'm like working on cars my entire life and growing up in them where I'm like, that is fucking dumb. But that's not saying that like they can't be good cars or they can't like do good shit. Because I find all cars garbage. I like cars that are like generally like pretty easy to work on or like parts are readily available kind of situations because like
And
I don't want to fuck with like
I like a challenge.
yeah I don't want to fuck with that situation. That's why my truck's been broken for 3 fucking years, even though like I have everything to like. I'm gonna try to put the transmission together tomorrow.
This is my favorite piece of advertising. Talk about brilliant marketing. My favorite piece of advertising I've ever seen
Do
in
that.
my
I need to do-
entire life.
I need to do some.
Oh my god.
What do you?
This one. You know the one.
Oh. Yeah, that's a very you scenario there for sure.
Yep. No, when I had the gray 940 and had it all done up and had the T3, T4 on there and it was running like 25 pounds of boost and it was just retardo car. I used to just love that. Like,
Well, and that's before like a lot of people did those things.
well,
too.
I was one of the first people in Fort Collins. Like there was
Life isn't your mom's minivan.
true. But there was one other guy in Fort Collins that modified Volvos. One other guy that I would see out cruising back when you could still do that. and I would see him rarely. But I remember the first time we saw each other, like we were going opposite ways on college, and I was like, another Volvo? What the fuck? And both of us had the same idea, turn around and try to go find the guy. So then I see him going the other way, and I'm going the other way. We're like, shit. So we turn around again, and we see each other going the other way and going the other way. We went around like 4 times before we finally caught up with one another, and it was just like, he was like, oh my God. And I was like, dude. But yeah, no, that car was fucking great, because I'd pull in a Taco Bell, and people would just look at me like, you know me, kind of spindly, diminutive dude.
Spindly, diminutive dude.
Just kind of getting out of my Volvo, walking up to all these guys with Hondas and Mitsubishi Eclipses and Talons and all this shit. I walk up and be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, you got this. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And then just be like, well, if I see you out there, let's run them. And they'd kind of be like, what are you driving? Like, oh, I'm a Volvo over there. And it just looked totally stock. And just be like,
well, again, because you can run just big old boost, and because the motors didn't give a shit.
Yep, I ran 25 pounds.
And back then, in those days when you had that was like not a normal situation.
Nobody knew.
Yeah, like nobody would, like,
yeah.
You had some Honda drag racers running that kind of boost. This is before, like, the V8 guys decided that boost was good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like...
Going
so
to be all motor. Yeah, at a mile above sea level. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Well, and that was... I mean, that's a big thing, too, like, watching, like, drag racing stuff now. Like, I was watching Cletus earlier, and, like... Everybody has twin turbo LSs and nitrous on everything.
Well,
and
Eagles of Freedom.
Back in the day, like no guy that was running V8s would put turbos on anything.
Supercharger, sure.
But even then, like those were way more expensive.
They were so expensive, no one could get them.
And they weren't doing the same kind of boost situation. So like unless you're like top run like real fast back then, but now you can do like a 5.3 out of a fucking Chevy pickup for $400
from a junkyard.
Take the heads off. Re-ring the things, shave the rings down, put them in, stock everything, put a stock fucking head gasket back on it, put some ARP studs in it, put twin turbos, make 1,000 horsepower for like $3 to $4 grand, and you're done.
Didn't Roadkill that junkyard 5.3 that they twin turboed it wasn't Roadkill, Engine Masters.
Yeah.
But they did one, and I don't even think they shaved the rings.
They did. They had to.
They did.
They, later on in the thing, they had to.
So they shaved the rings, but I don't think they did anything else really. And
nobody's doing anything.
And they made 1,400 horsepower.
That's a little on the excessive side. That's when they broke it.
No way reliable.
But they were looking to see how far they could take it without
That's in no way reliable, but that's incredible that you take something that was designed for X and then times it by 4, and it's just like, yeah, okay.
Well, times it by 5.
Almost 5.
Pretty much, because those old iron block 5.3s are only 290 horsepower.
Yeah.
So, like 1,500, and that's things like
nuts.
The way to go, apparently, is actually take the 4.8, which are super cheap because nobody wants them.
Yeah.
And do the same thing, and they make 1,000 all day, forever. They don't they do not care. It's not until you start putting a little bit too much nitrous into it that they give a shit. But yeah, cars these days are wild. I was talking to Dan the other day because he was on the forefront of the Honda suit for a long time.
Did he try my steak marinade?
I have no idea.
I'll talk to him about that.
I sent it to him, so.
Because I have a couple of other ones now that are simple. My thing is I want 2 or 3 ingredients, period. Nothing else.
That's fair.
Simple, right? That's the deal. I came up with one that uses mayo. That's that's very interesting.
All right.
Put it that way. Needs some work, but it's.
But yeah, I was talking to him about cars. We look at even daily cars now. A Toyota Camry has 300 horsepower.
Or more. 330 or
no,
something?
They're just shy of 300 right now for the generation.
Which is ridiculous for a Camry.
Well, I mean, they kind of have to because they're heavy now compared to what they used to be. And we got to remember that, safety, those kind of things. But they're still fast.
But to have the I guess, reliability and marketability.
Out of a 3.5 liter, whatever.
It's amazing.
But we're looking back at, when we were in high school, those days, a 500 horsepower car was for street car was damn.
Insane.
That's a hefty, that's a scenario.
When I built my Volvo.
700-800 horsepower was the maximum for anything that was possibly street driven.
Oh, yeah.
And even then they were unusable.
When I built my Volvo, when I dynoed it, it came up at a little over 300. And they were this is that's perfect street car.
Right. And I still think 300 to 400 is still perfect street car.
But nowadays, like you said, a Camry has 300.
Right. So, and that's one of those things where I was a 700 horsepower car was the top end for possibly street driven, which is, they still weren't very fun to drive in the street. But now you got street driven cars that make 2,000 horsepower.
Oh, yeah. And
that
they
like
just,
are
they roll around them.
if you drive them nicely, they're perfectly capable to just drive all day.
Yeah, you can drive them gentle or you can not.
Yeah, so and that's kind of crazy because again, like you got like GTRs and you got that 3,000 horsepower Viper and shit where it's like these are all stock designed engines. They're nothing crazy in them, and they make 3,000 horsepower, which is it blows your brain. That's why like it's like and the tire technology has kept up with that situation too, which is
That's
even
the big
more wild to me.
Beaming face with smiling eyes.
Hi.
Oh, it's less snurf.
Hey, she needs attention right now. She's been stuck at home.
Yeah, COVID stuff.
Yeah.
She hasn't tested positive, right?
No, she tested negative.
But your mom did.
Yes.
And then like 5 people that worked around her did. So.
Well, that's why Travis isn't here. His mom got it this week.
Oh.
And
Oh no.
he's seen her in that time frame, so he's like, I'm not going to show up today.
I just hope I get it and die.
Oh,
I want to be one of those numbers on CNN over on that side of the screen. That's kind of my life's goal at this point.
I mean, you're not going to die.
No, I know.
So,
They could drop a nuclear bomb in this place. It'd be like me, Charlie, and 5 cockroaches left over. Like that's how this works.
I've been proven pretty hard to kill, so I'll put myself in that boat.
You might be.
you guys will just be the
We'll come
squad.
check.
I got titanium.
Me and oh, that's right. You are the robot.
Yeah.
The robot. You're the robot.
Indestructible roach squad. Roach squad.
Roach squad. Yeah. Seriously.
I mean, I start like at the beginning of this like situation.
Heart rationing cause of death with reed coated.
This is also true.
At the start of this, I was like, part of me was like, you know what? This is kind of like nature's way of just like thin the herd situation. And I was talking to like an Uber driver
Yeah.
about this, like a Lyft driver, and she was like a little older, and I was like, I'm not trying to like, be like insensitive and all this shit.
But just
like
looking at it empirically, just at data.
right as
like,
a data only scenario, world's a little overpopulated.
Yeah.
We have a few too many people. I don't want nobody to die by any means. I'm not like saying that, but like statistically, it's not gonna hurt shit. That's why like
Yeah.
the environmental things started like coming back a little bit. Like all those things like what was it that the canal in Italy like turned fucking clear again.
for the first time in like 100
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like things where like
Venice, you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's Venice.
They actually had dolphins swimming through.
Right. So it's one of those things where it's like there was some good situations that kind of out of the deal.
Well, and maybe we can learn from that.
Right, and it's also one of those like
You know?
scenarios. Well, the problem, the people that are against like that are very anti-maskers, all this shit are very actually anti-environmental too because they're stupid. But they don't look at it the same way. Like, oh, I can just do whatever the fuck I want to do because I'm a person.
I am anti-mask in the sense that I wonder about the efficacy of making absolutely everybody do it. A, because the data's not necessarily there, but 2, now that like Fauci and those guys are like floating the idea. I mean, this was a week or 2 ago, but there's still people propagating it. The idea that you need to wear like double mask and stuff like that. I'm like, that's literally not gonna help anyone.
Well, I mean, again, they're just going off statistics on the situation. So you look at like the data, and it's like, yeah, obviously 2 masks are better than 1. Duh.
Sure.
It's like a duh situation, but
Yeah.
it isn't very much like. And I've looked at it this way too, like.
But mounting a, it seems very silly at this point. And like you said, it comes down to a point where we have to, as a society, decide, is it okay? I mean, it's not okay.
Right.
It's not okay that people are dying. It's not okay. But is there an acceptable...
Right. I also had that like scenario where I'm like, hey, this, like, I'm not like trying to be like the perpetrator of like doing things. Yeah, we've had people over and that kind of shit.
Wingate with all my mask requirements. He seems slightly above the average Facebook.
Thank you, Jack.
What's up, Wingate?
You got a hand out. We got everybody over here apparently.
And Hannah. Jeez.
But I look at it like multiple ways. Is kind of the thing. It's like I'm not the perpetrator. Like I'm not trying to like. I haven't been to a bar in like several months and this kind of shit. I miss like this bar scenario, like all that stuff, and like I have the opportunity to. It's just one of those like things where I'm like I struggle with the situation because I'm like I don't want to like perpetrate it. I don't want to be a part of the deal. I don't want to get it. I don't want to like get other people sick. but it's also like, well, where is the end, and how are we going to change it? And again, I think it is
because this can't continue indefinitely, and,
Right.
and I think that the biggest thing is something that we struggle with in this social media culture that we have now, and this not only social media but old school media driven culture that we're in right now, or whoever's the talking head on TV has this to say about that, and blah blah blah. And unfortunately, people like you and me, we look at that and go, not you, you believe everything you're told. But people like you and me look at that and we're just like, well, what exactly does that mean? Like, willing to take a real look at like a little bit of data, a little bit of facts, maybe even not even if you don't have data and facts, just apply logic to the situation.
correct.
That
Which
that
is data and facts.
it is driven by that, but even you can make a logical decision just based off of not actual data either.
Right.
But at the same time, my biggest thing that I wish that people in our current kind of sphere and generation and just world in general, the one thing I wish they would remember is that you need to think about how is history going to view these decisions. Because there's a lot of decisions being made in the last year that history is going to look back on and be like, what fucking idiots.
Right.
Like, what the fuck were you guys thinking? Now, I get it. We're panicking and we're trying to do this and trying to do that. But at the same time, some of those decisions, not all, some of them were sound and probably the right thing to do. But there are definitely some where it's like, you base that on fucking nothing, and the fact that you had the power to say it and the platform to say it meant that it got out to everybody and got propagated. And now it's a fucking problem.
Right.
And that's my thing is like, will history be kind to this decision?
Right. Well, and I think a majority of them, I think it will be. I think that, some good things have come out of this situation too, where it's like we've realized that like
lots
again,
have.
like where these people that are going to the office every day just to sit there and fuck off,
Jesus.
like and like those kind of things where like now like again like I can work from home as long as my shit gets done. Nobody should care what happens.
And stuff like that where it's like that's a perfect example of something that's come from this that's excellent,
right?
And as well as like the environmental stuff, and to a degree, where it's like, do you need to burn a bunch of fucking carbon and do all this shit to get to an office where you sit so that you have some asshole just occasionally hovering? No, you fucking don't. Like, stay home and do your job, and as long as your job's getting done, performance-based, boom, there we go.
Right.
Done.
So, like, again, like, that's kind of like the thing is, like, there's a lot of things that, like, we have to, like, look at that way, where it's, like, there is some good shit, there's some bad shit, there's, and then it's those people that, like, always just feel that they're always right, that I struggle with a lot in this situation.
And that's a good point. With the people who always feel right, the other thing that gets forgotten a lot of times is that that's on both sides of the political spectrum.
You're not wrong.
There's a lot of people there's like, fuck masks and fuck this and fuck that. And then on the other side, it's, well, we need more of this, more of that, more of this, more of that. No school, no this, no blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, okay, we've lost a lot of, I think, something that this is exposing, this pandemic, another good thing, is that we've lost a lot of nuance in our ability to make decisions. So you need to be able to sit down and be like, hey, all right, we hear what you're saying, and we hear what you're saying over here, but
there is a motion in the
there's
middle.
got to be a middle ground, guys. We got to come to an agreement here,
right?
Because we can't just have it your way, and we just can't have it your way,
right? Because if we make it one way or the other, it's a problem, and that's why I look at it like too, like like I get like the just let everybody get it, that kind of shit. I get that, and then but then there's also the moment where like if you look at the rule of large numbers, like we would just did this. And if there is only, let's say a 10%, contact rate or whatever it is, then we're losing 30 to 40 million people like that.
Sure.
So it's one of those like moments where it's like there's got to be a balance, and finding that balance is difficult, and we don't know where the balance is.
But
we've never really experienced it the same way. Like we can look at like the Spanish flu of 1918 or whatever it was.
Well, back then science was in its infancy with regard to virology and other things.
Well, especially pandemics and those kind of things.
Yeah, that was in its infancy at that time. Now we have a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge, and I think it's just finding, like you were saying, just kind of. Obviously, we don't want 30, 40 million people to disappear like that, but obviously we all don't want to just lock ourselves in a cube like John Travolta or a bubble boy or whatever.
Well, and
we don't
obviously
wanna
that's
do
not
that
working.
either.
in this
and
country,
that doesn't necessarily work either. Well, in this country, I think that's more of a cultural thing.
right? Well, and that's part of the problem is it's always being right, and that's why
Because
again
America's very
we have
rights and freedom driven.
per capita we have.
Whereas other countries, they're used to just being like, "Hey, we're China. Yeah, weld us inside our apartment buildings." Like, they don't give a fuck.
So, well, and I don't think that they don't give a fuck. It's just they're not used to the situation,
Well,
and that's why
it's
they've
not
come
that-
out of this a lot better than we have, even though they have.
It's
a lot
not that
more
they don't
people.
give a fuck. It's just they don't understand any.
They don't have the choice to do
Right.
anything.
They don't have a choice.
So, and the thing is that the people that were passing it along when we should have been, in the OG portion of the lockdown, like, where
That's
like,
such a sad thing.
we need
for
to
you say.
stop the situation.
God.
I agree, but like the point is, at some point, if we all would have done that, like I did, like I only saw like 2 or 3 people every week in that situation.
Yeah, if and
If
here's
it was
the thing.
possible, it wasn't
Now-
possible.
Now the science is pretty clear that 2 weeks wouldn't have been enough.
Right.
So it probably would have been to be like 4 weeks. But if we had all as a world just bang done it,
We'd be done.
okay. But that's also kind of impossible in the sense that people still need food.
Right.
People still need care.
Right. And
Like what is my 95-year-old grandma supposed to do? Just not take her medicine now because she can't get it delivered?
Right. And
You know what I
that's
mean? Like-
I agree.
It's
But so like there's those people like, and the things like I have members in my family that didn't do anything, that were like they still went about their day exactly normal,
Yeah.
exactly the same reason, and like I've been surprised like their situation hasn't been like worse than what it is, and like we can talk about that like a little bit off the podcast where I'm like I'll explain something where you're like that shouldn't be the way that it was.
True.
And it, go back to where we were.
Well, and then there's Evan.
Well, there is Evan.
I mean, he's like for a living. That's all he does.
So yeah, it's one of those like scenarios
It's a
where
miracle he's not dead.
Well, for several reasons, but but we can say the same thing about us too.
Yeah.
I mean, I should be dead several times. All the crazy shit that I've done. So again, like just having metal in my legs.
I'm surprised Kayla didn't kill us that night we broke her window. We should have died that morning.
I don't like that bitch.
Nobody does, but she was fiery.
I remember one day she was like, it was like during the time frame when I was like, I just, me, like when I don't like somebody, I just stop talking to them. I just don't. Even if I see them, I just don't even acknowledge the situation or whatever. It makes people way more mad than being mad at them. It's so much more fun.
And in a very dark and kind of vindictive way, it's quite entertaining.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. I love it. Again, if I'm like over, like get the fuck out of my face, I just stop talking. I just don't care.
I've ended many relationships.
And
that way.
she was still kind of dating John at the time, and we were at the shop, and they're doing a bunch of drugs or whatever, and I show up, and like I'm just like doing my thing, and she had her shirt off, and honestly, as a physical scenario, very pretty girl,
Oh yeah.
very pretty girl.
Yeah.
But like since her personality was just so bad that I was just like, you're just not even
Yeah.
attractive whatsoever. And
Just go stand over
She,
there
like,
and like occasionally change poses.
in her
but don't
high
say
scenario,
anything.
she was like, Dickie, do you find me attractive? And I looked straight to her face and was like, no. It didn't go over that well, but it wasn't that bad either. It wasn't like she was like punching me at that point. So yeah, I tried to like that girl. I just never could.
Yeah, I did too. Well, like one night we were at the shop upstairs there, and like everybody had passed out. It was just me and her, and we were talking for a little bit. And I kind of that night in particular, I kind of tried like the same thing where I was like, all right, not a huge fan of this person. I'm stuck here with them. Yeah. I'm stuck with this person though for the next like probably 4 or 5 hours at least. So all right. Tell me about yourself, like whatever, and yeah, there was nothing there to like.
Yeah, and again, I tried. I mean, her and John like kind of dated for a long ass time, and she was around for a long time.
Kind of dated, long ass time. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
And I just wasn't a fan. There was this no, and there's several other people that I considered friends prior to that, like basically turned into that situation where I'm like, I just don't even bother dealing with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, having as many friends as we've had over the time frame too, because like we've had no shortage of like people around. Kind of,
sorta. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, no. That's a very like eastern, coastal scenario there, Evan.
She's giving me shit like all the time now because she found out that my mom is from Minnesota, and some of that rubs off on me, right? So like sometimes I'll be talking, and I'll just be like, "Hey, these are,
Working in a hospital, I have seen the scary start and seen people die. Been really sick and virus not touch others. But we have seen the
okay.
10 days post-holiday get
Thanks,
together
Mom.
rise our
We kind of
numbers.
moved on from that one.
yeah."
Down of COVID patients. We have actual surgical, other illnesses, and
Well, that's nice. I like it. I like that.
Well,
We've
that's
moved
true.
on. We moved on from that situation. Because I don't want to talk about that forever and ever. I want
moving on.
It's the COVID Cast, brought to you by Arby's. Come on down for our 2 for $6 deal.
to 2 for
Nick
6.
should have died a few times with his craziness.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've been so bored
It's
the past year.
It's like
Because in 2 weeks it'll be a year since I've been just basically here always.
Yeah. No death in your life. Well, like potential death. Put it that way.
Well, for me,
Yeah, for you.
I've experienced
talking
things.
personal.
it's like this little.
Uh-oh.
I was on Facebook,
sounds like a Sarah.
and I'm always on Facebook. But there's this one where these little boys are standing on one side of the trash can, and it's one of those like you step on the thing and it opens, and the other little boy is standing on the other side, and on the subject line it says, "This is why women live longer than men." And this little kid, these little
it's a
boys
Kate.
are taking turns.
Hi.
It's a Keita.
I thought it was a Sarah. I was like,
Is Sarah going over?
she says she is now. She
Yeah,
wasn't
she
going
might.
to be, but
And
hello. I didn't know you were coming though. So
Yeah, I didn't know.
We
I love that. I didn't even know I was coming. I just showed up.
I didn't even know I was going to be here.
I hopped into a car and
I
just
just know
drove
where
me
the
here.
music takes me.
the 4 of us look so Colorado right now. Just jeans and whatever. Fuck it.
I gotta grab my hat. It's just never at the house that I can have one of these strawberry.
Of course, you can have whatever you want over there.
That'd be more.
Not worried about it.
So good. I raced a Ford Fiesta here. I won.
The Focus First Fiesta situation.
Then he stopped to go to the liquor store, and I was like, I fucking made it. So
Fair.
sorry, I interrupted you guys.
No, that's fine. I was like, I'm pretty sure that Sarah just based on like the noise coming across the floor. It wasn't a Scotty D situation, so
Oh no, those are hard to you.
Yeah,
always
very-
know those
very
things,
different.
for Sure, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I was telling him about the story about how they have those memes where boys do more reckless things than girls do.
Yes.
And there's this one where these little boys are playing with this trash can, one of those metal ones, and they step on the thing and the lid pops open. Well, they're taking turns stepping on it while the other kid is just getting slammed in the face by the lid. And they're just taking turns, and then the subject line, "This is why girls live longer than boys."
Oh, I've seen
And there's-
I've seen the ones with like the teeter-totters. You remember those? And you'd get like a really big kid to like jump on the end and you'd go flying.
Mhm.
Like, this is why girls live longer than boys. And I'm like, I don't know. Me and Jamie used to do that kind of
Oh,
shit to each other.
the endless amount of super sexist things I could say right now.
Okay.
What?
I,
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I didn't feel like that was that's just like the shit that
Just
children
saying.
she was just saying that her and her sister used to do the same thing.
Oh no, I know. But just in regard to the meme itself. Oh yeah, that's a very interesting. Well, and I was reading a book recently where they kind of were going over this thing between men and women and how
Like
men are
boxes.
so men in certain positions or professions do better than women in certain positions or professions.
Sure.
And we can acknowledge that through data and through other things. Yet
Right,
at the
yeah.
same time, right now there's like a big push to like not have that. where everybody can do everything, and not from everybody.
I mean, I'm gonna say like there's a lot of things that like men can do a lot better than women.
Oh yeah,
Right? And just because of like a
and there's also willingness.
without the tools needed to
There's
like get
willingness.
it done. Do
There's
you
a
know
lot
what
of
I mean?
things men are willing
Yeah.
to go do for
And
money.
like generally, I'm not the person to be like I'm like anything you can do, I can do better. But like there are certain things
And
for sure.
Well,
you probably aren't like,
Like for example,
tomorrow
I
I'm gonna go sign up to be an underwater deep sea welder.
exactly.
Because
What's
that's
funny is actually
super
But there
dangerous
are
job.
women
Actually-
that do that.
And there are, and they should be allowed, and that's
I'm going
totally
to get.
fine.
Yeah, I was actually statistically, women do better at that job, anyways.
Oh
Fine.
wow, the
Yeah.
one job,
Okay.
the
one I picked.
job you had in your life.
Okay.
Actually, I was like, but your point of willingness is a matter in that situation.
Yes.
Because the reason why like women do better is
Maybe
because
that's what I'm trying to say. Take it away, Dickie.
You know what?
No, your willingness
He's
scenario
got
works
you.
there perfectly.
But no, I
But the-
totally understand the situation. I mean, like, right? Like, I get where you're coming from, even if that wasn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't-
Within statistics, that was
I use bad examples frequently.
I guess, yeah.
Understood.
Shit, I wouldn't have known that. Like, we
Yeah.
could have had this conversation, no problem, and I would have been like, right, exactly, like the entire time.
it's just again, it's a size thing. It's actually better for women because it's easier to move around all the stuff while you're doing it.
Oh, I can see that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So actually, women tend to do better underwater welding than men do.
But the willingness part of it.
They're also typically denser as a body too.
Women are super dense, bro. Yeah.
It's amazing, guys, when you see their faces. They're so dense.
Dense does not necessarily mean weight.
No, I was talking up here. But,
Yeah, I know because we're talking about two different things.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking dense like a cake.
Full
and
disclaimer,
you're
I'm a
thinking
complete
dense
idiot.
Like, isn't that like is like dunce like not dense.
no, dense. Dense is a way you can describe someone who's like
Thick.
Evan.
Or they're thick
You're
skull.
so smart, Evan. That's not true at all.
At least you're pretty.
So pretty though, so pretty.
But yeah, that's what that's you know. But your willingness statistic is true on that situation because again, and it comes from like just men. The way we're brought up is like just do whatever. It's
Well,
okay.
and it's men's assessment of risk is different than women's.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think there's
Right.
a lot to do with like the raising. Where like women, I was thinking about this today of like how like if you put yourself in that situation where like a lot of times if you have a little girl, you're much more likely to be like, oh no, be careful. And if you have a little boy, you're like, he's fine.
He's a feral
He's
cat.
fine.
Throw some
He's
food
gonna
out the
be
back door,
fine.
he'll be fine. Yeah.
Right.
Ah, he fell off the trampoline. He bounced himself off. He's fine.
Yeah.
If your daughter does it, you're like, oh shit.
Whoa.
Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Are you okay?
But
Yeah.
then
And
is
that's
that
how
like
we treat
is
it.
that even like a, and that almost gets into kind of a weird scenario question sort of thing where it's like is that cultural
It is.
I think it's cultural. I think we put
or
so much...
is that kind of not genetic but like inherent sort of like women's nurturing nature like is that
Oh, I don't know.
Or-
but
or
I
is
think
that-
that's a part of culture, like women's nurturing nature towards their
Yeah,
daughters.
that's
is part
cultural
of
too.
culture. 'Cause
it's
if
yeah
you go in like other like
In other words,
civilizations,
we
you
are
don't
just-
have that women like coddling their children.
Yeah.
moment. It's even like their sons, right? They're like,
I
you
mean,
get out there.
she's Mexican,
You're
she knows
three,
the fucking-
It's your
the shoe
time.
throw.
Yeah, you know.
she,
Which is my favorite thing in the world.
she grew up in a house without an actual floor. It was dirt. So
So you see, when like not even your parents. Okay, this is zero to do with like your parents. Zero things to do with like your parents coddling.
I was
You-
thought you were
you-
like I thought you were pulling a joke situation, and she was like, "Oh yeah, totally."
no, yeah, no. Her grandpa. You'll like this, and I actually like this, and I think it's something that should be adopted more widespread. Her grandpa had a shit hill.
No,
Yeah, that's where everybody went to shit,
We're
and
not-
then once a week you burn it.
we're not doing that.
You had the shit hill.
That's
For a long time.
that's
So
no.
just stop back then.
Yeah, not doing it.
We'll see what happens. I mean, after tonight, we don't know.
I
No,
will,
We get
I will
enough people to
convince you.
participate in the
I have a
shit
bidet
hill,
now.
and
There's no
maybe-
way.
Oh, Rockefeller over here with his bidet.
Oh, he has a bidet. Oh, he has to do that. Squirts water up your butthole.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm good. I just don't have like it. You know.
I should probably get one too with my situation.
You should actually. You've had that situation ever since I've known you.
I've had a situation since I came out of the womb.
Gosh. They aren't.
You're not
I mean,
supposed to
I
lick
guess
it.
I've never used anybody else's bidet, but I've used one like in a hotel one time.
I
I just
never
feel
really
like it's
used
a
one
weird
until I bought
moment
one. And
to use somebody else's.
Yeah, using
Situation.
somebody else's anything that pertains to the cleaning of their butthole is
Yeah.
weird.
Well, yeah, I kind of put
Ex-
it on the same
except for you're
shelf
cleaning
as using
shit, so,
somebody
like-
else's like vibrator.
I mean,
that's
you
a
could-
very different situation.
You
I don't know.
you could say. I mean, I guess.
I got something that cleans itself versus something you have to clean.
Given what I just said,
You
I guess
still
you could
have to
say
clean.
using someone
Yeah,
else's toilet
but-
paper would be weird.
Yeah,
but not really.
But they're not
Because the
wiping their
bidet-
butt with the toilet paper that you're using.
So, but
Yeah,
if
but-
you throw it
but
away
the-
and
the
you don't
bidet
reuse
is-
the water.
I feel
know,
like
but-
what if there's splashback? What if there's splashback? I think it's like more of like a you thing than an anybody else thing. Which I think should make you comfortable knowing that there's not anybody in there like Wingate using your bidet, splashing back.
This just reminds me of the time that she went in there all fucking hammered and was playing with it. And it got water everywhere.
I'm sorry.
I remember that night, like, because
so
Evan was
happy.
here,
That
and I was
so
like,
funny.
because we were talking about the similar situation, and we were all hammered. It was like 3 in the morning on like a Friday morning. We were hammered, and
Hear her in the bathroom.
Woo! I heard what ended up her being laughing, but like it sounded like you were like crying because you were like we were trying to keep it quiet, but so like I was like, wait. What the fuck? Is she crying? So that's why I had to check on you. And then you're just, once you came in the door, you were just laughing hard. And I was like, oh, like, so I walk and there's just water everywhere. Because you were standing when you turned it on.
Yeah, I was standing there, turned it on.
Take care of these yours.
Yeah, I was going to make a
I
bowl.
was curious.
Dick told me
Yeah,
that.
flip
It
'em.
was like, it was so funny. I was like, oh, man, I missed that.
It was super funny. But, so if you go in like that, spraying other people's assholes, she sprayed it all over herself and didn't have a problem.
Man, she's
One time she didn't get
Well, it
bidet.
squirted outside, and it squirted outside the bowl. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
I wasn't anywhere near the bowl when it touched me.
It's just kind of like, you know, like how, like, you try so hard at other people's houses, like other people's parties, to not vomit in their toilet. And generally, it's not out of, yeah, you vomit everywhere, well, yeah. It's not out of, like, nicety to, hi, Evan. It's not out of, like, nicety to them to not vomit in their toilet. It's like, so you don't vomit more than you have to? Because you're like, what is this toilet vomit? Like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why I like to try to keep it like clean and not disgusting too.
Well, I know. I'm not saying we're not dogging on you. I'm just saying that I feel the same way about bidets as I do. I just don't like using other people's bidets. There's a weird cross the line moment. Yeah.
You've given me a thought experiment. I'll be thinking about this for days.
Yeah,
now.
we're gonna have to put out like a poll on Facebook and see how many people actually
What
think
what
it's
is
okay.
weird about using someone else's bidet?
Yeah, who thinks it's weird first of all, and then like what is weird about that? Can we put a finger out? Is it like weird that like you know when you like go to your friend's house when you're little and you just already know that you shouldn't open their refrigerator? Right? Like their parents' refrigerator. Like nobody ever told me that was bad or weird, but you just knew that it was.
It's like rude.
It's so rude.
So is it a rudeness thing?
Maybe,
Not to use a bidet?
Maybe it is a rude thing.
You feel rude?
Yeah, I don't feel rude about it though. I guess, but like maybe it's in the same kind of like I don't really know how.
Yeah,
like, why I think
that might be a
about this.
component, but that's not all of it.
Yeah, like I don't want to use your.
No, it's because you're thinking about somebody else's butthole. And
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
definitely
the problem.
it's definitely the splashback thing that I do think
Yeah.
about, just in case there is like a moment going on. We don't always know.
What about using someone else's toothbrush? Is that totally different?
Okay, that's not totally different, but I will say that I definitely use Dick's toothbrush if I'm here more than 2 days. Girls got a brush.
Do you feel rude?
I don't feel rude because I ask first.
Yeah, but it's not like
Ah.
you're like brushing your teeth and then not
So
rinsing
then-
it off. You
Right.
know?
Bidet
Yeah.
etiquette. So should we ask to use it?
Maybe it's like, may I please use your bidet?
Like knock on the door. Hey, can I use your bidet?
Can I please, sir, use your bidet?
May I, sir, partake in your cleaning facilities?
I would love to use your butthole washer. If you...
My asshole is quite muddy.
I haven't bought toilet paper since the pandemic started. Can I please use your bidet?
The rainforests are oh so important.
Please save the rainforest, but not our clean waters. May I please use your bidet?
Well, I definitely think like again, it's like a person
could
that
do
you like
this.
trust and those kind of things. You're more apt to like to use that situation.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
So
like
it's-
always. Yeah.
There's a comfort thing, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So like it wouldn't be like the first person that like when you first meet somebody and you're in their house or whatever, you're not be like, I'm gonna use all your shit. Like
I just noticed you have an outlet that's like 6 feet off the ground.
yes,
That's-
I don't know why.
That's remarkable.
Right.
Anyway,
I think there was
He
probably a
didn't build
TV
it,
or
you
something.
know?
yeah.
He didn't build this place.
I definitely did not build this place. This place kind of sucks.
It's like if I built it.
You would build not this house.
You
build a much
overbuild
better house than
everything.
this. You
I
would build a
overbuild,
much better
but-
place than this.
I overbuild in a way that
I would see you putting outlets high up on the wall too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, some of them are very convenient.
Yeah. Like again, like it'd be great.
I mean, I think, well, when you build a house, you build it for your convenience. You're like, well, I know that we're going to want our TV all mounted on the wall, like
Yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
but I don't want the cords going all the way down, so I'm going to put an outlet there.
So yeah, you could put it up there, but to put it against an entryway, that's like
Well, you gotta remember, this wasn't like
Oh.
that wasn't all the way open.
And I'm sure
Oh,
when,
yeah, remember? It was different.
and,
Actually, I
and
don't know
well,
if you
not only
saw
that,
it
when
prior,
this house
I did, yeah.
You did, but I don't think he did.
when this house was built, I'm sure that was not even a thought. Putting a TV on the wall? Are you crazy?
Well, I
You know,
think
like-
that one probably like they changed a few things. Since there was a grow down here before I moved down here.
Oh, so that's
So like
probably
this
why.
room was like the master
that's it.
bedroom of the house,
I bet that's it.
and so like this is the master bedroom of the house. This was that,
Yeah.
and like there was a whole thing over here. So they might have put it in there specifically for a TV situation.
Yeah.
Because like they put wiring. There's like a light like under the stairs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's why this is all fucking dumb and bullshit.
When my dad put the addition on our house, the family room and the back room, he did something that I wish every single builder on the face of the earth would fucking do. He put an outlet every second stud. So like basically every like 4 feet or so, you've got an outlet.
That's really smart.
There's outlets fucking everywhere.
I mean, I can see people are like, I don't want outlets showing, but that's like because, well, build your house and put your outlets where you want them, but like for convenience sake.
if you've got outlets everywhere, then you can move your furniture and your shit everywhere
Well,
you
in
want.
our
And there's
house
always
we
an
have now,
outlet
it's
right
like,
there.
That's where the cable, like in those bedrooms, like the extra bedrooms, that's where that cable is. That's where that phone jack is. That's where you're like putting the shit.
That's
that,
it.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it. Like if you're gonna put anything anywhere, it's gonna be right
Those
here.
bedrooms that don't have like a ceiling light, but they have the wall switch that controls the outlet.
Yes.
Dear Lord, do I hate that.
God,
I
no,
hate
we
it
had
so
those
much.
when me and Lemieux lived together in that apartment over on Timberline and Drake. That was like, I remember we walked in one day and I like turned the light on and I was like, hold on a second. Because there wasn't a light in the apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I looked up and it was capped. And I was like, we're not paying almost $2,000 a month to live in this place and not have fucking lights.
A light?
Right?
Can we have a light?
Yeah,
Like,
so like
come on.
I had to go out and buy like a lamp to put in my room because I wouldn't have had a light.
I
in it.
hate
It was
that.
The stupidest shit. Like, I like having both features. I think that's really cool.
Yes.
Because then you're like, well, we don't want to like wake the baby, so turn on the lamp, not the entire room, kind of situation.
That's
It's
fine,
convenience
but-
for that kind of stuff.
My God, when you only have one, in particular, just the
It's
outlet one.
just, yeah, it's just the like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it drives me crazy. Or like we have one in our house right now where you can flip on a switch and it controls the outlet, but the like the outlets, it only controls like the I don't, maybe the top one just doesn't work, but the bottom one always works. But if you flip the switch on, the top one comes on in the outlet set.
That's a weird wiring.
So we didn't build this house.
Oh well, of course. That's definitely a fire hazard.
Well, I was like,
Yeah,
That's the one I had to
I
use.
fucking hate like where there's no lights above. Like,
I just think, well, I was like, we could probably put some lights in here, like some can lights.
well, I have a light for that one, just the wiring's. I cannot figure it out how they did it. I have I have like the voltage tester and everything, and like, it's just this house is liable to burn down if you do it wrong. So like, because like the wiring is garbage in it.
I believe it.
Well,
Like-
it says, is the wiring aluminum?
Have it
No,
aluminum, have it
you
copper.
should probably just get
Oh.
out there and what is it? What is it?
It's half copper, half aluminum.
So back like before the 70s, they used aluminum wiring in houses.
Yeah.
And it was like it's awful.
Well, I remember my
It just
parents.
corrodes.
Yep. And it just gets shitty and burns up.
My parents were gonna buy a house out in Alt before I even came to college, and one, there was a water heater wrapped in asbestos in the basement, and then all the outlets well, the whole wiring would have had to be like ripped out and replaced. And like the woman was in her 80s trying to sell this so that she could move away to retirement, you know?
Yeah.
And my parents were like, well, we really want to buy this house. It sat on one of those really nice big corner lots, just a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, but the rooms were really big, you know? And she was like, I'm not changing any of this. The inspector was like, if you buy this house, you have to change all of it. You can't plug a hairdryer into this place and not bring the house down.
Yeah.
So like my parents were like, we're not gonna fucking do that shit. It was a great house though. If you had ripped up all the shag carpeting, beautiful woods underneath, like wood flooring, it was gorgeous.
Shag carpet, my God. My parents had shag carpet in their bedroom.
We had shag carpeting.
Oh God.
It's the 70s.
Until probably like 5 years ago, they finally replaced it.
So gross.
It's so nasty.
I went to an auction one time, you know those big auction lots where they're just selling everything. If you brought it there and you were willing to let them sell it for you, they're fucking selling it.
They're selling it.
We walked into a few RVs, you know, like the toilet, like seat covers, like everything was orange or green shag carpeting.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh man, imagine how much piss is in all of this stuff. That was like the first thing I thought of, walking into that like bathroom and seeing that shag carpeting, like toilet seat cover. I was like,
don't put a black light anywhere near that.
Like, yikes.
I never understood like the carpeting in bathrooms in general.
Yeah, why would you do that?
I don't know why they did that. They must
I will say this: I like carpet
the
under my
60s.
feet when I get out of the shower.
Yeah, it's called a rug though.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like the whole bathroom is carpeted.
Yes.
We had a couple
Not only that,
bathrooms
if
like
you
that.
do tile, you can do the heated floor, which is so sweet.
Oh, yeah, that is fucking nice.
My uncle, he built a house. It's years ago. He doesn't live in the house now, but he built a house and he put a what is the fucking stove, boiler in there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With recirculating water.
Oh
For
yeah.
all of the floors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking we could put that there.
Stud moment.
I mean, we can split it up. Me and Wingate can share a hookah.
Yeah,
If we want to do that. When he makes the next one, we can put it between you two.
My bowls aren't very good anymore, but well, you can make one. Then.
What?
Yeah.
No. I just got here.
Too much pressure?
It is. I feel like your bowls are probably still really good.
No. They're garbage
I
now.
remember when you first came over on one of the podcasts, like last March or May.
Granted, this is
April.
not my optimal equipment.
And fucking Avery made a bowl, and you're like, who made this bowl? And I was like, Avery, and you're like, it's because it's shit. You can tell. Actually, the bowl
We're
he
not
made
as
before
good
he
as we
left
used
was
to.
pretty good, so.
Yeah.
I'm still really good at making double apple cinnamon mint rolls. Because that's the only shisha I buy. It's the only bowl that I smoke though.
Too many flavors.
3 flavors.
Too many.
No way, that sounds good.
Good old double apple, straight up.
Straight
We do
out
that
and
too,
you gotta
but-
pack it right.
Mound it Saudi style.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, you gotta pack it right.
It's like the Zagul.
Oh no, no Zog. No Zog.
I twon't. But like,
I
mostly
won't
because
eat
Zog
it.
is really good. Like if you first put coals on it and you take a pull on that, you're like, Zog.
Couple of
And then
pulls,
that's
not
it.
bad.
That's it.
But after that, it's just like leftover cigarette butts
Yeah,
in a
you're
bowl.
like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I remember somebody was like,
Terrible.
it tastes like pipe tobacco. And I was like, I feel like
No,
I
it does
have
not.
cigars that are better than this.
Yeah, my grandpa
Like-
smoked a pipe until the day he died, and I still remember that smell of that cherry cordial he used to smoke. And that is like ingrained. Anytime I'm walking through public and like someone has a pipe and I smell that shit, it takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
That is a great smell, and it tastes good when you smoke it.
I can go to a
Zagul?
strip club and get a
No.
better cigar
Oh, yeah.
than what Zagul is inside of a
Any
bowl.
day, any day.
Yeah, I never understood why that was a thing forever and ever. The no, like you just burn the top of it always just because you're
Ugh.
holding
Well,
on
even
top
for
of it.
like a while, Algiers would always mix it into like some of their flavors, and I was like, I taste it like right off the bat, and I'm like, ooh, that's nice. And
So
then
is
I'm
Zagul.
like, it's
No
just
foil.
burnt out like immediately.
Just throw the coals, mound it
Even
up,
with
throw the
foil
coals
on it,
straight on.
burns out.
Yeah,
Doesn't that burn it?
it
Oh,
does. It's
Oh, yeah.
like the first like 5-10 minutes, amazing, super good, tastes great. You get fucking ripped, but then after that, it's just disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, then
I think
just
it's like
kind of
the
a big
flavor
dick
effects that you
competition,
just
so
always
do,
make
like,
new ones.
Yeah, you just but
just make, like, 35 bowls
before
you start
pack it
smoking.
in the same way that we would do double apple bowls. So they would be big, thick bowls with like the ring in the middle, and you just
Yep.
peel off the top and keep putting the coals back on. And I don't know, guys. We've seen better days for sure. Those were not that.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
I was gonna say, what about like rolling it in the tobacco in the foil and then poking holes in the foil?
Rolling it in the foil?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That
That's
would just
pretty much what it
that would just
sounds
nuke
like.
the bowl immediately.
Yeah.
Because you're just getting the whole thing like super hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a sustainable product
No.
to smoke.
No.
Pretty sure it was just the garbage that was left over from all the tobacco that they just put it in there.
And they tend to be pretty frugal over there.
Yeah,
So,
call it shisha.
not to be racist, but cultural thing.
Well, I mean, their whole society is built on haggling, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very true. I remember going to like places here and like, you can't. No, that's just the price of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't barter.
No,
with
you
them,
have
like-
to leave a tip.
Like, yeah, you can't just like go into a store and be like, I'll pay you this much money.
I remember
instead."
when,
Like,
I think
we're
it
not
was,
buying a car.
Kumail turned 21. A bunch of us went out, and I think I was like the only, blue-eyed, white-skinned guy out there, or whatever color-eyed I am. But
Being great.
oh yeah, because they're
She's, you lost all your hair
Right,
because of her
right,
toe,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it's all gone now.
it was anticipation of her.
You already had
At 18 years
you
old,
already had the stress.
at 18 years old, I knew I was gonna. But no, like we went out and like they were already upset about the prices of the drinks, but then when I told them they had to leave a tip, it was like big fucking.
That was a hard problem with the Saudis.
I
for
was
sure.
just like, well, no,
Yeah.
guys, like minimum 10%. You should probably do 20 because these people are cool, and do more than that if you had a good
Please be
time.
nice to them. They don't make a livable wage. Please pay them.
Yeah, it's like you don't understand. These are the serfs of our society essentially, in terms of wages. So like,
Yeah, they're like, help me import. That's like pretty much the
yeah,
moment.
their minimum wage is like a quarter of what normal minimum wage is. Like, so
Yeah,
just
it's like $4.
so you take care of them. Like that's the thing, especially if they took good care of you, which they did because we went to Tony's and they took great care of us.
Well, I think the trip was like, I think the first time I took Ali out to get drunk. He got so drunk that he was just willing to throw like the money around. So I was all, leave him a fatty. And then he left him a pretty big tip. I never really had to like care. Well, and then the rest of my friends from Saudi Arabia weren't ever willing or old enough to go to the bars after Ali left.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Ali, Hussein, Fahad, like, I still had to like, yell at Hussein.
Yazid.
Yazid was just a fucking insane human being,
Yes.
anyways.
Yazid was just.
Um,
Yazid doesn't have words to describe him.
yeah, he was
Different human.
totally
Did you
random.
ever know Yazid, Kate?
I don't think I did.
I think it was before she used to
Yeah,
live there.
I
you're,
think-
you're on the good side of history then.
Like I met Yasser one time.
Well, and Yasser was around a lot longer than Yazid was.
Yeah.
I mean, Yasser was friends with everybody, too.
Yazid
and
drank his way out of CSU quite quickly.
That's a normal.
also,
That's
just
a normal thing.
remember when he drove through the
Quicker
guy's
than most.
door with his Jeep?
Say what?
When he drove through the guy's door with his Jeep?
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is a
Let's move this
somber
one over to
podcast.
and then all this shit with Wingate.
Oh. My favorite Yazid moment was when he was supposed to meet up with me on my birthday.
Yeah.
So Yazid, the night before was like, Wingate, it is your birthday tomorrow. Come on over. Like, yeah, well, and I was like, well, it's me at the Narg. Let's go out for a second. And he's like, all right. I get to the Narg at the time we're supposed to be there. He's not there. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So I call Yazid, no answer.
Always casually late.
Call him
About 4
and I call him
hours.
like 10 times over the next like hour and a half. Nothing. I'm just sitting there smoking a bowl, whatever, killing time. And then I leave. So I get a call about 5 minutes after I leave the hookah bar, and it's Shauna. And she was like, Yazid's here and he's looking for you. And he's like all over the place. You need to come back.
He's like, shit can, please.
Yeah,
come get
and
me."
I was like, okay. So I come back and Yazid's not there. I was like, where is Yazid? And they're like, he was just here. I'm like, okay. So I'm calling him. Nothing. So I'm like, well, and they're like, well, you went out the back door. And I was like, okay. So I go out the back door and start wandering around the parking lot. I find him in the alley between the Narg and that other place. And he's just passed out on the ground, big pile of vomit around him. Whatever. I walked. I'm like, Yazid. And it's the day I die. You know, your life flashes before your eyes. All those crazy moments. Not even the most important ones, but the ones that for some reason
Just
stuck
all
out
the
to you.
weird shit, yeah.
That one will be in there. I remember him. I'm shaking him, turning him over. He looks up at me and goes, "Oh, Wingate. Sorry,
All
I
your
did.
most traumatizing
He's like,
moments.
Sorry, I did not call you back. I was throwing up in the street." I was like, "Okay, Yazid. Like, let's get you home." And I was like, "Let's get you home, buddy." He's like, "No, but it is your birthday." I was like, "No. We'll do this some other time."
I remember when he was talking about like having sex with girls back in his home country and getting whipped, and he's like, "I did not care because I fuck bitches."
He sounds so Russian when you guys are not good at accents.
That's
at
how he
all.
sounded. He had that like
Yazid
because
had
he wasn't from Saudi. He was
No.
from
Bert Kreischer talking about like
Yeah, the machine.
he was from like I don't think he was from Jordan. He was one of those countries like near there though.
But yeah, there was like a Russian occupation there during his childhood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's the way he sounded.
Yeah, he had that like Saudi Russian.
Yeah, it was
thing
like he was
going
like he sounded like he was Ukrainian, like for sure. Like he had that, like he was just odd enough that was like different.
on. What a weird dude.
I just remember like him, like when he drove through that guy's like door. His door was open, and I just drove through it. And it was fine.
I was so matter of fact about it.
Yeah, he's like
He opened his door. I
I
drove
was
through.
like at the bar looking
Yeah.
for him and shit, because like they couldn't find him. It was super funny.
Next time you get up, you should have me a beer.
Dickie, can you grab me a beer?
What do you want?
Don't matter. Surprise me. Scrub me.
Bud Light?
B.O.
Bud Light?
Yeah, he's not like shit.
No, okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
B.O.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, like he sounds obviously like to me like a super fun guy that would like be around me like sometimes that like you go out and you start the night with, and then I would be like I'm out, and then he would like it would just go down.
Like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All the same shit that you used to do. I start, well, the older I got, I remember one time you and I had a conversation, and I was like, you just don't like being around this anymore? And you were like, nope. And I was like, okay. And then the older I got, the more I understood like what you meant, because I'm like 4 years younger than you. So like as I was
500 years younger than me.
I'm
Yes.
4 years younger than you. 500 in the soul though. No, but like the older I got, especially now, I'm like, oh yeah, I really don't want to be around that shit. And then obviously the pandemic pushed it through even more. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to even like go and do things. I'd rather be at the bar at like 12 o'clock noon
Right.
getting shit canned than I would at night almost.
I
ever.
mean, my favorite days to go out used to be like during the week
Yeah.
because it was like
And then like
busy
Uber
enough that it
home
was
at
like-
like 5. You know?
get
Take
out,
some food to go
get
with
out
you.
just before the dinner rush hits Old
Yeah.
Town, and then I'm at home and I'm happy and there's beer there and it's
You got your
hookah
chili
there,
fries
and
you got
it's
from
fucking
wherever. And
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I am you. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I just
like
like being able to parties in general, so it doesn't really bother me. But like my favorite days to go out were like definitely like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Like those were always my favorite days to go out. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it was busy enough you could have fun. Like it wasn't like there was like nobody, but it wasn't like there was like packed. full of
Couldn't
people.
move.
Yeah.
Too loud to talk. Like.
Well, and even though, like, what a distant memory it feels like to be like at Tony's and we're like, excuse me, who touched my butt? Please stop. Like, excuse me, I
God,
gotta
for
go
me,
back to my
that's a
table.
decade ago for me, practically. Jesus
Yeah, you
Christ.
don't ever go out.
No, not anymore. I go to Matt's place if I go out.
But it's so much easier to just stay at home. Like, I know we just.
Well,
live
it's easy
from
to
the
go to Matt's
house.
place because down the
and-
road it's cool people and I play pool and that's
Well,
what.
there-
Plus, it's
like,
so goddamn cheap.
if
You
I
just
get
get
bored
fucking
hanging out
hammered
with,
for $20.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to be like if I get bored like hanging out with my boyfriend. Like, it's just not like that. But if it's like.
But
getting
sometimes you
kinda
want to go.
stale, you know, I'm just like, Dick, will you please come over to our house and we can get
Yeah.
drunk here? Like, let's do that. Because then it brings like more flavor to the moment. I love
Yeah.
like obviously hanging out with my person. So it's like it works all the way around. But like going back out to the bars and getting like shit canned at the bars, I'm like, one, how did I used to afford this in the first place? Because I did, and I did it all the time. And then two, like, but how much more easier is it just to get shit canned at home and go right to bed if I have to? Or we have guest rooms now, so
Yeah.
it's like anybody can sleep here now.
In 2017, because I have a little spreadsheet system I keep. in 2017, I spent over $31,000 at Matt's place.
I cannot imagine the anxiety I would have if I saw how much money I spent on shit I don't need.
It was ridiculous because
It would
I
be
get
insane.
4 or 5 beers,
I
a
bought
couple
3
shots of me, and I'm
swimsuits.
just like rounds for the bar like every night. And I did that for a couple of years.
Oh my god, no.
Burned through so much money, but had the greatest time. Made a bunch of great friends in the process.
I mean, that's fair, because I used to do that kind of shit too when I had
But looking back on it, I was like, man, if I put that money in
could've-
Bitcoin or
Yeah, exactly.
you know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like,
I don't know. I look at like the amount of money I spent like just partying. Like, I mean, hookah and shisha was like a huge thing too. Like back in the day when we used to like go to the NARC like 3 or 4 times a week, and like
More than that.
every night.
Well, and
Yeah.
like I think with that moment too, it was like we knew who was making that business work, and that's why we threw you guys so many freebies.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, if you want to make your own bowl, just
Well,
go back
and
there.
then,
I'm
well,
gonna
and then
buy
even
it.
same with
I'm not
Thai
gonna charge
bar.
you.
It was like we were talking earlier. It was the same thing when he was bartending at Thai bar. The person making money for them was him. So if he was throwing freebies to us,
Yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna show up
That's so true. Well, and
You
like
know?
we had the
Right.
hardest time explaining that to
because
the
we're gonna
guys
bring
that
2 or 3
ran the
people with
place.
us, and yeah.
No, I was like, I was like, we know who's like coming here. So if we're doing a price hike, we're not charging these guys because these guys are getting like 2, 3, 4 bowls a night, and I'm never gonna charge them for like the new like you get your own hookah, so now it's even more expensive thing. But I'm also probably not gonna charge them if they come in
Right.
when I'm working by myself. If we're struggling, I'm gonna charge them. And in that moment, I would. And
Right.
I never got into a fight. I never had to have a conversation with anybody.
But if
about
it's a
that.
fucking Friday night and the house is packed and like we got
even
room,
then, like, well, I was like, I'm not
If
going
there's
to charge you if you
room
want
and
to
whatever,
be
who
here because I know we
cares?
already like hit our goal.
Let
But like,
go.
if we're like struggling, to be like, will you please pay
Yeah.
me?
right.
You
Well,
gotta
and that's
do
kind of the thing. Like, that's like just any bar situation, like those kind of things. Is like your regulars always are the ones that fund everything, and like
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've been the regular
They're-
for too many places.
Well,
but-
Same
they're
here.
your best
Still am.
word of mouth advertising, right? So even on nights where I did have to charge people, I would punch your card like 3 or 4 times.
I never used
You
it.
never used a card, so I was
No.
like, we're just gonna go honor system here. I think you get like free bowls anyway. And like, but yeah, everybody else, if they had a card, I'd punch it like 2 or 3 times every time I had to charge them because I was like, you're here all the time, like.
Right.
I'm
Well,
not
and
gonna
that's
charge you
that's just
every
one of
time
those
that you're here.
that's just one of those things. And again, I think about how much money I spent. Like when I was making like $10,000 a month situation, like I was spending like 5 of it
I want to make
all the.
$10,000.
no, you were spending 9 of it.
I
I spent so much
$10,000
money.
a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time.
No, here now. Anybody?
I make.
No.
Stock market is there money making?
I don't make anything now. I'm just living.
Yeah. I mean, I make.
He's got Bitcoin. think.
I make.
Yeah, I
oh,
got some Bitcoin.
I make
but
probably.
I got 3.
Bitcoin
I got
now.
3 Bitcoin, but
Yeah.
I'm
5 to 6
hanging on
is
to it.
where I make per month.
It's just
Somewhere in
going
that
nuts.
range.
I don't even want to be the person that talks to you about this, and my boyfriend was here to be like, oh my god, so like, how's your Bitcoin doing? Let me show you mine really quick. Like, let me show you.
Well,
like,
and then
what
we're gonna
Bitcoin
get
is
into all the other currencies under that. But yeah, yeah.
It's insane. Like he talks to me about it. I'm
No,
like,
it's good.
"That's
It's just
good."
it's like right now I could cash out like a Bitcoin and basically just party for a year if I wanted to, but I don't want to. And furthermore, because I don't know if you know this, but I quit my job in early December. Just quit because I couldn't take it anymore. Like they were giving me the runaround, and I quit.
Where was that at?
Nordson Medical,
Okay.
and I got the fuck out of there. And it's gotten a billion times worse since I did, which is kind of gratifying in a sadistic way or whatever.
It's like a get out while you can moment. Don't suffer through the
Right.
bullshit moment. Yeah.
But that being said, at the same time, my thing now, because at first I was like, oh, I can just like hang out, like this is cool, whatever, blah blah. Like the first month was sweet. Like, I'm just hanging out, play some Call of Duty, do whatever, yada yada yada. My day's
Yeah.
this, my day's that. I don't care. But now I'm reaching the point where like emotionally and I guess almost philosophically, if you want to call it that, I'm reaching a point where I need something to do.
Yeah, I think you know
I
naturally
gotta do
people
something.
need something, and I think it's more than like calling it a hobby. It's like no, it's like a
A
lifestyle.
hobby
like,
isn't gonna
whatever
do it.
is.
A hobby isn't
A
gonna
hobby
do it.
doesn't do it. A hobby is like playing
Yeah.
tennis.
I need
and
a
you
task.
just can't do it unless it's gonna
I need
give you
shit
money.
to do.
Southern lifestyle.
Yeah. So
What you're
So,
saying
I
is you need
mean-
someone to hate your wife with.
yeah.
I think you. Well, you need someone that's
I
gonna,
know
like,
him, so I
you
know this is
yeah.
That's exactly.
You've
what it
always
is.
been a
You
glutton
need
for
something to
punishment.
bitch
So.
about that's not like my own life.
Yeah.
Like, right? Yeah.
It's like, God, I had to get out of bed at 11 o'clock this morning.
Ugh, it's so
my
hard.
God. It was the worst.
I have a job and I do that now, so.
And then I was playing Call of Duty, and there was this real asshole on there for like an hour.
This
you know,
12-year-old was talking a bunch of shit to me, and
and
I
I'm
was
just
like,
like, oh my God. What am I doing with
That's
myself right now? So I don't know. I think I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring for this oil field gig and see what happens. So that'll be a lot of hard work, and I'm kind of looking forward to it in a way.
I mean, again, you are a glutton for punishment, so.
Yep.
well, and it's kind of like anything. Like, if you don't like it, then you leave. People put so much, like, we have those parents, we were raised this way, that is like, you gotta hold down a job for like 2 years if you're ever gonna make it anywhere. Like that kind of shit.
Now
But
that's when you
I
should be
just
switching
don't-
jobs. It's
I
2 to
don't
3
think
years.
about it
Yeah.
like this. And like, I'm like, if you don't like it, move on.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did it with the hotel thing, granted. Maybe not in the most graceful way.
I
But
think that the idea is
did.
you were just a little on the broke side for when you did that. Plus, it was pretty funny. It was the whole, I'm not going to work today. And I was like,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be at work in like 3 hours.
Oh,
not doing it.
you pulled an
Quitting
Adam
right now.
Carolla.
I
That's a
was,
good
well,
thing to
yeah,
do.
I was like, I'm not doing it. And it was like, well, you gotta be at work in like 3 hours. I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, not doing it.
And I called my boss and I was like,
Not
I'm
coming
done.
in.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
it straight up quit. It was great. It was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It was
I
funny.
think it made like a world, like nobody, like working at the hookah bar is such a different experience service wise than working in any kind of
Oh,
hospitality
sure.
situation ever.
Yeah.
Right? And I
Absolutely.
grew up in that field with mom and dad like owning the motels and like things like that. But there's no way that anybody prepares you for a situation, nor should you, whatever kind of person you are, that's okay. I am just not the kind of person that can handle somebody yelling at you for no fucking reason. Like they couldn't park in the parking spot they wanted
Same
to
here.
because somebody was already
Same here.
parked there.
That's why, like, customer-facing jobs, I can't do them.
It's hard.
I can't do them.
And like
can't.
I can deal with my boss who you
I just
don't
wanna be like,
know
"You're-
what
you're an
mood she's
idiot."
gonna be in. But like I can deal with that shit like no fucking problem. But if I dealt with like, yeah, like I mean, like if I worked where you work, and I was like, I got to deal with people who I told 5 times have to send me this, and now they're yelling at me.
Right.
I would be like, okay, I understand like what you're saying, but accountability moment here. I sent you 5 fucking emails that said this. You read all of them. I can see that you did. So you should understand that what I asked from you is this moment. You didn't give it to me, and now you're yelling at me. So whose fault is this actually?
Right.
You can't talk to people like that though in that situation.
Well-
and I disagree with that. You should be able to talk to people.
Yeah, you
like
should be
that.
able to call people out.
It
Yeah,
really
you
kind of
absolutely
depends.
should.
You know, like I had a meeting with a girl that had a similar issue where like I did like a bunch of like product migrations for this client or whatever, all this shit. And like in part of it, she like couldn't get us to log in. So I was like, well, I'll just extract all the data from your current site and move it over. But doing that, you don't always get all of the information.
No, you don't.
So
Yeah.
there was the categories, and there's like 1,200 or 1,300 products. So there's
You
a lot
guys,
of shit.
are you guys still in big commerce?
We're moving away from that.
Okay, good.
But so I was like, hey, like do all these categories for all these products. Like then you can audit your products if you don't sell those ones anymore. Like all this kind of shit. Like trying to,
Fucking Madwire, bro.
doing this shit. And so like
I won't do it.
the project manager sent it to her. So she sent it back. I did all the stuff that she put on there.
Yeah.
She did it in the correct format, but there's like mistakes in it that she fucked up. So like I'm not looking at it. Like she's like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. All this shit. So just sent it. Well, her new person that she talks to like was like, hey, like she says like we were supposed to do all this, and I was like, no, like we sent this to her, all this shit. She's like, good, because I'm gonna tell this client to go fuck themselves, and they're gonna pay for it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Like, you have to tell people that.
Right. And
Because, like,
that's-
sugarcoating shit, like, well, you got to remember that you signed this contract and, like...
Yeah, it doesn't work
It
that
doesn't
way.
work.
Yeah, and I mean, I had that problem when I was living and working at the shop, where like my dad would like coddle all these like shitty clients, shitty customers, where I'm like, we cannot be doing shitty shit. Like, we can't just be like, when they hop in here, drop everything situation with these people that don't pay for shit. And I remember one time I told off this like long time customer that was a pain in my ass every time.
Every time.
And
Yeah.
his car was a like 2004 Honda Civic, and it needed a timing belt. And I was like, hey, like it needs a timing belt, light up all this shit. And he had somebody else do it. but then it got cold, and whoever
Oh,
did it
yeah.
like didn't bleed the system properly.
Yeah.
So he didn't have any heat, and I was like, so then he came to me in the middle of what I'm doing, all the postal shit, all that garbage.
And it's going.
Yeah, and I was like, well, we didn't do what we told you we were going to do. He's like, no, I had somebody else do it. I was like, go take it to him. I don't want to fucking touch your car anymore. And then he calls my dad, he's all pissed and shit and all this garbage, and I told my dad, I was like, I don't care. We don't actually get to make the actual money when he needs something actually done. It's all this bullshit things that he gives us $20, $30 here for. I don't want that fucking money if we're just constantly spending hours on his shit when he's not going to give me the actual job that makes me money.
And the coolest thing that the guys ever did over at the hookah bar too was like, if somebody's like bitching you around, tell them to get the fuck out. And it was like, that gives us a lot of freedom to be normal fucking
That was
people.
nice.
And that is a rule that we held on to. Or like, if
That
you're
was
gonna
from
walk
day
in
one,
here
by the
and
way.
you're
That
gonna
was
be
from day
mean-
one.
Well, yeah, and I was like, and so much respect for that rule, because if you're gonna walk in somewhere and you're gonna be an asshole,
Then
we shouldn't have to facilitate that moment. Yeah, then leave. Like, everybody here is just trying to relax and have a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Not listen to you bitch and moan about anything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
that's-
think I saw
Well,
something.
for all their faults, Ari and Alan did a lot of stuff right too.
No, they did a great job.
I'll give them a lot of credit, and
I think they chose their battles.
but
and
something
sometimes
interesting
not
about the
correctly.
conversation that we've been having the last couple minutes here is, I think that it's safe to say that we all have this sort of mindset where being disingenuous. So like if a customer is being an asshole and it's totally their fault, there's a lot of businesses and a lot of people that'll just bend over.
Yeah, the suck my
And-
dick
and-
moment for a customer is not my jam.
Same here, and that's what I'm saying is like, in a way, you're being disingenuous to them
Yeah.
by
Well, you're
bending over, but
facilitating
then you're
bad
being
behavior.
disingenuous to yourself too. So it's like everybody loses in that
It
scenario.
literally it kills you on the inside.
Yeah.
And I don't think I saw this thing today, this video that was like your customer service voice, and I don't believe this for like everybody, but I do believe it for like certain people in the moment. She was like, your customer service voice is baby talk for the baby boomers. And I was like, I know
totally.
plenty of baby boomers that aren't like entitled assholes. But I also know people like in our generation that are entitled assholes, like the generation younger than us that are like entitled, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, your customer service voice is a baby voice for the people who feel entitled enough to utilize that. Anybody else is like, I will tip my waitress. I won't be mean to the person helping me. Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's
All
how
right.
it should be.
Thought experiment then.
Sure.
So let's say you go to a restaurant,
Yeah.
you order food and drinks, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Your waiter or waitress or wait X,
Or wait.
just to be fair,
Wait
we don't
person,
know.
you're
We
wait
don't know.
person. Jesus. Yeah.
But that being said, let's just say you get someone who is like over the top, doing that voice and coddling and or do you get the person who you get a genuine feeling from? Now, take those
Well, I don't
two
get to choose.
take those two scenarios. Who gets the bigger tip?
The person who's genuine. But
Exactly. So
to
that's
be
why I've
fair,
always had a problem
there-
with that shit.
But there's a moment too where you think like you start your tip where your tip needs to be 15 or 20%, right? You're like, that's where my tip starts. If this person baby talks me, like customer service voices me and tries to like talk me down,
You're
going
gonna
to
get 15 to 20%.
I'm gonna take out their tip. Like I'm gonna start taking away from them. You got to work for like your money.
If the
We all
service
have
is
to.
still good, yeah, 15
If
to
the
20%.
service is good, but
but
if
you're
the service
getting
is
the
not
minimum.
good, I'm
You're
taking it back,
You're
yeah.
getting the minimum.
If they're like really fucking cool people and they do their job really well, then they're gonna actually like absolutely.
And they
give
talk
a
to you
tip.
like a human
If they,
being.
Yeah, I would much rather be
Yeah.
talked to like a human being than I would be like,
Yeah,
hi,
a caricature
how are
of some
you
sort.
today? If I wanted Siri to serve me breakfast, I would ask her.
Is that a thing you can do?
Siri,
Siri, order me food.
I mean, you can set shortcuts on Siri and do
Oh,
that.
Yeah, and you can be like, Siri, order me breakfast. Are they like from that place that you like to get when you drink a lot? When you're hungover? Yeah, that place will work. Call them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, order the usual.
So I think that's why I quit working at salons.
Yeah.
Big reason why I quit working in salons was just people.
Well, your job was basically to make small talk with people for a half an hour
Oh
at
my
a
God,
time.
that kills me.
I could
gotta
not.
I had to
could
be
never.
drunk to actually make small talk with people. I
could
can't do
never
it
do
as
it.
like a regular person.
Well, it was easy, but it was
Eventually, I'd
just
just
more,
be like, "So you're a real piece of shit, huh?" wow, you don't treat your kids very fair. Like,
Wait.
good for you.
Shut
Like,
up. Listen to me. It's
Well,
not swear.
it was
whiskey, nicotine, right in my mouth.
Doing all the things.
It was easy talking to people. It was just the way they treated you.
Yeah.
Some
Like
people
you're-
are just horrible.
Yeah, like people do. Like when I was getting my haircut at like Studio B, the entitlement that walked into that building,
Oh
or
my
those
God.
buildings a lot was, they're like, I am here to get my haircut and I'm the only person here that matters.
Excuse me, I have a 3:30.
And I was
Like,
like,
it's like,
yeah.
ugh.
I was like,
Fuck
shit,
you.
like my person is running late, so somebody else has to wax my eyebrows today. And I'm like scared of that, but I'm not going to be a dick about it. I just
Yeah.
got my eyebrows waxed. You know? Like, and you're just like, okay, that's okay. I totally understand that people's days fluctuate. Because that's life. Like, it fluctuates. Like, sometimes people do run it because people run late all the time.
Yep.
And so you just give, like, humanity the respect that it deserves because we are all running on schedules that
And that's-
don't apply to me.
And that's a beautiful thing you just said there. Humanity, the respect it deserves, because a lot of people never do that anymore. What it is now is the respect I deserve.
Yes.
Whether or not you've earned that respect, everyone
because-
feels like entitled, like
Yeah.
they deserve the respect. And it's just like, no, no,
Just
no.
don't think about it.
And not only that, it's disrespectful to literally everyone else in that establishment when you walk in there with a head full of vinegar and start going, rah, rah, rah,
Well, it's
rah,
because
rah.
some people have the mentality that it's my money that I'm giving this person,
Yeah.
and they better
I'm
give me
getting
the
good
service
money for
that.
that.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
bullshit.
And there is a lot of people like that, especially in like salon businesses.
Well, like, you should be paying them good money because, god damn it, if getting your haircut is not one of the most stressful things in the world, that's why you keep going back to the same person constantly.
And that's why you're paying. So if you got to
And
wait
that's
5 minutes.
what you pay for.
Yeah, you got to wait 5
Yeah, if
minutes.
you
for
gotta wait 5 minutes, if somebody else has to bring
Oh,
you in
no.
to wax your eyebrows because somebody needs an extra 10 or 15 minutes with that client, like, fuck it. Who cares?
So do you want fucking new guy or gal to do your shit? Or do you want the person you trust to do it? So can you wait 5 minutes? Like,
Well, and that's
Come on.
kind of it. Well, and I remember, like, you know, I'd go in and the person who cuts my hair to this day, she doesn't work over at Studio B anymore, but I kept with her because, like, that kind of,
She knows you.
yeah, like,
Yep.
she's been cutting my hair since I was 20 and I'm
and she
30
knows your
now.
hair too.
So yeah, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I want to stay with her. So every time she left Studio B, she went to work at a different salon. I stayed with her. She went and opened up her own salon. I stayed with her. But it was like, I don't want to, I'm not going to be a dick to somebody who's been helping me and also somebody that I really enjoy. That's why I
Yeah.
stayed with them.
Yeah.
Because one of her clients was running late and now it's her fault. That's not her fault.
Well, even just business or interpersonal, the emphasis on relationships in our culture right now is like
Once you like,
it's minimal, and I think that's really that's kind of sad.
We kept going back to a restaurant
Because, like you said-
because their wait staff
Right.
was so nice to us, and we gained like a repertoire with one of their head waiters.
When I want to get drunk, go to Matt's. Why? Because the wait staff, they're fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
They invite me to their barbecues and shit. Like, you know, you
That's why we
develop
went to
you
Tony's for
develop
so
a
long,
relationship. Yeah, we're same thing. Tony's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like you go there and it's like we're not necessarily getting special treatment, but at the same time, if my beer's empty, I know that someone's gonna hustle to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's not because they
but
expect
because
it.
they like you too.
Yes,
So they're like, I
yes.
gotta get my regular
It's-
like a fucking beer. Like,
exactly.
No, stop. That table can wait. I don't know them. Like,
It's
let's
not
go.
because they're expecting a giant tip. It's because they have a rapport
Yeah.
with us. Yeah.
and see,
And
that's
it
why
means
I
a
like
lot.
that. I like what you said when you said that you understand when someone is busy, you know, because I've been in the position where I was a new hairstylist and nobody wanted me, you know, but then there was those one customers that are like, you know, she's gotta learn,
All right.
you
Yeah.
know, she's
Here we
gotta
go.
learn somehow. It's just like when I went to the emergency room once and they had no one to draw my blood but the new person, and nobody, it was her last shot of the day.
Great.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
You're
it was
like,
her
"All right,
last shot of the day.
get it
yeah,
done."
her last shot of the day, and she had to get one more. She had to get one more, and the nurse that she was training behind, she's like, hey, she goes, she's new, she's learning. I could do it, but would you mind letting her try on you? She goes, I can, at the end of
least
the
they give you
day,
the
I can
option.
have her, she's like, I can have her do it on me, whatever, but would you mind? I was like, just gotta learn, and she did a good job.
Well, that's one of those
the
moments where
first
it's
time.
like, how are you gonna fuck this up? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get pricked a couple extra times, but who gives a shit?
Exactly.
I get a little blood going on here. I'm not gonna
Well,
die
I
for
would
the
give
situation.
Well,
shit,
I mean,
but-
I'm gonna disagree as well because you can fuck it up, and
Yeah, but you're not
when-
gonna die from it.
you're not gonna die from that.
Do you have-
will
do-
walk out with a hell of a bruise on your
Do
arm.
you have a fear of needles?
and I don't.
Okay,
Thank
so
God.
that's why I would give a fuck.
Thank
Oh,
God.
I've seen.
You're such a bitch.
Oh, I'm so terrified. I pass out when they take blood or give me shots. I pass out
seen
every time.
people, brand
Every
new,
time.
like new people, not as
What?
experienced.
We gotta get over that.
Every time.
Yeah, I was like,
Gotta get over
I've seen you bust open your hand punching shit.
But I have a reason.
But did you die?
Yeah,
I had a reason.
like punching shit that you shouldn't be punching.
See,
Like, there's blood.
Miller's there with me. Miller's there
This
with
is
me.
like
Ah,
that
both of you
So
bitches.
I never have been bothered by shots. When I have to, like, I'll donate blood, like, no problem.
I can't do
The
it.
only thing that bothers me
It's
is
my
that,
blood.
like,
I earned
I
it.
have such pale skin that you can see all my veins, but you can't hit them. So, like, it's all
That is a problem.
shit, and then I walk away with, it looks like somebody took out, like, my arm. Like, it's just all black and blue. And I'm like,
I mean,
well, we did our
Those are fair
best.
scenarios. I mean,
You wanna know a
I
funny
guess look
story?
with me though, like,
But I,
You want to know a
just
funny story?
fucking stab my shit. I don't give a fuck.
So
like,
Yeah.
the
me
last
too.
the last two times that I've had my blood drawn, my mom did it, and I only learned this later.
I don't know what that means that my mom did it.
Well, my mom
she
was Army medic,
hit
and
you in the
she's
face
like
with a
used to
frying
like
pan? Like,
she's used to like hitting shit in the field and doing whatever, and like you got to be perfect every time.
Oh, she stepped in.
Right, but she's not allowed to legally.
Right.
So
you would pass out.
she told me, my mom, anytime last two times I got my blood drawn, she told me that like we're gonna go in there, I'm gonna talk to him, and I'll just do it, and it'll be real quick, and it'll be super. My mom was standing right there, but the nurse totally did it, and fine job, whatever, blah blah blah.
This is called
But-
coddling your kids.
Exactly.
I just want to let everybody know that this is
Exactly.
why men have a harder time as adults than women
But
do.
in my mind, I thought my mom had done it, so like it wasn't a big deal, and I still passed out, but it wasn't like a freak out pass out. So it was good, but at the same time, I learned later that like my mom was like, "Oh no, we can't legally do that. No, never." And I was like, "So you did?" And she's like, "No, I was standing there, but I didn't do it."
Failure to launch.
Yeah. Amen to
I
that.
like, yeah, like, cause I mean, like, I had the story when the EMT in training was trying to draw my blood in the ambulance and then couldn't do it. And then the doctor actually like pulled
Gush,
my blood.
gush,
And there's
gush,
blood
gush,
everywhere.
gush,
I'm like,
gush,
I don't
gush.
give a flying fuck.
yeah, me
I've never understood that like
Oh my
the
God, I
fear
give
of
a
that
flying
kind of
fuck.
scenario, especially like from something like
I give an outer
Like-
space fuck.
like you, especially like where you like will like work on cars and bust your hands open and do all the things.
Or punch things
But-
and hurt myself
yeah,
constantly.
But like
and yeah,
this little needle that's supposed to go into your fucking skin is a problem.
that's not allowed.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
You want to draw my blood, get me really drunk, get me very pissed off at a parking
Hey,
meter,
it's
and I'm
just
gonna punch the shit
fucking
out of it.
pour out of your body.
And then
It's just
I
like
will-
you're just holding the bag underneath his hand.
Yep,
like-
I will drip some blood into your little thing you need.
Well,
There was like
So,
when you
like-
taped up your hand with the fucking paper bag and then went to sleep.
Oh, and it was full of dry blood in the morning? Yeah.
So it's kind of so I donated blood, and when I walked away, I was all black and blue because they finally found my vein. But when I had to get my blood actually drawn for labs and things like that, the girl who was on staff was new, and then there was a nurse over there who she was like, "Okay, get away from her." She's like, "We have to switch arms now, and I'm gonna do it." Because I was like already bruising, just like right on. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, dude, like please stop," because it does start to hurt, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Whoop, we got you. Like it's fine."
I remember like
So
I used
it can matter. I mean, it matters if you're like busy, like if you have things to do.
Right.
Like, if you don't, then
I
it's
remember like
okay.
I got when I went to college, I had to get a TB shot,
Yeah.
tuberculosis shot, and back then,
Yeah, throttle body.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Well, basically it was like so like the needle was like this long, and like fat, like a big old fat like needle.
Oh, those things are
And
horrid.
they stuck it down like my arm, like and it goes
Ew!
like.
You had to get one of these from
Yeah.
college?
Yeah, it was a tuberculosis. They're not as
I
bad
never
now.
had to get one.
They're not as bad now. Like the
No.
needles are only like this long. But
No.
basically, what they do is they put it in there,
I'm just not going to college.
and then they like.
I'm just not. You were already in college.
So basically, it's a test where like they don't draw your blood; they put like stuff in your arm.
Really doesn't matter at that point. Like, just,
And I was like, I remember like when it was happening, I was like, cool, this is. I don't like. It was
I already
huge ass
know
needle.
that we have to set up a haunted house that is full of needles.
I immediately
Gotta
A, am
get
not
away
going to
with
that
it.
school, and B, and just, dude, no. I'm getting nauseous just listening to you talk about that.
Yeah, we should. Let's change the subject then.
Well,
No,
that's like the
we
thing
don't
is,
have to.
Half the time they use
It's
to
just-
sedate people to do this.
That-
but
that
they're
just-
like,
Yeah,
That
it's kind
fucks
of. What
with me.
is the shot that you have to get when you go into the military? They put it in your butt. It's a big needle and it's like peanut butter. You got to massage your butt. After you
So
get
my
it.
mom, when she was in the army, had to do
Peanut
that
butter
for
shot.
recruits going to Vietnam.
Yeah, they still
And,
do.
and they had a giant line of folks, and my mom was one of those people that sat there and just
We might be
boom,
the
boom.
only two people that use the word folks, by the way.
Folks.
I use folks
You
all
know.
the time. I'm like, my folks, I gotta go to my folks.
My
tomorrow.
folks, you know.
Again, that comes from that Midwest.
Have a
like,
seat on the
family
Davenport
scenario.
over here and
Oh,
crack a cold
boy.
one.
Oh, boy.
That's a Midwest family scenario.
It is.
That is.
But
I
that
mean,
being said,
technically,
like my
my
mom,
family's
my mom,
technically from
'cause I asked her once, I was like, so, is this like this thing with needles that I have? Is this normal or what's going on? She's like, well, it's not common, but it does happen. And she told me that
Oh, she-
like
I heard something close upstairs.
some of the people.
Now it makes a lot of noise.
So like they'd have all these recruits going through, right? You have guys that look like me, guys that look like you, and then you have guys that look like Evan, and you have guys that look like The Rock going through. And they all get the same shot, right?
What a fun job to have if you were like an army medic nurse.
Oh
in the
my
40s.
god. And she was telling me like some of these like big burly dudes like, 6'4", 250, ripped
Yeah,
as
they're
fuck.
crying.
And she's like, I would stick them and they would faint immediately.
Women rarely do.
And she's like, they would just faint immediately. And she's like, so it's okay. Like it happens to like not everybody, but it happens to a random group, so to speak. Like it's not like based on anything. It's just
Sure.
some people needles okay, some people needles not
I know
okay.
plenty of women who are like, no fucking needles.
And me,
That's
no
when you will
needles.
never be a heroin
If
addict.
you need to put a
Unless
needle
you
in me,
smoke it.
knock me out first. Put the gas on me and knock me out first before you put the needle in, because I will.
So high maintenance.
I will fucking.
Yeah.
Slam
I
you
will
over the
fight
face
you.
With a frying pan. This is the military, son. We don't have that
I
kind of
will
shit.
fucking fight you. We're gonna have a fist
I
fight
can
on our
slam
hands.
you over the face with
Like,
a
I
cast
hate
iron
needles.
frying pan for sure.
Dear Lord.
It's just something that I
You're
don't
gonna get stuck
understand
either way.
whatsoever. I'd never had an issue. Like even as a little kid, the first time, like
You weren't coddled.
yeah, I definitely was not.
I was neither though. I was a feral child.
Your mother.
I think you were more. I think you
Loved
pretend you
you.
were more feral than you were.
Yeah,
You're
your
a
mom
softie.
loved you. Your
I-
mom stepped in to pretend she was the person giving you the shot so that you would
Yeah,
get it.
like 25 years old.
Yeah.
But between like
Still.
10, between then and then, like 10 years old and about like early 20s, I didn't have a relationship with my mom at all. Never talked to her.
Yeah,
Never.
That's funny that she stepped in to pretend that she gave you the shot. That's pretty amazing.
I know, because she's my mom. She fucking loves me, which is great. But god
So
damn.
that's nice.
No, like I was literally a feral child. Like leave it 10 years old, leaving the house at 9 p.m. out the front door. Most parents be like, "Where the fuck are you going?"
But your little sister was not given.
No,
that
no.
moment at
Now
all.
there's coddle.
So that's like where we see like the difference between where you raise your sons and your daughters like differently, because it's like you're like, I don't know where he is. He's off doing something. And
I
like,
mean-
if
Exactly.
your daughter, where are you? What are you doing? Get back over here. What are you
I
doing?
mean, Fort Collins is a very different time when we were 10 years old too.
That's also true because the only time my parents ever heard about me in that time period was when the police called them. You know.
Yeah, you've had your share of run-ins.
We found your son. I
We
love
found your
that.
son in an irrigation ditch. He was throwing poker chips in here because he lost a game and wanted to punish the people who were playing.
And that's when I was 14. You know,
That was when you were 30. That was when you
That
were
might
like
also be true.
25. That was when you were like still with all the narcotics.
But no, the coddling is not a thing. I think it's a different. I don't know. There's something else going on. It's not the coddling thing for sure.
You just made it a problem in your head, even though it wasn't ever a
I
problem.
think it's
Oh, I'm
sons
sure.
need
I'm
their
sure it's
mom.
mental.
It's like the whole like quicksand scenario, where like when we were kids, like quicksand was always
will
a problem.
kill you.
Yeah,
Quicksand will kill you, and it's everywhere.
yeah. It's kind of the same problem. So like you look at the Looney Tunes and.
I found your 11-year-old son.
That's so true.
But
Fair.
yeah, I think that's kind of the thing is like when we would see like cartoons and like shit back in the day.
Yeah, quicksand was everywhere.
Well,
like wasn't one of your biggest fears was like you're gonna fall into
God,
quicksand?
yes.
Right.
And
So-
where the fuck are we coming across like quicksand?
Which yeah, is
No.
like not even a problem.
Yeah, no.
And needles were the same thing in cartoons and shit though back in the day. Like
Oh, yeah.
you would see like Scooby Doo when they would get like a shot, they were
Yeah,
like
and they'd be like, ah.
yeah, and all those kind of things. So it's literally just a mental capacity thing from the things you were brought up with.
I saw this really incredible thing about Scooby Doo the other day.
Yeah.
And maybe I think I've seen it before, and maybe you guys have all seen it, but it was like Scooby Doo was a cartoon made that like if you ever noticed that they always knew the person that they were taking the mask off of, like the monster, it was like subconsciously telling you that all the monsters in your life are people that you actually know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty amazing.
There's
but
some
also,
truth to that.
I would have never put two and two together, to be honest with you. I would have never been like, wow, this is just like Scooby Doo.
Furthermore,
Or like, wow, Scooby Doo is just like my life. Like, I would have never done that.
My
but I didn't have a
parents-
lot of monsters in my life.
my parents are addicted to those like CSI, like Nash Bridges type shows, whatever.
I've seen
Nash
every
Bridges
every
has not been
episode
on the
of
air
Law
since
and Order
1997.
SVU.
You are wrong. They play 2 episodes a day, and my parents watch both of them.
Well, they're on the
They're-
air, but they're not new.
Yeah.
But that being said,
My mom loved Nash
It's like
Bridges.
MASH.
oh, that being
This was
said,
like,
But, like,
it was
I've
like
seen
Cheese's like
every-
first like mainstream show.
that being said, I sat down one night because I was like, why are my parents so obsessed with
Holy
these
Nash
like
Bridges.
these shows? Holy Nash Bridges, exactly.
It was huge.
And by the way, all those kudas were fake. They weren't real Hemi kudas.
I just want to say this, just real quick.
Who cares?
I've seen every single episode of Law and Order SVU, and that's why I'm so aware of all the rapists that surround us.
Right.
True crime, yeah.
Like, it's just
This is the same problem that he
these all
has.
same shit. Yeah.
No, I'm the rapist. That's my finger. That's what I'm saying.
Stop it. No, you're not. Oh my god.
No, but what I'm saying is it's so
Imagine
funny.
one of
Like,
his potential employers watches this one.
I am the rapist.
I'm the rapist. Jeez.
I watched one of those shows once with my parents because I was just like, okay, what are they into? Why are they so into this? So like back in the day, my dad was super into Star Trek. I started watching Star Trek and I was like, this is amazing. So I was like, there's got to be a reason they're into this. And we got into it and I was just within, and you brought up the Scooby-Doo reference, which made me
Yeah.
think of this. I was like, this is Scooby-Doo for adults.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
all
Yeah.
this is. That's all it is. Because you watch the first like 2 minutes of it, and you're just like, it's that guy.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I mean, that's kind of the same thing again with the Law and Order, like all of them.
Yep.
There-
Oh, it's that guy.
There's a reason why like I don't like horror movies and like those kind of shows
Yeah,
because they're
'cause-
so
oh, yeah.
like big.
I love those shows. But
Sad dude.
also, like, I also love it too. Well, I love it anyway because I'm like, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Sometimes you get bamboozled at the end. You don't know. But like,
Yeah, it's every
like
fourth
when they
episode
catch
is
the
Yeah.
rapist.
his best friend instead that you haven't met.
Maybe.
I was talking.
Sorry, but not. I was making fun of your
Sorry,
situation.
not sorry.
Jeez,
Anyway.
entitled millennial.
No, I just hate it when people are talking. But
I was talking.
it's like obviously it's only okay when Lemieux is here and I'm all Lemieux, shut up. I'm sorry.
That's true.
But like when you look at like watch those shows and like within 10 minutes they catch like the killer or the rapist or something, you're all, oh wait a minute.
Yeah, there's an extra 20 minutes
I had to
left.
switch because you know I don't wear a watch on the, I would obviously
Excuse
be
me,
left-handed
I
about that.
have 3:30.
Like that's like but you're all wait, but the episode isn't over for another like hour.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess this guy's not it.
I like those shows.
And then sometimes I'll sit there and watch Law and Order SVU and like fucking all
yes,
day.
I just can't do
I
it.
can't do it. Yeah.
It's so predictable that I'm like, nah.
Can't do it.
Okay, we get it. You guys like to bother the entire story for yourselves. Also, on another note, I noticed something really weird about myself. Not weird, but also really annoying. And I never thought about this because when I watch TV by myself, I do it anyway. Or movies by myself, I do it anyway. But I'll watch the movie. But I always have like something else going on. I'm like working or like anything else. Like really, it's just like background noise. I'll pick out a movie and I'll watch it but I'll look it up to see what's going on in the plot so I know what happens at the end.
Why?
Do that? It defeats the purpose.
Well, why do you watch movies over and over again? Same
I-
situation.
Well, if they're well made, there's more than just that to them.
Well, I guess.
There's the
I don't watch
screenplay,
too
there's
many-
the directing, there's like so many other aspects.
There's
It's
a
a
lot of,
Wes
like-
Anderson film.
There's a lot of,
come
like, again,
on.
it's like nostalgia scenario.
I have
or
seen The Hunt
you,
for Red
like-
October 100 times.
That's your go-to-sleep movie.
Yeah.
I know that
I have
movie.
a
I've
feeling
never
this. I
watched
have a
it,
feeling this.
but if it started playing, I would know what movie it is because I've heard it so many goddamn times.
Because you had to listen to it because your
I
room
mean,
was right
but
next
I'm
to it.
like, I get into it. We watched this movie the other day.
So you
it's
look
on,
at
like,
the movie when you're watching.
I read the plot, and I'm
Well, no,
like,
she's
oh.
more interested in like the story, like
Yeah, I wanna
what
know
is
what's, like,
what is
going
the
on.
build of the story and the end of the story,
Yeah.
and you want to know that
And then
before
like
you
I'll
actually
watch
put
the
the
movie.
time
Like
in.
I want to see like all the like things that go into like making the movie. But we watched this movie the other day that had he was in Wedding Crashers. He's got like the nose.
Owen Wilson.
Yes. And then like it's on Amazon Prime. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it with what's her face on Hyde?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that
then
one! I
they
saw
do
the thing
they're,
for that
like,
one. I haven't
drug
watched it yet.
addicts, like kind of
Is
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I looked that up, and that actually helped me understand the movie more. Because if I just watched it without it, I would have been like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, that's why I kind of like to watch the trailers before I watch the movie
Yeah.
for that kind of the same reason.
I have taken her on a movie escapade.
Just fool. I have taken her.
I have to hold her back because of how excited she's going to be based on the movies she's
Okay, wait.
seen.
Can you? I gotta pee.
I
Oh wait, I can hear you. I can
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, yeah.
I can hear
Sean Connery's Sugar Baby. I
Robert
would.
Redford a little bit.
Maybe Robert Redford. Yeah, but Sean Connery, yeah, he'd be
See
my
those
sugar daddy.
those white women, they like that Robert Redford.
Now I like to watch kid cartoons again as an adult now because of the
Oh, there's
adult
so much
humor.
extra shit. Yeah.
Yeah, the adult humor is just ridiculous. It's like,
And
that
and
is dirty.
Ren and Stimpy. Are you
I
kidding
mean,
me?
when I knew
Oh
it
my
when,
God,
when
yeah.
I was a kid, just because I grew up in a shop, so I understood all this
More than one Winston
random scenarios that like I already knew what those terms meant and what they were going with.
Yeah.
So like I remember like watching like cartoons as a kid, being like, "Oh my god." This, but I also didn't know that it was any different because that was just
Well,
my
you
life.
didn't get all the
Yeah.
little things in there. There's little Easter eggs everywhere in there.
Yeah. I just no, but I already saw those kind of things because I was basically already on adult humor at 10 years old. So it was one of those like things for me like it didn't. None of that like flew by, and like for me, I just thought it was a normal situation. Like everybody knew that, and it wasn't until I was like in my 20s where I was like, oh, people like don't know that they make this thing for adults too.
No,
They
I
just, like-
had no idea. Like some Disney, like Mickey Mouse movie or cartoons.
I poured myself two. You can have one.
I mean, that's one of those things like me with like, like you watch, like I don't know. I just remember like probably like all those like things now like people like realizing like how dirty SpongeBob is,
Oh yeah.
and like all of those memes and
SpongeBob is fucking milk toast compared to like Ren and Stimpy and shit like that.
actually not really.
Oh,
You don't think so?
Oh, dude.
Really?
You should watch it
Oh
as
my
an adult.
God.
There is so many
SpongeBob?
things. Ren and Stimpy was very dirty outwardly.
Did I
Where
put these on?
no, we should put another set on too.
Oh, no.
There is a lot of stuff in there, like, cause I didn't watch it as a kid, obviously, but with my little sister, she loved SpongeBob forever and ever, so we'd watch it like together and those kind of things. And I was like, in my early 20s, being like, this shit is disgustingly dirty. So like now that like it's becoming like a thing where all those kids that watch them are turning, 18 to 25 in that range, they're realizing that how dirty it is. It's Ren and Stimpy maybe a little bit more outwardly with it, but like it was supposed to be. It was not supposed to be a kid's show. Nickelodeon picked it up for like their teenage scenario.
All of them. Ren and Stimpy definitely wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be, but
The
it was
Rugrats
on.
was kind of bad.
Rugrats was
Arnold was bad.
Hey Arnold's super bad. But like again, those ones were shows that were like for kids that had adult like subcontext with it. Where Ren and Stimpy was like it was made for teenagers, and that was where it was supposed to be. And it was on early enough that like regular kids watched it. Was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
So whereas like SpongeBob is equally as dirty, if not worse. Again, Mr. Krabs lives in Bikini Bottom. Like that alone.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, like that's like the
I love
whole, and Sandy the squirrel and all these like Just the names
God.
alone.
Think about that.
Yeah, SpongeBob is a tampon. His best friend is Patrick Star.
Like, a butthole?
Yeah.
That's really funny. Actually, I never put that one together.
I know.
Yeah.
Either. I'm like, oh my god.
So yeah, it's like if you just take like again, there was all subcontext in that scenario. Like if you don't like look at it that way, you're like, nah, it's fine. No, like there's a lot of those moments that are like that.
It's really funny. I love it. I hated
Yeah.
that show though. It was so annoying.
I thought it was funny as an adult because I watched it like fully as an adult. I never watched it like even as a teenager. So like I've always had that like dirty humor scenario, say things a little bit off just to make it like that crazy. So like it worked out well for me and literally loved it growing up.
It kind of makes me think that I need to go find the Flintstones and rewatch the
Oh my
Flintstones.
god, it's super dirty.
I don't think I've watched the Flintstones since I was like 10, and me and Dad used to watch it together. Dad always thought it was funny. I was just like, I thought it was funny because Dad thought it was funny. So me,
Super nerdy.
It's like letting your 5-year-old watch Family Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one
Right.
movie I think that got my attention into more, like, I need to watch other cartoons as well, was Shrek. Just because of all the adult humor in that movie. That I was just like, holy shit, you know,
Okay.
like, especially the part where the
All the
prince is
way
in his bed,
Well,
you
I put
know.
clothes on in anticipation of you making them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's okay. But no, I totally agree with you. Like Shrek is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
The first one is really funny. I watched the second one. I don't remember it. I didn't watch it nearly as much as I watched the first one.
The first one's way better.
But it was
Oh,
funny, and like it
Yeah,
is
true.
just like you watch it, or like you know you get like those Disney movies every once in a while, where like the Chicken
I'm laughing
Little
'cause
one,
you're laughing.
where like
Like,
everybody
years
was like,
later,
oh,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
welcome back.
What?
I said welcome back.
I just peed. I didn't use a bidet. Did you?
I didn't. Should I have?
No poopy?
I mean, like, poops are pretty normal, clean scenarios. You just
Yeah,
snap
mine
them
are.
off pretty quick.
Have you ever thought about shaving your butthole so you don't have this problem?
I Hiroshima every toilet I visit. Trust me.
He said shaving, not Hiroshima in your butthole.
Oh.
I'm more surprised that you heard Hiroshima your butthole and not
mean,
shaving.
It's kind of the same thing, I guess, but like,
I suppose I
think-
could.
yeah.
Be way easier for you to get in there.
There's a little like, yeah, totally.
A lot easier for that man thong that you're sporting. Banana hammock.
Gotta work it through the hair.
Yeah,
Get
work
her
it.
in there.
Work it.
Just hair, just
Be
never.
elastic.
I've always
tangles.
wondered. I had like some friends from Brush who told me how like they all got together when we were like in high school one time and wore like banana hammocks to high school. Like when they were like juniors in high school or like seniors in high school. They like wore one day to like school.
Just
Like I
under
would
their
have,
clothes?
yeah, I would have never worn those or like never worn it. I was like, I would have never known that.
Right, like.
So I guess that was just a fun secret between you guys.
Yeah, it wasn't like it
Yeah,
was.
nobody knew what you
So
were
wait,
doing.
banana hammock like wearing women's underwear, or
No,
banana
I
hammock
think-
like designed for
Either
a guy?
way, if you
with-
didn't
I think
show
either,
everybody, it
yeah,
didn't
either
matter.
way. But I guess my question is whether it's designed for a man. I feel if it's designed for a man, it probably holds like your dick and balls pretty secure
It
at that
does.
moment. If you're wearing like women's underwear, like your girlfriend's underwear, I don't think it's like gonna be the same
It's
situation.
not. Yeah, definitely not.
Something's falling.
No
out.
room.
Something's falling out.
Yeah, it's not working the same way at all. No way. There's no shape or form that could work out.
Yeah, I just don't even
Like-
know what moment that like I was
What?
like,
Yeah. Well, like, have you done this?
What?
Did you just forget what we're talking about?
No, like what's your
Like women's like underpants.
No, I have not worn women's.
I don't. You said it, so I think you have.
No,
So why did you say it?
me either.
because
Yeah, you
banana
just have a
hammock.
bulge and there's nothing there.
Banana hammock have worn.
I like the space.
Have worn.
Let it breathe.
My jeans are skin tight. You think I
Have
can
one.
fit boxers underneath these? Without them
In
all
particular,
bunching up?
cycling.
Sorry, what?
Banana. Well, I mean that's fair on cycling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got one.
Wait, what's going
Was
on?
for cycling.
Oh, I was like, you're recycling them?
Tyler, I'm sure.
I
you want
recycle other
Hanes
people's
clothes.
underwear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense like in a cycling scenario, but that's why like you buy chamois now, you don't have to worry about it as
Yeah,
much.
it's essentially the same thing. It's just
Well, it's like,
holding
have
everything
you
in place.
ever worn one?
A banana hammock?
Yeah.
Yes. Many, many years ago.
Just
I
for
have it.
fun?
Yeah. Somebody bought
Okay,
one
so
for
this
me.
is just like a dude thing. So like you just buy a thong, you wear it for fun.
And we all hang out together and just thong out.
Yeah, I feel
what
like
we
that
do.
is exactly
Somebody
what's
bought us a
going
gag
on.
gift, and I just came out in that scenario, like full on, like and then I just never. It got
Which
thrown away
reminds
years
me, I
later.
still gotta bring those silver pants back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like this is something you would have worn with those silver fucking leggings.
I just wear
You
no.
might wanna bring those
I
back
have no
for
underwear
sure.
with those. There's no underwear with
See,
those.
Evan's right. Stop telling our secrets.
Stop telling our secrets.
Yeah, no, that's. I can't wear underwear with those. It just doesn't work. I can't. He can because they're like huge.
Well, you gotta have like a lace thong with those guys, so it
I
doesn't
just don't
show.
wear any.
Yeah.
I just use them like leggings. I don't wear underwear with leggings.
I don't wear underwear with my leggings sometimes.
I
Because
can't.
like for what?
I've never worn leggings.
There you have.
Yeah, you have.
No,
Yeah, you wear
well,
those
they were so loose on
You
me. Those
guys-
were pants.
They
You
were like
literally
pants on me,
have
for sure.
those because you wore them one time.
They were pants. They were not leggings on me. They were pants.
Yeah, they were.
They were so loose.
Yeah.
I mean,
remember-
my
was
fucking
here.
arm is as big as your
Remember
fucking
you
leg.
put your like cowboy boots on with them?
Yep.
I think I have that picture still.
But you can wear leggings and then start singing that Robin Hood Men in Tights song.
Oh
I
yeah.
love Robin Hood.
Men in
It's
tights. Tights.
Hold on. Let me pump them up.
Yeah, let me pump them up.
I've never seen a movie
Uniqueo
until the other
Bracer.
day.
Oh my god.
Abe Lincoln. Did you say
It's
Abe Lincoln?
so funny when he's like on the toilet in the castle and they start pulling the castle
He's just
away
sitting
and he's
there.
reading Braille porn.
Oh, is that what he's doing?
Yeah,
Oh
he's
my
reading
God.
like Braille
So
porn.
she just watched that for the first time
oh
last
my
night.
God. Men in
Oh, you've never seen it before?
No.
Last- oh, my
And
God.
prior as well, she had not seen. So we watched two movies. We watched Robin Hood Men in Tights because she'd never seen them,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my god, yes, yes." But the first one we watched, Princess Bride.
Oh, it's so long. The movie is
But it's so
long.
good.
It is good. It
Super
really
good.
throws you through a loop when they get in the quicksand moment. Like, you're all damn.
Yeah, brought it back to the quicksand.
This
Yep.
is my whole fucking life right here. This is what
And the
I'm bringing
roosters,
on.
the rats of unusual size.
Oh, I love that movie because one of the most famous quotes of like all time is in that movie. My name is Nipple.
Inconceivable.
That and my name is Nipple Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I love that movie.
One
that's
day
a
I
good
will meet
movie.
a man with 6 fingers, and I will tell him.
It's a great movie.
Andre the Giant is it? Yeah, I don't know, but like fuck, Robin Hood Men in Tights. That's probably one of the
I mean, Mel Brooks is like
best
the jam.
movies ever.
Oh yeah.
So, I brought you with me when we saw
We need a hasty marriage.
when we went to we saw him live.
That was you and me.
It was you and me? Okay. I was like, it was you and me.
It was somebody in this
somebody
room.
in this room. We went and saw him live.
It was you and me.
We watched
Blazing
Blazing
Saddles,
Saddles live.
which she
That's
hasn't seen
so
yet.
Fun. Oh, you gotta watch that. That's really funny. When they pull the whole town away.
Yeah.
It's just a backdrop.
Black Sheriff.
Black sheriff. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
so
that
funny.
I love Mel Brooks movies. They're like my favorite
That's-
because they're slapstick like enough that like it's not like super
Well,
crazy.
but it's slapstick with intelligent humor.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not sketch comedy. It is all tied into the same
Yeah.
story. It's really good. It's so funny. You gotta watch it like a few times, I think.
I don't know. I haven't seen Dan chat yet.
I am
So
Dan.
good. I'm
Who's
yeah,
Dan?
I mean-
I am Dan.
I'm Dan.
Hello. I work on an oil rig and beat my kids.
What?
I don't know who Dan is.
Don't
I'm just.
Dan,
You know-
his brother-in-law. Don't give him that moment. Oh my God, no.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Jeez. I work on oil rigs and beat my kids. Holy shit.
I don't know who Dan is.
Call him in. Dan has a totally different life now.
Maybe Dan's a cool guy. I don't know.
Dan is a cool guy.
She just said it's his brother-in-law.
Is it cool guy
It's
like?
Amanda's husband. Wingate.
Oh, that Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, steak recipe Dan. Yeah, no, try my steak recipe.
So this was filed under S's.
This random ass shit.
I'm not sure at this point. Apparently, it's the Dan that may have had a Honda that's very fast. Is that correct?
Think CRX car dude.
Oh, I know that Dan. No, he's good people. He doesn't beat his kids or work on an oil rig. So.
He doesn't have either of those things in his life. Yeah, I don't know.
They probably have kids, they just haven't told you yet.
Travis dead.
That would be a real shock if Amanda had a baby and nobody knew about it.
They have like 3, I bet.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? If
That
they
would be
did?
funny, though.
That would be so funny.
That would be funny.
They're like, these are our children that we didn't tell anybody about.
That is a great point, too, because she is probably the absolute last person that could keep that a secret. Yeah.
Like, she's my sister.
Yeah.
I could keep that a secret longer than Amanda could.
Oh, yeah,
can't
you?
keep
For
secrets
sure.
at all.
And I can't keep secrets.
No, you could have kids
The
and,
whole
like,
table.
nobody would know.
Whoever read
I
this
bet you could have a kid
I don't
and no
post on
one-
Facebook anymore.
dead.
Yeah,
That's
see,
so
I'm-
true.
Well, I haven't been on there either. I,
That's bullshit. There would be pictures everywhere.
I get on Facebook once a week
No,
to see
her.
if people are talking about
She
me.
would have pictures
Oh.
everywhere.
Well, yeah, it came out of me. There's gonna be pictures of it. I'm like, look what I did. Look what I made.
Think about how many pictures of Kelly you've posted.
Oh,
Now, as soon as you have your own, how many pictures of those gonna be there?
I don't know. I think I would probably get sick of seeing it, so you guys probably would too. You know? I'd probably pump back the pictures on like my own kid because I'd be like, I get it. I see you every day.
Apparently, the
I mean, I don't know
Treasury
if it's in
hadn't
my-
triggered Twitch to review your posts.
What
I mean, I had a dog and like
What is she?
all I did was post pictures of that guy, so it worked out. What's going on? Apparently, the term Aryan triggered Twitch to review your posts. Well, stop saying that in the chat then.
That's probably a good point. No,
Nobody
she,
else is saying that.
She posts on Facebook.
Putting her in
She
the
posts on
pool.
Facebook like 10 times a day.
I like to share things I like, so what?
Yeah.
Well, all the things you share like make me feel like a bad person.
Why?
No.
Between
Because-
what you post and what your sister posts, my entire feed is.
I know, right? Thank you.
I
The
just
entire
like
week.
certain things, you know. If the shoe fit, what's that?
If the shoe fits,
yes,
post
thank
it.
you.
I
That
don't
is
post
not
because
on
I work on
me.
Facebook, so I'm always
Yeah.
on somebody else's social media account, so I don't post as much on my own. 'cause
See,
I get
even
really
Miller,
tired of
even
looking
Miller's
at it.
tired of your Facebook posts.
Shut up.
I'm just saying, you do you. I'm just saying, between you and your sister,
Every time I'm on Facebook, it's these giant memes. Like it's not even a post, not a text post. It's a picture of words.
I just
Well, stop
And
liking
it's
her
like,
posts and they won't get served to you. It's the
If you
Facebook
don't love the
algorithm.
person you're with, then fuck you, and I'm this type of person. And
Well,
blah,
obviously,
blah,
she
blah,
loves
bang,
you
bang.
and she loves the person that
I
she's
know, but at the same time, I'm just like, wait, am I the other side of that? Am I the
No,
bad guy?
don't- that's not how it's. I'm.
with. Oh man, you gotta go to therapy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think you
he's been
think
needing
about it
therapy
too much.
before
You think
Facebook
about it too much.
existed.
You gotta think about how the person like who posted it feels. Like if you don't like love your person, because obviously she's like, well, I love my person. So yeah, if you don't love your person, fucking hear
But
it.
I don't like feelings.
Oh. Yeah. This is what John Wayne Westerns teach
Thank
you
you.
as you grow up.
Right.
Hey,
this is
hey,
not-
And this is all you watched growing
Say
up.
that to her. Say
This
that to
is
her.
what
Say
I
that
swear
her.
to God. Okay, same kind of upbringing. All he did was watch John Wayne Westerns growing up. Same thing. They do not teach you that feelings are applicable. They don't teach you how to like combat them. So
I've been
you
trying to
grow
get her to
up
watch John Wayne
and
movies.
your role model,
Oh my God.
like your person is like John Wayne, and that's like what you see on your TV every day. You don't see feelings as like a
Well,
real
it's crazy
thing.
that
Well,
John Wayne
Pilgrim,
was a
I don't
good
think we have
person.
time for feelings over here right now. We've got a job
What was
to
the
do.
movie? I think
Yeah.
it was him where he threw like the kid that didn't know how to swim in the.
That would be El Dorado.
Yeah, where he
El
was like-
Dorado's my
like, you don't know how to
favorite
swim?
John Wayne
That's a great
Western.
movie.
It's my favorite.
I like that one. I did watch that
I
one.
love El Dorado.
John Wayne was a terrible
He
person.
is
Oh,
not
yeah.
a good person.
And so was
Yeah.
Robert Mitchum, who's
I
my
mean-
favorite other actor from that
Yeah.
era.
I don't
Terrible.
think that like any of us at the time were
And
like,
they
man,
partied
I hope
together,
this
by the
guy
way,
is a good
constantly.
person. I don't think anybody.
They were
was-
two most famous people in movies at the time.
Yeah.
I hope this guy doesn't like fucking fuck women over. Yeah, nobody was thinking that. Yeah, people are like, damn it, sir, you better fuck this woman over. That's pretty much.
Well, if she
That's
isn't
my
gonna pay, then I guess
best
it's time to
vaudeville.
mosey, hombre.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it was.
That's John Wayne. Love the man.
We
This is why you got
idolize the guy.
problems.
Yeah. We idolize him.
This is why you
Is
got
that healthy?
problems.
No.
That's why the
I'll
man
try.
has an airport named after him.
I'll try to be more diverse on my Facebook postings.
What?
I'll post like.
No, you don't.
Your-
You don't gotta do
your
shit.
Facebook.
Yeah, you don't gotta do
Like,
shit.
No, it's
I
your
know.
Facebook.
You post whatever the fuck you want on there,
So what
regardless.
gets you off Facebook, his profile picture isn't
I
even
don't
him
post
at
personal
all.
shit.
Yeah,
not
you,
even
you
on
have to
my
actually
Facebook.
click on my profile picture to see me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I always find it funny because whenever you post like a comment or anything on Facebook, it immediately shows up on my feed. On the top.
Because I never post.
Yeah, you never ever.
So when I do, people are like,
It's like it just shows up immediately. Everybody that you're friends with knows when you post because it's immediate.
That's so I
Can you
don't.
guys tell
Do you
Eric to
post?
join on Twitch?
Somebody text Eric, please. And
Eric,
tell him
join
to
on
stop
Twitch.
being busy because
Eric,
Evan's bored.
Eric is like 4 Qdoba burritos deep right now, and he can't.
He's at
talk.
work.
Well, he's probably still is. He can't talk to anybody.
you just can't talk to anybody.
I've seen him eat. The amount of food,
I know.
the spiciness
I
of the
wish I
food.
were 4 Qdoba burritos deep.
Yeah, don't we?
Well, that's Tyler.
Or nachos more so.
Burritos deep.
This is always 4 burritos deep. Yeah, he can eat for sure. Super for
I
sure.
haven't even started dabbing yet.
You know, somebody that has going to have 2 kids here soon saying that out loud, just to me is still one of those like
Who's
great.
having 2 kids?
So Tyler has 1 kid already.
Oh,
see, there it
I
is.
thought I was like Evan's having babies.
No, Tyler, but his that's the word
Like we have to buy him a book.
LLWIVWIL or whatever his name is on Twitch.
Level.
But yeah, they just announced that they're having another kid. So,
Oh,
but like,
I see.
Eric!
It's a palindrome.
I
Yeah.
don't think I can eat that many burritos.
Yeah, you can. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
except for no, not even I'm telling him that.
He definitely
You got a YouTube account, Eric? You can do it on YouTube. Twitch is great because you can close out of the app and still listen to it.
Ah,
Oh, I
nice.
Yeah. That's what's nice about Twitch versus like YouTube or Facebook, because as soon as you close out of the app, it just turns it all off. But
So
on Twitch,
you
can-
grew up on John Wayne movies as well, huh?
Yeah, that's what Dennis Garfield.
Dude, Rooster Cogburn every afternoon. Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah, always. I think my dad's actually funny enough. My dad's least favorite movie was True Grit.
That's
And
probably
when
my
they
favorite
remade it,
one
he
out of
was
it
all-
because it is the
He was
worst.
like, "Let's see it."
But the Chicken Man is the best part.
Oh yeah.
But El Dorado was always.
So
my
sign
favorite
up for a
one.
Twitch account, you
We just
dipshit.
had like the movie packs. My mom would just buy
Yeah.
them.
No, we bought the
movie
VHS things with like
packs.
10 of them in
Yeah,
them, and like
yeah,
yeah.
just- And then once like we switched over to DVDs, just all of them.
Yep.
Every single John Wayne movie
Mm-hmm.
ever we own on DVD, I think.
Fucking Charo with Ina Boleyn.
So John Wayne, who are my 2 boys? His horse's name is Silver. Old black and white fucking westerns.
I hated westerns growing up. I hated them.
Gene
You would.
Autry and Roy
I
Rogers.
absolutely hated them. Like again, I like
Gene
True Grit
Autry.
more because
Gene
of Chicken
Autry
Man
and
made
Roy
me laugh
Rogers
so
and
hard.
John
Have you seen
Wayne.
True Grit?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I haven't
Obviously,
seen the older
all our
ones.
boys.
Oh,
And then when I
The
got
older
old
one
enough,
with the
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
But you had to be
Once I
old
stopped,
You
enough.
have
we'll
to
talk
be
about it
old
for a
enough
second.
for
Because
it.
there's a lot of dark
They
shit.
get nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, True Grit is one of those movies like it's a classic western movie, but in the middle of it, there's just a dude that just balks like a chicken.
Yeah.
And so like it's in this like serious-ish kind of movie, and then it's all and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's how I would like to make movies, where like in the middle of it, it's like just some super random ass bullshit happens where you're like, what the
What?
fuck? It's like where like for an hour you're following a main character, like you're just following him, and then he gets hit by a car and dies, and then it's just a different movie. That would be like a movie that I would make. Where like in the middle it's just all. Have you ever seen the movie 4 Rooms?
Yeah.
4 Rooms is it's 4 different directors, and there's 4 different storylines there's one main character through the whole thing, and then there's 4 different storylines, and then there's each director has each room. The scenario is Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez. I can't remember the other 2 off the top of my head right now.
They're ones you'd know though.
So like there's just like random. It's like the movie like it follows a bellhop of a hotel, and each room is just super different. And like at the end, like during Quentin Tarantino's like he chops his like fucking finger off, and like it's a wild ass movie. But like that's how I would make movies, where it's like this one storyline and maybe like again one character throughout like all of them, and then it just changes in the middle of it.
Yep. I don't know.
Somebody got a Facebook request.
Movies like that are super interesting, and not only that, when you're in the I guess kind of Western genre, the Clint Eastwood movies come to mind because there's so many plot twists.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In a Clint Eastwood movie, as opposed to like a John Wayne movie, it's like I'm John Wayne and I'm here to be John Wayne.
I'm John Wayne.
And that's
Pilgrims,
basically
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas Clint Eastwood, you have no idea what's happening. Is he the bad guy? Is he the good guy?
Right.
Like what is it? What's going on here?
Well, you can tell he
they
had
always
creative.
worked out.
And then he has a change of heart halfway through the movie, and like
Even Robert Redford was one of those guys too.
Oh, yeah.
Like when his westerns, you were like, he was usually the good guy, but you weren't really sure like throughout the entire western. But Clint Eastwood, you were like, I don't know. But John Wayne, it was like, I'm John Wayne.
yeah.
And that was pretty much. He could be Rooster Cogburn, he could be anybody, but he was John Wayne for sure.
Well,
and like he was always going to be the guy that like came out in the end.
Have you ever seen a little known Robert Redford movie called The Electric Horseman?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Actually, my dad used to make me watch this movie all the time. So, The Electric Horseman is dope because one of the outfits in this, he is in all lights and he's riding a horse. I don't know how they made this happen.
Lights and rhinestones.
Yeah. Like a rhinestone cowboy. Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking
so,
nuts.
like, it's so crazy. He does a show in Vegas, if I remember correctly. And it's so nuts because
Sonny
it's like in the
Steele.
70s, and I'm like, how did they plug him in?
Yep.
Like, where
Sonny
did they plug
Steele.
him in at?
Well-
That
And
movie's
Eben,
nuts.
yes. Charlie Bronson movies are kind of in the same vein. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? We don't know. Until about the end of the movie when you're like, oh, he's a good guy. Love Charlie Bronson movies.
Right.
What's that one where he's the melon farmer? Majestic Man. And they made a Ford commercial for the F-150 out
Watch
of
way
that.
more movies than I do.
That's all he does.
Oh, it was
But
ridiculous.
I grew up watching all these, so I
They were
just don't
jumping
watch
at like
movies
40
now.
feet in the air.
'Cause I just,
I know, Tyler.
It's so
I get you on that one. I also think it's weird that people drink when they're having around their kids. So.
But I think the difference is a kid will catch a contact.
that's true. Your kid can't get contact drunk, but your kid can get
Yeah.
contact high.
I don't know. Travis was there. We were playing games, and Dorothy
think
like
they're little
grabbed
enough.
one of their margaritas they had earlier, and she was all fucking like wound up. So I think that's like not necessarily true. Like it's not that they're
Well,
bad parents.
if you're not like, yeah, I mean, if your drink is in your hand, but like if you're smoking, your smoke is it's unavoidable,
Sure.
Yeah.
right? If
Well,
you're
that
drinking,
is-
that's avoidable if you like have it in your hand.
Thank you, Evan, for the Majestic reference. I'm glad somebody else gets that. But yeah, it's so interesting with
I
movies.
firmly don't care. To be honest.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But sometime when you're drunk, we will sit down and watch Mr. Majestic.
No, I think. Well, let's get back on this like drunk / high around your kids like
Said
moment.
being high around kids.
Yeah, I got you, and I agree.
That's what
it
we were
is
talking about.
super fun.
Oh,
I
being
have-
high but not smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
How hard do
Oh,
I?
I misunderstood his.
How hard do I play with Alex when I've had a few beers in me and he comes back and jumps on me when we go into a fucking
Well,
WWE?
Yeah, that's all he ever does.
We
there's like
literally you could film that and sell it to the WWE for years. Like it's ridiculous.
well, how old is he?
5, almost 6.
In 6 days. He just texted me, Mom.
Just a
how
year
old
older
am I
than
gonna
Kelly.
be? And how many days till my birthday?
He's a fucking pimp. Love that kid.
He's a fucking.
He's a fucking pimp.
Well, obviously he's got you wrapped around his finger, so.
He's a
Yeah.
fucking wrapped around her finger. No, I'm wrapped around his.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what he was like. You're wrapped around this. Oh, what a cutie! Look at him, man. He's never gonna feel bad about. God,
My mom's like,
He's such a handsome.
About 13, 14 years old, ladies are going to start to be a
Oh,
real
yeah,
problem
shit.
for this guy.
Well, also lucky enough, I wish somebody
A
would have
real
told
problem.
us when
Yeah,
we
I've
were
seen
little
it.
that we were lucky that we had thick eyebrows and not like because we had to go through the early 2000s where it wasn't cool to have them. And Nicole waxed hers off, and now she can't grow them back.
Wait,
And now
Nicole waxed her eyebrows off?
Yeah, like well, you wax them constantly, so tiny thin, and then they don't grow back sometimes.
Oh my
And
god.
I just wasn't at that age, and then
Which one of
Mine
your
just
sisters
grew all
were you
over
trying
the
to
place.
set me up with at one point?
I think it was probably Nicole.
Was it
I
Nicole?
don't
It would have had to have been Nicole.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
have been Jamie. That was like 10 years ago.
I know. I don't forget things. Steal
That was
track.
when I was 20. It wasn't even legal to do anything yet. Except for smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, I was like, when we were 18, we actually like do things, whereas like now 18-year-olds can't do shit except for vote and die in a war. So
Vote and die.
Yeah,
That's what the
that's-
government wants you to do. Vote and die. If you can make it as far, I guess that's like the goal now. Make it as far as like you can to like drink and smoke legally. But isn't it just so much more fun to do it?
oh totally.
I mean, humor me. We've been doing it legally for so long.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, I mean we've been doing it for high schoolers complete ages like now. Like
I think
Well,
I
like,
would
in high
love to
school,
go
like,
back in time and do
we
it
used
illegally.
to like all those like with all those kids. We just like fucking go like drive down to the fucking park next to Loveland High and just have beers, and then if the cops came by, we'd just lock it in the fucking toolbox of the pickup
Yep.
all the time.
It was just way more fun.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
super fun.
It was fun to
Yeah.
get drunk when you were a teenager because it was scary to get caught.
Well, interestingly enough, I never did that, but
Yeah, because you were a fucking youth
I-
pastor.
yep,
you
I was
bitch.
a youth pastor. So
Look
Totally
where you at
forgot
now.
about this. Look at you now.
Yeah, you didn't
Oh,
go crazy until you could actually drink.
You just disagree with police.
What?
Chaotic evil, yes, it's always legal. You just disagree with police.
I don't think so. A lot of the police in our town were like, "We get it. We totally understand. We did the same thing when you were
Not
younger."
not in Loveland and Fort Collins.
No.
They were very shitty. Very shitty.
yeah, they were terrible about all that.
We used to get in trouble all the time. I just talked my way out of it
Yep.
all the time. I got real good at it.
Well, like you said, lock it in the toolbox. And
Well, like I was more likely to get a DUI or like an MIP or an MIC in Brush than I am here. Absolutely.
no.
I have been so
Almost
out
all
of
of
all
my-
the run-ins that I've had in Fort Collins.
Almost
I am
all
way
of my
like
friends have
it's
had,
just the ratio
at
is
that time
off.
frame had MIPs or MICs.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow, they took
everybody.
underage drinking seriously here.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
problem.
It was a
you
big
just
deal.
got. I mean, you came in like kind of when Fort Collins started getting like busy too, where like
Yeah.
the police didn't really like catch up until like
Well, the
You were
population
already
of
of age.
CSU had what shot up like 5 or 10,000 that year.
yeah. So like
It was nuts.
you got to think about like if you were like that 5 years difference between us when we were like 18, like me and Mike,
Very
like
different.
very different time frame.
Very different.
5 years.
Very different.
I'll call it 5. Okay.
Are you?
We're
Are
almost
you?
exactly 5.
Are
4
you?
years.
Are you
Yeah,
opposed?
almost exactly 5.
I
Are
mean,
you-
he's a little younger than I am, but like only like 3 or 4 months. So yeah, even you're 4.5 to 5. So yeah, it's almost exactly 5 years between you and
Oh,
I.
baby.
I'm just a baby.
I just love that you hate that I know your birthday. You hate it.
I do dislike that immensely. In fact, I dislike that anyone knows my birthday.
But I know it.
2005 was way different than 2010.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super different.
Yeah.
Had to call it
Which it
2009,
doesn't seem like it should be. Like,
But it was.
It
Human.
was.
It was. Yeah.
2005.
Right.
2005, you would have been what? 17?
14.
14, 15.
She's only 17.
To this day, I'm only 17.
But I mean, I was the same way. But my parents also bought us booze and drink, so my dad did not give a fuck.
Yeah, I remember moving into my first apartment and my mom was like, "Okay, right before we leave, do you need any beer? Do you need anything?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yes, I do. Need all those things."
Yeah, and that's definitely like living out the country too. There's a little bit less to do. So like,
Wow, that's
if
weird.
you kept you like kind of drinking, you kind of stayed off the drugs though.
Yeah, but like coming from
Very
my
true.
parents, who were like small town Iowa people, like so different.
I'm a
because-
small town Colorado
Well,
person.
when I moved out, it was like unannounced, so I just left.
Your life is just different than mine
That's
in general.
true.
I don't think it's a small town person.
But that
'cause
being
we're
said,
both small
and
town
then I
people.
didn't talk to my parents for 6 months. I was living in Golden, didn't talk to them for 6 months, and then finally answered one of my mom's phone calls.
Well, maybe you just shouldn't have been an asshole.
I call my parents every day. 'Cause I'm
Definitely
so
was an
afraid
asshole.
of being
But
That's
but
what I
that,
do.
that being said, when I did talk, she's like, "Do you need food? Do you need?
At the
What
right
do you
age
need?
of
What do you
12.
need? What do you need?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. Like I'm fine." It was the
You just wanted independence so bad.
the subject of beer did not come up, and never has. Yeah, they've my parents have never once bought me
Well, it
alcohol.
was like, who was I gonna call?
I kind of wish they would
Not Ghostbusters.
acknowledge
obviously.
my disease. You know.
Acknowledge my disease.
See, my dad was a wild person, so like that's why like he didn't give a shit what I did. He was like whatever. But I gotta remember when John turned 21, we went to Cooper Smith's and like Christy and Tony had come into town, all this kind of stuff, and me and Dan were just like my dad just kept buying pitchers. And at this point, John was like, I can't drink anymore. And we drank, heavily underage for a while. He was like, I can't
Yeah.
drink. So me and Dan were just downing pitchers at Cooper Smith's, just fucking like. My dad just kept buying them. It's like, if they're going away, I'm just going to keep buying them. To the point where I'm like, I can't drink anymore. And I'm 24 at the time, so I'm like hefty drinking.
45 auto.
What are you looking at?
Well,
Oh, just that shell I put in there. I was just seeing which
my
one it
dad was the wilder of the two, right? There are a lot of stories that I get to hear now that I'm an adult that they would have never told me when I was younger because
Yeah.
it just would have given us fuel to be like, well, you did it. Like, yeah, it would have never worked out. But now that we get to know those, it's like, well, I can kind of understand why
No,
my
fuck
dad
you,
was
Christmas
way
beer.
more protective over the situation. If he had had a boy in the family, he would have been like, dang, he went to jail. Like, I don't know. I went to jail once. Like, right?
Dad was
But he
just
had
like- just like-
daughters, so he was like, you shouldn't be going to jail.
But also, Dad didn't give a shit when that was the case, anyways. Because I remember
Yeah.
plenty of times of one time I walked into my house in high school. I was like 17. I had a Mustang, and I was like street racing somewhere. And I walk in the house at like 4:45 on a school night, and my dad's like up getting water, and he's all, "Are you just getting home?" And it's like, I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Probably just want to get home earlier," and just didn't say anything else about it
Yeah.
whatsoever. Did not give a flying fuck what I did
Yeah.
at all.
Well, and then too, beyond like I was the youngest, so I didn't have
couch
it
is
as hard
heavy.
as Nicole did. I think Nicole had like a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock curfew up until she went to college, and my curfew was like just come home before
Yeah,
we wake up in the
curfew,
morning.
that's-
Well, it's a little different too, like with you, like, again, that first child when you're going through is always like a little bit, typically like more strict on what shit's happening, that kind of stuff is like a typical like family scenario. Because they don't like know yet that like,
There is literally a song about this, and if we can apply it to our lives, it is absolutely correct. So, it's called Hold On Loosely.
38 special.
Yeah, by 38 Special. And that's pretty much it. Hold on loosely, but don't let go. You don't have to, like, police everybody, but, like, give them some space, and they probably won't end up being the worst kids in the world.
Yeah, my parents completely let go entirely.
same. So,
I think your parents probably did you and them a favor, to be honest with you.
Probably.
I think you're struggling from, like, you think your parents don't love you that much, and, like, maybe you gotta, like,
Oh,
talk
no,
to them
no.
about
No,
that.
no, well, at this
I don't
point,
know.
yeah, it has changed significantly since then.
Yeah, at this point in my life, like, my mom, my God, the relationship that her and I have developed over the last about 2 years is just unreal.
That's good.
And the thing that, like, I guess brought us together was baking.
Baking?
Yeah.
Like cookies?
Yes. I know that sounds
Why haven't you
nuts.
brought
No,
any
it doesn't.
cookies to me, you dumb bitch?
Hey, you've had some of my
Like, what the
baking.
fuck?
Fuck?
Yeah.
My lemon pound cake, my
I've
banana
not had
bread.
that.
What?
I've had it.
It's off the charts.
Oh,
I've
Okay,
heard
you're a
well,
fuck
we'll
tard,
be
and I
the
need
judge
this.
about that.
Except for that it took 2-3 months to get fucking burgers from you, so maybe like 2 or 3 months now, but...
And never bring that shit.
We might just have to get him over here, and I'll bring over the KitchenAid, and he might have to just make it here.
That's fine.
That can happen.
I have the
for sure.
KitchenAid. I can bring it over.
That can happen for sure. That being said,
I was going
though,
to say something too.
I want to
Remember when I borrowed your blender? I realized that I have a blender in the house. It's just
Oh,
hidden in
you
a fucking
son
dumb
of a
spot. Like, I was like looking around for something like the other day. I was like, why the fuck do I have a blender and didn't know about it?
You know, I use that blender and I'm like, I need a bigger blender. I need a more height because I have like one of the smoothie blenders. You like slam it in the cup and you put it on there. But like, I need like a normal person blender.
Yeah, so apparently I have it. Also, banana bread's like my favorite fucking thing. You
Yeah,
fuck.
we know.
Now I'm
I-
mad.
Let's have a banana bread bake-off because my mom has a recipe that will
So,
bring you to tears.
let's just say that my banana bread, much like my lemon pound cake, is infused.
That's fine. I'll wait
With
until
what? Weed? What's the situation? What is it infused with? Bourbon?
I make a banana extract that I use specifically for banana bread.
Okay, what is it?
I get hardcore with this shit. Just
Someone's
saying.
overboard. That's kind of the fact with Wingate anyway.
He's gonna be a new Justin like Charbonneau, huh? Like I'm gonna hop on.
Oh, just
I'm gonna hop
Charbonneau.
on Instagram and I'm gonna see like Wingate's open up his own like baking business, but he makes like cakes and breads, and like Charbonneau's got like the cookies going, and then they like join forces. Ugh, it's gonna be a mess.
Charbonneau's cookies ain't got shit on me. Don't worry
Dude, those
about it.
cookies. Have you eaten one?
I'm sure they're great.
They're really fucking
They're
good.
really fucking good. It's so surprising. I got one.
Well, I have a standing
was
permanent
amazing.
beef with Charbonneau. So my cookies will be better.
Because he left.
No, because he's always been better than me at everything. I will beat him eventually. I will beat him eventually at one thing.
Hold on a second.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, can we get this on film?
By the way, that's just beef in my head.
So, no, I've been trying to get...
2 seconds. Will you go ahead and tell me one more time what the jam is with Charbonneau? Verbatim.
All right, not verbatim, but Charbonneau, love Charbonneau till the day I die. Admire Charbonneau, but will always have beef with Charbonneau because every single thing I try to do, Charbonneau does better for some stupid fucking reason, and cookies will not be my downfall. And that's that.
Nailed it. All right.
You send it to
Just
him?
go ahead and tag Charbonneau.
You should.
So he said that he would be on the podcast. And actually, maybe I'll call him in a couple weeks and we'll have him on.
You should. Dude, I all kidding aside, I love that kid.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But that is true. It was one of those where, like, when him and I were working at the hookah bar together, I'd be like, no, that chick's sitting in C3.
I love the way that Tyler spells
And then
Charbonneau.
Charbonneau would just go out there and just take her home.
Wait, yeah, look at the way that Tyler spells Charbonneau. Charbonneau.
Charbonneau.
But, yeah, he told me, because I saw him on Halloween, he told me he'd come up and do it. I just need to call him and, like, make him come up.
I had so many
So
fun
maybe I'll
times
call him,
working
like,
with that
in the
guy.
next couple days, and I'll get him to come in a couple
You
weeks.
should. I had so many fun times working with that guy.
I love Sharpie.
Dude, me too.
Just
Sharpie's
the
the
amount
best.
of, like, stupid shit.
But we have a cookie beef.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of them.
I love the spelling. It's so funny.
We're gonna have a cookie beef. Or a baking
Do it, because his
beef.
cookies are good. If yours
I
are...
think you guys should have an old-fashioned bake-off. I'll let you use my kitchen and I'll bring it over here.
Oh, no. That's not necessary. I could use a campfire and beat this guy. Don't worry. I'm already thinking. The Rayberg.
He's gonna show up prepped. He's like, my dough is already made. What are we doing? Like,
The
we're not making
Rayberg
cookies.
chocolate chip cookie recipe from 1893.
Why? For what?
That's the one you want.
Why
Has it got-
not?
Has it got cocaine in it? Like, is it from that?
Well, at this point, it probably should. You put the idea
These
out
are the
there
best
in the
fucking cookies
universe.
I've ever eaten.
These things are amazing. I love these things. Oh my god.
Because everything before, like, 1910 just has a mad
Dude,
amount
these
of
cookies.
Oh,
uppers
these
in
cookies
it.
are amazing.
I love the fact that, like, 7-Up used to have lithium in it.
No
Oh, yeah.
one's Ox blood.
Ox blood.
That sounds like a Wingate problem, too.
No, tar blood, sir. Tar blood. TAR from New Zealand. Look it up.
You look it up and tell us about it. Nobody knows what you're talking about right now. Educate us.
The New Zealand tar? No, that's the blood I use
Okay.
for my chocolate chips.
Okay, so.
Good chocolate chips are made with blood. Don't know if you know that.
And that's that, guys.
Makes amazing cookies.
I've heard that.
That's
Actually,
really
you're
nice.
right. You're actually correct on
That's
that.
really nice that
That
he
is
chimed
funny,
in with
but
a
you are
bullshit
correct on that. I've heard that too.
situation.
It's all about fat. It's all about fat. Fat is flavor.
Well,
Period.
you're not wrong about the situation.
Not wrong. I mean,
Fat is
anybody-
flavor.
Nobody's
Quoting.
going to like bullshit you on that one.
Fat's flavor.
Like I work for a nutritionist, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, you can get the flavor without it. Like
my
I'm gonna
dad
be like,
has
yeah,
some
they can get-
famous tacos. I'm sorry.
No, her family
No.
runs a taco joint that
You
is
tell
like
me about that because I'm interested.
Yeah.
they got a taco joint that is blowing up. It's out by Centera there, and had some tacos from there. What was the one I had with the? It was the
You
steak
had-
and the ham in it.
I don't know.
I whatever the hell that thing's called. My God, that's an incredible taco.
Okay, talk to me about birra tacos. Birra tacos? Birra tacos? B-I-R-R-A tacos.
Bear tacos?
B-I-R-R-A tacos.
Oh, Biera.
You get,
Yeah,
you
birra.
you gotta
Okay,
dip,
yeah.
they dip and you gotta dip them.
I don't
Oh,
think
I've never
they
heard of
they
those,
don't do
yeah.
Biera, but they do
Ah,
lots of
interesting.
tacos, and this one taco in particular that has steak and ham in it. I can't remember the fucking name of what they call it. Wow.
Just wowza.
Yeah, wow. Blew my mind. I was like, that, now there's a taco. Because I had their, what's the standard,
5-star.
what's the standard thing?
The carnitas.
Carnitas tacos. And their carnitas is very good. It's
I grew up with that.
and I'll be honest,
Those are
about as
bomb.
good as any other good carnitas place, as far as tacos go. Pretty good.
No, they're better.
Man,
No.
it's pretty good.
They're
It's pretty
better.
good. But that steak and
You
ham
had them.
taco.
You had them when we were still in trial.
No, I had some because I went there and ordered them when my dad made me go to Sportsman's Warehouse in disguise to buy reloading shit because they were
Probably
only
gonna
selling.
want to hear about that as well. We're
Yes,
just starting
that's
up
quite a
stories
story.
at this point.
My dad, dear Lord. All right, so primers. Do you know what they are?
For like paint?
No, a primer for a bullet.
No.
So primer is the little tiny cap that goes in the end of a bullet that makes it go pow. Right?
Okay.
They at Sportsman's Warehouse will only sell 200 a day to you. Only 200 per day. And they
Which I
come
think
in,
is a fair amount.
Where the fuck did we end up?
200 a day.
if you're reloading large rifle calibers at a high rate like we are because we shoot a lot, not enough. Now, you want to stockpile them when you can get them on a good deal. Sportsman's, and Eben will appreciate this, had a deal where you get 100 large rifle primers for $4.99 a box.
Okay.
But right after the tallow, that's right. But you could only sell 2 a day to any given person.
I tried buying 556 from them and they laughed at me.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Bullets. I'm listening.
So, Evan, you might try this tactic because it did work. My dad actually ended up with a few thousand primers. But,
You're just gonna have to go in disguise.
oh yes.
Master.
I coin named a thing for my dad called 00 Doofus as a result of this.
And this alias worked.
And boy did it. We get to Sportsman's Warehouse. My dad's like, all right, I've already bought 400 today. I changed my voice the last time I was in there because we're wearing the mask. They can't tell who it is, but I think they'll know me. We're like, okay.
Buy them online.
You,
Can't buy any here right now.
you can't buy them online. Cannot buy them. But anyway, so my dad, we get out of the truck. We're in the parking lot, Sportsman's Warehouse. And he goes, all right, hang on. Let me get into my disguise. And I still don't know why he's brought me there. He's like, we need to go Sportsman's. And I was like, I'll go Sportsman's. Whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's like, I need to get in my disguise. I was like, your disguise? And he's like, oh yeah. So I gotta buy some primers.
Yeah, the hat.
And he goes, if you could you please go buy some primers for me? Like,
You're the disguise.
well, no. My dad had his own disguise. And I was like, your disguise? He's like, yeah, I'm
I'm
a
gonna put a mustache on top
he,
of a mustache.
he goes, I'm a snowboarder.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, what?
No,
So he gets out this bright orange jacket and this bright red hat, and he's just like puts on these sunglasses, and he's like, all right, let's go in. It's like, what are you fucking doing? Anyway, so my dad goes in there and
Rocket
gets his
Resort
primers.
at that point.
I get some primers. We go buy them. We leave. Now, we get home. My mom's home now. And my dad's like, all right, can you go down there with us? Get some more primers. My mom's like, what are you fucking talking about? And he explains the whole situation. And she's like, whatever. And I prodded her to go do it. Because it's important, because I shoot a lot with my dad. But it's important. So I was like, if you go down there, Veronica's family's like taco place is like across the street.
Guys for $10 worth of primers.
Anyway, keep going.
So I was like, Veronica's family's like taco thing is like right across the street. So if you go down there, we'll buy you tacos. She's like, okay. So my mom will do anything for tacos.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially good ones. Like those. That's steak and ham taco. Whatever that
It's called
is.
the fortune taco.
The Fortune. That's what it's called. The
Fortune
Fortune. That thing is bomb. But anyway, so we go down there. My mom gets out of the truck. I get out of the truck. And my dad's like, where's your disguise? I was like, my disguise? He's like, where's your disguise? And I was like, no, I'll just walk in there and buy them. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, I'll put on a different jacket. So he hands me a different jacket and like all this other stuff and like whatever. And he starts pulling out all this shit and he's just, like I said,
It's
double.
like Mr. Potato Head. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
shoving like new
It is-
lips on it.
it
He's
is-
all these
it is-
new lips now.
It is full on double O doofus, which is why I started calling him that. And like he puts on his whole disguise, and they go in there and they get these or they get that. We all get our boxes of primers. My mom, mind you, 73 years old, buying primers for a Remington, whatever. Anyway, so we all get our boxes. We go through checkout, get our tacos, whatever. But at the same time, as we're leaving, the funny thing is, what really hit me, his phone rings. He picks it up. It's his buddy Stanley, who's like another gun nut dude, whatever. And he's just like, "Hey, did you get in there?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we got in, we got out, we got."
Oh, we fucking swept the place.
Yeah, he's like, "No, we got 600
We've been
primers.
here 3
We
times."
got 600. We got in and out. We got in and out." And he's like, "Okay, I'm in the parking lot right now. What disguise did you use?" And it's like, you retired men
This is
are
amazing.
fucking insane.
Well, do they sell them up here ever at Liberty?
They do, but they'll only sell you 200 a day. That's
well,
that's
you
the whole
know,
thing.
you have a friend
But
in
here's
the
the
gun
thing.
business
So even
that
even
works
at a
at
business,
Liberty.
even at
I
a
said,
business,
Lemieux works over there. Just talk
even
to
at a
Lemieux.
business like Liberty, though, they can only sell you 200 a day.
Well, not if you send different people in.
That's right. But eventually, your people run out, and you got to put on disguises.
Well, a day. That's not true. So like 1, 2, 3, 4
In one day, my dad bought almost 2,000 primers.
with 1,
That's 10 disguises.
Yeah.
6.
And my dad would go in there. He was doing stupid shit. He was like, "I'm gonna change my voice. I'm gonna change my voice." I was like, "Dad, you're 60."
Hey!
No.
Yeah, you're dead.
Like when he went in there as a snowboarder, he was just like,
Saw dude.
"Hey, all right." He's like, "Hey, all right." He just kept saying, "Hey, all right" to the guy. And I was like, because I was standing right there with my boxes of primers. And he's like, "Hey, all right." And the guy's like, "Oh, you want to?" He's like, "Hey, all right."
At this
And
point,
I'm
they
just like,
know.
dude.
They don't really care. At this
I
point,
would
it's
be
like,
laughing
they
my
know.
ass
I
off
think-
so hard.
Didn't one of them get busted?
Oh, yeah. And one of my dad's buddies got busted. Because he came in there in disguise and they busted him. So they had to get elaborate with their disguises. What retired old men won't do to have fun? It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Oh my
That,
god,
but
that's
that being
amazing.
said, yeah, that's my dad's prime story. But
I mean,
anyway, that's
just
when
hit up Lemieux and ask him.
that's when we had the well, I will probably next time. My dad got another
Yeah, he's
200
working
on him.
over there.
But that's when we had the tacos from her family's place, and yeah, the carnitas was on point. It was very good, but that fortune taco, that like steak and ham or whatever the hell that was, oh, that was money.
Well,
Probably-
I know.
I
It
think
sounds like you're fucking it. Like,
nope. That's Dude,
You have never had a better taco than this. I swear to God, it was wet. It
What?
was good. Like it was a tight taco. Like it was everything you wanted a taco.
I'm
to
telling
be.
you, that taco was just,
Jesus Christ.
it was perfect. Like everything about it was perfect. The flavor balance, the peaks of the flavor, the lows of the flavor, the saltiness, the spiciness, everything was just right there.
I'm gonna
That
believe
taco
on it
was
because I
bomb.
mean the guy like baking is a science, and if you can't get it down and like your salty and sweet like levels when you're
Their
baking,
bacon is right where it needs to
it's
be.
like
It
crazy.
was
So I'm gonna
so
give you your
good.
food preferences for sure.
It was so good. Like I was blown away by that one. And she thought the carnitas was gonna blow me. I was like, no, some carnitas
I mean, that's
in
what
my
I
day.
grew up
Well, you're
with.
white.
You know, carnitas for us.
And I'm working
But that fortune taco, that's on a new level.
primers.
You buy me food, I'll buy you prayers, Eric.
There you go. There you go.
Eric, if my dad heard you say that, he'd be like, what's his phone number? I need to talk to this man.
I can give you Eric's phone number and your dad can call him.
Oh, they can.
I think that interaction would be fucking great.
Oh, dude, my dad would
Eric-
send Eric in there 3 times with
Eric
different
and-
disguises and everything. Like,
Eric and your dad together would be hilarious.
oh, dude, because they're the same person basically.
Yeah, they're very similar.
They really are the same person.
Yeah, they sell burritos too. I just grew up with one. Like, I grew up with carnitas ever since I was little because it's my dad's special recipe, you know. So it was always an occasion for us, you know. And then
And
they
it's
finally,
bomb.
He
It's
taught my
bomb.
brother how to make them, and they finally got the restaurant going. And now they expanded their menu, and I haven't had anything else.
Dude, the fortune. Try the fortune.
Yeah.
That's a taco of
We
tacos.
tried so carnitas recipes are harbored by families.
Oh yeah, and they
So
start
if
at
you
what, 4 in the
have
morning?
one, You
Like,
don't
yeah.
you don't
We
give
have
it to
to
other
cook them.
people.
Yeah.
No.
And I remember like well it wasn't this past Christmas but the Christmas before I was like maybe instead of making like
Yeah,
a
my
big
dad,
like
master
Christmas
of
dinner, we
disguise.
just do like a taco bar
Tart.
instead. It's really easy since most of us are coming from out of town anyway. I was like, we'll make carnitas. Hell yeah. And then I was like, I don't know how to make carnitas. Or good ones, and I don't feel like the ones that I find on Pinterest because every like one that
Oh,
you
it's
find
just
on
all for
Pinterest,
white
like,
people.
Yeah.
the best carnitas recipe in the world. I was like, no, I want carnita, like really good carnitas. And I hit up like a couple of my friends, and they were like, my mom will come over and make them for you. You can come and pick them up from her house. She's not giving you a recipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh, never.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Holy shit. We gotta make them. That's like a part of the experience. So I
Yeah.
was like, shit.
Like, I've seen carnitas made different ways, you know. He showed me one where what's that, Cooking Man or whatever his name is?
Oh, Sam the cooking guy.
Yeah. And
Great YouTube channel, by the way.
He made his, like, in a slow cooker, and, yeah, no, our carnitas are a whole different style.
Well, it's like when we
It's
made al
weird.
pastor tacos that one time, and I was like, I know we can make them better. We just gotta figure out.
Well, and that's kind of things. Like I took that recipe anyways. We had to like go through like several of them before I found one that wasn't like strictly white people bullshit. Where you're like, this
Yeah.
is not it. This is not it. This is not it. And then when I was like buying the stuff, like I walked into like one of the Mexican the Mexican stores over here to buy some shit, and then just had like a whole, like,
Prospect in college.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they just had like their El Pastor out there. I was like, I should have just bought some from them. 'Cause
Yeah.
They were good. Like don't get me wrong, the ones we made were good,
They were.
But that
but
shit,
they weren't like.
I mean, yeah.
And that was the things like that's a big like I'm just gonna change it the next time we do it like because like just tweak it, change it out like because I made some pulled pork a couple weeks ago that was like probably the best pulled pork I've ever had ever, and I just kind of like took like a recipe and was like, oh, this kind of like makes sense, and then I was like, then let's put this shit in, this shit, and this shit, and it
Yeah.
was like the
Well,
best shit ever.
yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
I
and
was
that's the big thing is just changing it like where it's like the basics are there, and then you migrate it to like something better.
Well, and I think that's like what it like. You find a recipe and then you're like, that's not how I want it to taste. But I think if we can like do this, it'll like be like a little bit better. We should have written it down. We did it in the first
I
place.
think that like when you have a new recipe or something you want to try, let's just even boil it down to that. I want to try making beef Wellingtons or whatever.
How the fuck did you think of a beef Wellington? For
Because
It's
that's
like the
one
hardest
I've
fucking
been.
thing to make.
It's the hardest thing on the face of
Yeah,
the
it's like
Yeah,
the hardest
that's-
thing to make.
So, but just as an example, it's like look at like 10 recipes and maybe pull things out of each one
Right.
that you kind of agree with, or methods in each one you kind of agree with, and then combine them and work on it. And that's how I got my lemon pound cake, my banana bread, all the
Right,
shit
it's-
that I do.
Well,
Like-
you're right, because I mean, like, I have recipes. I have my own recipe book that I made, and when I like come up or I like find recipes that I want to make on like Pinterest or something, maybe like a couple of them, and I combine them, I make it and make it and make it until it's perfect,
Yeah.
and then it goes on the recipe.
You're like, oh, it needs more salt this time.
Yeah,
or
now
it
it
needs
needs
more
like more
lemon
red
this time,
pepper
or it
flakes.
needs
Like,
more-
yeah, it needs like a lot more of this because yeah, you do kind of forget that a lot of recipes are made for white people. I went to Thai food last night, and she was like me and John did, and she was
Which
like
restaurant?
over at Bantai,
Oh, Bontai. Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
she was like, and like your spice level, I was like hot. She was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I am positive." The amount of times I've ordered from this restaurant and eaten here, I know exactly what I need my musaman curry to be. And she was like,
Okay.
"It's hot though," and I was like, "That's okay." And like she brought, and I was like, "This is not like the spice level of like where I'm like, oh yeah, this is fucking hot," because we burn our shit off constantly, and we're all, let's try that atomic sauce. Let's like
Yeah.
fucking put the shit
Yeah.
on it. So it's
Yeah.
not really that hot for me at all, and it doesn't even like require a sip of water when I'm chowing the whole thing
Right.
down.
Well, I mean, that
So
was like the
you
benefit.
gotta like kind of like do the thing.
Back in the day, like working at the, at Thai bar was like, having Thai food twice a week. That was like one of my favorite parts about working.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to. I won't go to Thai Pepper now because
new Thai Pepper is-
I'm not interested.
It's not good either.
And I've had it, and I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, the way that owns it now is very nice. She's very nice, but she's no chew for sure.
Yeah, she's no.
I'm not talking about
ma.
the business. It was just a lot more fun when I could get the fried rice that I wanted at the spice level that would
Right, it's
totally
a
kill me.
huge.
Like,
It's a
I
big
loved it.
difference. She just made it so goddamn good.
Yeah.
When Titty Pong fucking cooked, it always was the best. It burned your fucking asshole the next day because you were just like, it was
Oh,
so
big
goddamn
time.
hot. But
It was so good
So
though.
good.
It was so good. Yeah, the last time I ordered from there, I was like, this didn't like really turn out well. And then they switched their menu over, and I was like, oh, what I used to get isn't even on the menu anymore. So like for me, especially like with the restaurants in Fort Collins, if I want something in particular that I know a restaurant makes really well, I'll go there.
always.
Yeah.
And I won't sacrifice for the next like runner up.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing. We're like when any restaurant I walk into that's highly rated that I haven't been to, I always
Yeah.
whoever the server is,
I
I'm just
always
like
what is the best
Right.
thing you make on the menu?
exactly.
Give that to me.
What would you order?
Yep. So
And every server
cacciatore.
hates that scenario.
They
They
do.
don't know what you like, but they don't
They
realize that
do,
we're normal people
but-
that we like what they like.
It's such
Oh,
an
God, I don't
important
care.
question, and I think it should be really enforced in like not like this is the best thing we make, but like
Unless
for
it's
you
a Mexican
personally, what is the best thing that you have had on this menu?
If it's a Mexican restaurant, I have.
There's
items I must
you
order.
get to be able to like ebb and flow. So like at
If you can't make a
Italian
good Rieno,
restaurants-
game over.
absolutely. Also, I'm a really like green chili
Oh,
is a huge thing
yeah,
for me, and
yeah.
Colorado people in
Yes.
general. So like if your green
Yeah,
chili
you're
sucks, I'm probably not
You're good?
going to come back
Mhm.
because green chili is like my shit. But at like
Oh, yeah, they
certain
smother it and everything, so it's
exact,
you
if
can't
it's
do
not
that.
good, then you're not doing
Yeah,
it right.
if you can't do that right, then
It's the whole sauce.
Yeah.
But like at certain like Italian restaurants, so like cacciatore's, for instance, makes a really, really good. What is the dish where it's like the noodles? They crack an egg yolk on top of it.
oh,
You know what I'm talking
shit,
about.
I
You
know
what
exactly
you
what
can
you're
look it
talking
up.
about.
So they're the only Italian restaurant that actually makes it that way and gives you the egg yolk to mix it into your pasta.
It would
If you get that
technically
dish
be a
anywhere else,
braccioli, but it would also be a
it's-
carbonara.
it's the carbonara.
Yes.
So if you get carbonara anywhere else, they don't give you the egg yolk because people are too afraid of
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
raw eggs.
yeah.
But like they will do it there, and it is fucking phenomenal. If I like pancetta and I just don't, that dish would be incredible.
And furthermore, if you can't do a solid eggplant or chicken parm,
That's also very true. Your
If
lasagna.
you're at a restaurant that
also
can't
needs to
do
be kind of on point.
an Italian restaurant that can't do a chicken parm, don't go to that place. ever.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not even.
Yeah,
Here's
the
the-
carbonara is
Well,
is
even
key.
like, so if you're gonna have mussels on the menu, make sure your mussels appetizer is phenomenal.
Muscle.
Right, because
If
it can just
somebody
ruin the whole thing.
Dominic's.
Yeah, those
Oh.
The Dominic's mussels are so good.
Oh.
Jay's mussels are so good.
Jay's is good too.
Cacciatore's are really good too. They do the same. They do like a beer butter garlic sauce. It's
White
really
wine,
nice.
sort of
Yes.
whatever. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
real nice. Oh.
Well,
Damn it.
when it comes to like appetizers and those kind of things, like it can ruin the entire meal if the one appetizer's bad. So it's like as soon as you're like, this is disgusting. It doesn't matter how good the rest of it is. It does not matter. You're just like,
How
over.
about Antonio's with the oysters?
Those were so
I blew her mind into 1,000 pieces. We went to Antonio's and I ordered as the appetizer, which is their specialty, by the way,
Is the oysters?
oysters on the half shell,
I could eat
But-
mussels by the wheelbarrow.
but grilled.
You definitely could another
They
time.
grill them and they put like gargonzola and bacon on them and do all this other stuff and just oh my god, it's just
Salty, savory, all the things that you need.
it's
That reminds me of when we were in Cali
Her mind
and we
was-
had the
What goes
the
better if
Rubens
it's
at that
not
one
oysters?
restaurant before we left. I
Garbanzo
don't remember
love
what
bacon
like they
and
changed about it.
mayonnaise
It wasn't like
and
a real
mayonnaise.
Reuben.
oh,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We were in that. It was in San Jose,
Oysters.
and we were like the only people in the entire restaurant. There's 3 stories of this restaurant.
Yep, I remember that.
And we were the only people there at like lunchtime on like a Thursday.
Yep, I remember that.
It was
Right.
San Jose is a weird fucking place.
San Jose is weird.
But
good,
like that
but weird.
Reuben was like the best thing ever, and I
Oh.
can't remember what because it wasn't like a real Reuben. It wasn't just cheese and fucking.
It wasn't the normal shit.
But
yeah,
it was so
there
fucking good. And anytime I hear like that like super good scenario, I remember that fucking Reuben, and I was like, that shit was so dank. And we were the only people, so we had like 15 servers, and at one point we were just like talking and just.
Yeah, they just came and hung out. They just sat down. They're like,
Yeah,
we have
they're
no
like-
one else to talk to.
They're like, you guys are different than the people here. Like, San Jose is a weird fucking place. I don't get it.
Seattle is?
San Jose.
Oh.
California, yeah, right outside San Francisco there.
It's a weird fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, there's 1 million people proper, and nobody does anything.
Yeah, literally no one does anything.
No, we
ever.
were out on like a Saturday, and like 4 bars were open downtown
Yeah,
in
it's
San
like-
Jose.
And pre-COVID, mind you.
Yeah, this is a couple years ago.
That's surprising for California.
There was, and like we were walking into one bar, and like there was just nobody doing anything. There's 1 million people proper in San Jose.
Yeah, million.
Car bandits from.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah, we were rental car bandits.
But yeah, it was that Reuben was so dank. Like
rental car, Smokey and the Bandit.
I had fun that trip.
Yeah.
We were balling on a budget for sure.
When
but
you're
it was
freezing
super
the
fun.
brakes on a Toyota Yaris on the reg,
Oh yeah, I've heard this.
yeah.
It was such a fun trip. We spent.
little scrub braking around those
I
corners.
mean, outside of the tickets to the car show, we only spent total like probably like $700 or $800 total.
Well, you
And
and
we
I
were there
were,
for, like, a
you
week.
and I at that point in time were still like super poor.
Someone wish
Yeah.
I was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miller time, you would have
We would have had.
died in the back of that car.
You gotta show
you would
up.
have died.
Edmund's one of the few people that I trust in a
You
car
wouldn't have
too.
even
Oh
fit
yeah,
in
but
that
he would have
car.
died back
He
then.
wouldn't have even fit in that car.
You imagine someone in the back of that car,
It actually wasn't that bad.
the back seat of that car.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, dude.
It wasn't an IQ. It was a fucking Yaris.
Evan would have.
It's surprising that we didn't get arrested
and-
as it
No,
was
it
because
wasn't
we were.
Yaris. It was a 1.5 automatic.
Yeah, so it wasn't an IQ. The backseat's not bad.
Hey, it was on my credit card. I remember what it is.
I know.
Very cool flex. But anyway, so we've already established
My credit
that
card-
it was a Yaris.
My credit card, you say cool flex, my credit card, that was already maxed out.
$10,000. Who gives a shit?
We just had so much fun that trip.
We had way
spent-
too much fun.
We didn't spend that much money over.
No, but we had way too much fun.
Yeah,
They were
it was a
bored.
ball of a time.
That's
Just
fair.
you in the ocean with pants on. He wouldn't even take his pants off to go in the ocean.
No. But I lifted them slightly.
You
got
hyped him
more.
up. You gave yourself some clam diggers.
Well, I mean, sharks. There's so
Well,
many
yeah,
sharks.
you don't want them to get a hold of your pants for sure.
Well, they're
Anything
in
else is
shallow
fair
water.
game.
Sharks are in shallow water.
We were in Santa Cruz. There's no sharks.
There's plenty of sharks. You see, well, there's that.
I would like to see the science.
Okay,
either way.
A.
Will somebody please
The
Google
seals, there was so many seals, there's no sharks.
There's seals. A.
That
B,
means they're sharks.
there was that
No.
seal of
Yeah.
a woman
They don't hang. They
There
don't,
was that seal of a woman.
out in the waves there. That has to be bringing in sharks.
the seals hang
That
out
one
when there's
caught
no
me half
sharks.
off guard. She must be bringing in the sharks, dude. That seal of a woman was bringing them in.
Just bringing in the sharks.
We had so much fun that trip. It was just fine.
You remember that chick?
No, I don't. I don't
No, that weird chick that was just like out there, like way out there, and she was just out there.
Oh no, I do remember what
yeah,
you're talking about.
and
yeah.
and everyone on the
She
beach,
was out there.
everyone on the beach was just like, "What is
She's out
she
there.
fucking
She was
doing?"
out there.
She was just
Just out there.
Yeah,
was
she was
out
past
there.
the riptide for sure.
Yeah, she was like way out there for like no reason, and everyone was like, "What is she doing?" It's weird.
She could float.
She.
Oh no, she floats. There's plenty of float in her. I can tell you.
Stop.
Just saying.
Yeah, we had a ball that time.
Yeah,
that
I'm
fucking
surprised
that fucking hole. We were there for what, 6 days?
Yeah.
We had a ball of a time. Just considering again, we didn't have any money. We
Well,
went to Goodwill to buy like clothes to go to the car show.
Oh yeah, so I had $6 to buy a shirt to go to the car show, and I found a shirt for $6, and it's
It's amazing.
the infamous purple shirt to this day.
Yeah.
Which drunken billionaires' wives came up to me at that car show and were like, "I love your shirt."
Yeah, I'm not even joking. And he bought it for $6 at
What
Goodwill
a
in
sugar
San
baby.
Jose.
Why didn't you take your shot? You could have made so much money.
I couldn't believe what they let us get away with. We
Sugar
sat a
baby?
$40 million
Yeah.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
And they
It
just
was
like
dick pic for like $2,000
Right?
bucks. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, get over it.
A car that's probably worth
Yes.
more than I'll ever accrue
Read
in
an
my entire
OnlyFans.
life.
Give them the link.
And they're just like, "Yeah, take a seat."
yeah, they did not care
Fuck
whatsoever.
yeah.
That was such a fun trip just overall. But yeah, that Sunday was when we passed that fucking GT3 RS
Oh,
on the highway doing 115 in a Toyota Yaris.
yeah, passing a GT3 RS, one of the greatest supercars ever
This is a
made,
$300,000 car.
and we blow by it in our rental. Like, no, blow by them on the highway.
I always do windows were tinted so we can see their face as we cruise by them.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Because they were doing like a $1.05.
They were doing a $1.05. We were doing a $1.15 in our rental car. And just went right by them. And they're, dude, yeah.
We got a Toyota. Actually, they are pretty, like, kind of zippy cars. We got a Toyota Yaris when we went to Chile. Same car, probably, that you get there.
Zippy, yes.
Pretty.
Brakes, lock, yes.
Nobody's driving them like we drive them.
That's true.
This is a Toyota.
Should have just, like, printed out the Porsche logo and kind of
10-year warranty.
taped it
Get
to
over
the
it.
front of it.
I would just drive it. I had so much fun in that car. When we first got it, it was not good. It had 400 miles on it. Whoever drove
No,
it
that
prior-
car was
Just got to open her up a little bit.
That car was pissed off about being a car. Like emotionally, that car was pissed off about being a
If
car.
God chose me to be a Yaris instead of a Porsche,
That car was just like, I am a Yaris.
I'd
God
rather be a
I
fucking
don't know
damn
that.
it.
I don't know that I
Ford
exist.
Focus.
By the end of that week, that car was like, I'm a fucking
How do
Toyota
you
Yaris.
know if you
I take down
exist?
Porsches. I scrub brake. I lock my shit everywhere. We're fucking balling.
It literally was a brand new car because it only had
It was
400
brand new.
miles.
It was brand new when we got
into
it. And we
brand new.
We
I'm
made
so
it-
stuck on this question.
What
Oh,
the
what?
exhaust? How do you know you
The
exist?
one, yeah. I'm like, oh.
I mean, we don't know that we exist.
I mean,
to be
how
honest.
do you know that you exist?
I don't.
Should we all go around in a circle and say our answers?
No, but I think cars have a soul.
I don't think we're talking about the car. How do you know that you exist, Wingate?
Well, I exist because I am matter in a collective sort of shitbag here.
Right.
And
That's a perfect response to that.
as a result of being a sentient matter,
Rings are
I have feelings and other things. But I also think that mechanical things can have a soul. I really believe that.
I
I
believe
so
that too,
believe
but
that.
hold on to a second. How do you know that
Hey,
you
wait.
exist?
Have you owned a car? Have you owned a car? Have you owned a car
Like,
that-
owned a car?
that you feel a connection to?
Yeah, my 1996 Ford Bronco.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Did that car have a
OJ.
soul?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about right here. Is that soul? It's that weird connection you get with a certain, even if it's just a electromechanical device, which is a car. Even if you have that once in your lifetime, just to have that once is like cool. It's something. It's so different.
Yeah, we put coals on for both.
Oh, you did? Oh,
No, we can't.
And Dickie knows this probably better than I do, but I know it pretty well because I had it with my Land Rovers. I had it with there's like a connection you get.
my Land Rover for sure.
Very different.
Well, that had something going on inside.
What
of
was
it
your
that
Land
not
Rover?
me.
What was your Land Rover?
Freelander.
Oh, not a Land Rover.
Remember when I was like, I have this Land Rover and it's kind of a piece of shit and I don't want to have it anymore. This was again
I don't think
probably
that you
10
we
years
were
ago.
all like super close at that point.
No, we were because this was like 10 years ago. Like
Oh,
me
and
and
by the
Dozer
way-
would still walk to class.
By the
together
way,
at this
everyone
point.
who has a Ford badge on that same car, also a piece of shit.
I drive a
Your
Ford
mom had.
Focus.
Does she still have one?
Giant piece of shit to this day, but she won't let go of it.
My Ford Focus is amazing.
I've been trying to get my mom to get a brand new like Edge or no, not an Edge, an Escape. I've been trying to get my mom to get that because I'm just like, dude. And she rented one on a vacation recently, and she was like, "That car is fucking great." I'm like, "Oh my god, blah blah blah." I was like, "Why? Just get one. Get one." She's like, "No. I like my 2010 stupid ass doctor, accountant, whatever, financier red."
That's
whatever,
one of my favorite models.
whatever fucking color you call that car. She loves that thing for some reason. So okay.
You know, you can't tell.
You also like garbage ass cars, so you can't say shit.
Yeah, you like Land Rovers.
They're great.
Your
So-
advice to me, yeah, just bam, and that was that. Your advice to me when I told you about my Range Rover, I was like, man, I think this thing is like a real piece of shit, and you were like, these cars are not pieces of shit if you take care of them.
In the right way.
Exactly. So
Yes.
they're like that. So the person that I bought it
It's
from,
not a Chevy.
so the person that I bought it from did not. So when I got it, it had a mess of
It was a
transmission
giant.
issues
Yeah.
that I was not
Yep.
in the financial situation to fix.
Yep.
And so in that like rush, I was like, we gotta get rid of this. This is not the car for me.
But if you do fix them,
But it did
it's
have
the
a
best
personality
4x4
for sure.
by far.
I mean, it had cup holders out the ass.
Again, Freelander,
There was, like,
not
20
Range
cup
Rover.
holders in
It's
that
still
thing.
they were called They were Land Rover Range Rover Freelanders, which they're not. They were not a Land
It
Rover.
ran under the same badge. So
Yeah.
I'm
Land
just
Rover
assuming
has
that they
always
were
had a
made by
branding
the same
problem.
company.
Let's put it that way.
Well,
So
because
not
it was,
good
the
with
Rover
branding?
General was a branding problem.
Horrible.
But
no,
that
we're
being
talking
said-
about all sorts of dumb bullshit.
My Rovers, greatest things I've ever owned.
Is this-
Period.
I can't-
My
They can be sometimes. some
My
of it is not.
1982 4-door 5-speed Range Rover was one of the greatest vehicles I've ever experienced.
Didn't you get a
And
Are you,
No.
are you talking about the one that was
No,
just
that was
a
my fault.
frame and a body?
no, it was not just a frame body. I drove that thing in its entirety, like
Yeah,
as
so
a full
flip
thing.
out like center
It was the
fold.
greatest car he ever owned for 1 year. It's fine.
I drove it 3 times, and that. And let me tell you.
I owned my Range Rover for like 4 weeks,
Hey,
for like 3 weeks, and I
we
drove
are-
it more than that.
No, I owned it for 5 years, but I only drove it 3 times.
Yeah, and I
Let me tell
drove
you
mine
this.
way more
That
than 3
thing,
weeks.
driving it down to the gas station at the bottom of the hill and back, was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life.
This makes
Because
me
it
kill myself.
yeah, I agree. Actually.
This
oh
makes me
my
wanna
god,
kill
it
Those 3 times were pure ecstasy.
the spirit.
Stacy.
It was the spirit. It was the feeling you got from driving it that was so unmatchable.
Do you guys
from-
want to go do some Stacy tonight? Just so curious.
I'll do some X Stacy.
Oh, I have some stuff.
Let's get it.
I
Let's
got
do
some Stacy.
Yeah,
We're rolling in
I have never
drums.
found a
Let's
vehicle.
do it.
Stacy.
Let's really do it.
I have never found another vehicle that has enlightened me and driven me more than that particular vehicle. That was the one. And I let her go. And it broke my heart the day I did. But she lives in Silverthorne, Colorado right now, and she's being fully restored, so that's okay. But that broke my heart that day. It broke my heart to let that vehicle leave. It broke my heart because that was the one car. Because I've always connected with cars. Because you and I, car guys,
I fucking hate cars.
car people, but you still have your cars you connect with.
I still own the first car that I ever bought.
Hey, Dickie, do you have any affection whatsoever for your pink Escort?
Oh, totally. I love that car.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love that car because you can just do anything in it.
That's what I'm talking
Wendy
about.
is
And
just like a hop and a skip and a jump away from being like one of those guys on a reality TV show that has like sex with his car. Like, I'm married to her now.
I'd fuck that car.
I don't think
That
there's
was
a car that I'd
validated.
fuck, to be honest.
I'd bang it. I'd bang it.
I'd
Yeah.
bang that car.
I'd take care of it.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm not on board with the situation.
I'd pay
as
her
far as
bills.
that goes.
I'd bear grylls.
Just because I like certain cars, but like the cars that I like are ones that gave me no issues and were super cheap. So like, yes, I still own my Mustang that I bought when I was 14 years old, and I'd love to be able to...
How many times has it been registered or driven in the last 15 years?
Well, I didn't get parked until 2007.
Okay, so you love a car then.
Correct.
You do love a car.
I love the car.
Okay.
I'll agree, but not in the same way that you do.
Like,
Sexually?
Yeah. I don't have a lot of sentimental like feelings for anything. I just really don't.
I love my
I've thought about
nice,
getting
but I
rid of
don't
that
wanna
car
fuck
just in
them.
general, but at this point, my dad's name's also in the car since I was 14 when I bought it. So, and he will not let it go away.
No, you got to keep that one, man.
And I agree. That's why I
one car
have
guy
it.
to
I
another,
love to
that's
like
one you got to keep, man.
to spend
That's
some
a
money
keeper.
on it and do the thing, but I also don't have a place to like
That's a keeper.
fix it and do the thing. So,
That's a keeper.
well, you know what I want to do to it, right?
I know.
Fuck it.
No, I don't want to.
Well,
fuck it.
slowly and
Listen, I
softly.
so often
but-
bring here.
I want to make it electric, actually.
Yeah, I know. Full electric.
Yeah, because it'd be fun
That would
and
be
fast. 1,500 horsepower and 2,000 foot-pounds of torque. Does not have to pay for gas. It'd be amazing. It would just melt tires.
So if you
So?
want to write this down for our next t-shirt idea, Electro Stang.
Electro Stang. That's what it could be called for sure.
Why not?
But yeah, I mean, I have plans for it. I just don't have funding or spots for it at the moment. So
Well, ain't that the story of all of our lives?
yeah, it's the millennial plight for sure.
Many things we want to do and no funding.
First of all, why don't all of you guys just go date a rich guy?
Oh,
Everybody's question.
I'd suck some dick, don't worry.
You better
Jeff
start
Bezos.
putting yourself out there, buddy.
If
Well,
there's somebody for everybody.
Jeff Bezos was like, I'll give you $1 million a month as your allowance. I mean,
If Jeff Bezos was like, I will give you $1 million
like, yeah, okay.
to stop talking to me, that would probably be a solid win.
and I only got to do it
okay.
like once a month,
You only have to stop talking to him once in your life.
I got to suck dick
You get $1
once a
million.
month. But I get $1 million a month. Oh, dude.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would suck dick for $1 million. Who wouldn't?
Ugh.
For $1
God.
million, you can't even pretend that you wouldn't do it for $1
I
million.
guess
Financial
I'd tone me up.
security.
It's just like not my favorite thing to do.
Well, it's
you
not
know?
any of our favorite thing to
I
do.
mean, I just think
Well,
that
she kind of
like,
likes it.
when I
So
think
that was
about
it's a
it-
guaranteed $1 million,
Don't
and she's definitely doing it.
So we know who's making the money in this. To be
You're
honest.
gonna make a lot of money.
All right.
So I'm just saying, like, if that's like the case, like $1 million, fuck yeah, it's like not even a question. Yeah.
I
like,
just like. I mean, I guess.
it's
How
not a
long
guess.
though? How long do I have to suck somebody's dick
To
for?
completion.
Well, as long as
To
you want the money.
completion?
Well, as long as you want the
For
money.
$1 million.
When was the last time this guy
That's
jacked
like-
off? Hopefully a week ago, because time is money and money
Either
is
way,
power.
I get $1 million. Think about like the amount of work you don't have to do
$1 million.
for $1 million.
Okay, but do you have to swallow or spit?
And they could do it
I
through
don't
a.
care. at this
Like,
point.
if they're gonna come here, I'll just swallow it. Like, it's fine. But like,
They could transfer through a 406 and you have no taxes,
yeah.
so it's a straight $1 million.
Well, it's a nonprofit organization at that point.
Well, 406 is not a nonprofit, but it's a non-taxable. So
I don't care about that. Even if it was taxed, I don't give a shit.
sorry,
At 20, 30%, it's still $700K
logistics.
for
Sorry.
a fucking.
Will you come to my house and do my taxes for me?
a 20 to
I can,
let's just
yeah.
say a half an hour max for $1 million.
A half an hour?
For $1 million.
Okay, let's all
Some
calm
guys
down
take a
on
while.
getting your dick sucked for a half an hour. That's what I'm saying. Like, when was
I'm
the
just
last
saying,
time he jacked off? Because maybe he should not jack off for like
about
a
$1
week.
million for
before.
half an hour.
I mean, I have probably like other things to do.
$1
I could do
million.
so many other things. I mean, if I'm making $1 million in 30 minutes,
That's what I'm saying.
But like,
You're just
Right, Miller. You're right. Half an hour.
Yeah,
$1 million
half an
bucks.
hour, $1 million bucks. Not that would be like if someone's like, "I'll give you $500,000 for a half an hour."
No.
I'm probably down for like even like $100K at this point in time, to be honest.
There's gonna
For
be
half an
some
hour.
teeth.
That's
gonna
like-
there's gonna be some teeth involved in
There's gonna be some
that
beard. There's gonna be a lot of things involved, but I'll do it.
one. It's gonna be like
I'm just saying, again,
sandpaper in there.
Like it's one of those things where it's like dignity level. Like I'm thinking like even a 50K scenario for half an hour. I'm down. Like whatever.
I would love to be
Not
one
bad.
of those people
I'm
that's
just
like,
saying,
I won't
right?
suck
Yeah,
your
no,
dick
not
for
bad,
less than
not bad.
anything than like $1 million. But like, I know that I'm not in that like financial position. But I like dignity wise, I'm like, or like even like preference wise, I'm like, that seems like so tedious.
And
I'm just saying for a
I
half
saw
an
that
hour,
team.
that's like not like. I'm doing a lot of
babe,
other things that I don't
babe,
like to do
I
for
gotta
half
go
an
suck-
hour
I gotta
for a
suck
lot
your
less
dick.
money.
I like my job.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm gonna give you 10 grand.
You're gonna
Right,
get 10
you're-
grand to suck your dick. This is amazing. So like,
No,
okay,
no,
if
no,
it's somebody
no,
that
no,
you
no,
like,
no,
I would
no,
like.
no.
Saying that he's gonna let me know.
I'm just saying, like,
suck
I'm just
dick
gonna let her know that, like,
anytime.
I gotta go suck this guy's dick. We're gonna get 50
And then
grand.
she gets 10 grand out of that?
But she gets 10.
Well, shit. So, okay, so I want to be involved in this moment. All right. So, like, if my
Honestly,
boyfriend goes and sucks someone's
if we
dick
really-
for like $1 million
If we
bucks,
really look at
I
this,
get like
10 grand
50
even for
grand
half an
out
hour
of that.
worth
I'm
of
gonna
work is
probably
kinda worth it.
Oh, that's pretty good, but
Like, all
don't
right.
sell yourself short,
Like,
Vicky.
his
I know,
money
I
is
agree.
money, so it's fine. Right? I also have $1 million, so it's good.
Exactly.
What am I gonna?
So yeah, I'm just saying like for a half an hour's worth of work, like there's a pretty low number that I'm like kind of like would consider. to be honest.
If I'm working for Jeff Bezos,
I think 10 grand is probably as low as I'll go in this situation.
I just feel like Jeff Bezos
50.
is probably
You think
involved
50?
in all the
50.
like
I think 10 for me.
shit
Dude,
that
that's
we don't
pocket
want to
change
be
for him.
involved
50.
in.
Well, 50K. I mean, Jeff Bezos can give you any amount of money.
I know,
I made
but
jokes of like
50.
I want to get with fucking Mackenzie Bezos because you know they're separated now,
Yeah,
and she's a smoke show for being like 45, and she's worth $66 billion.
well,
I'm in.
why did he marry her?
They were married in the 90s before he made all that money.
But he also married her because
She was pretty.
She is pretty, so.
smoke show.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
he al-
laughed at his jokes that weren't funny.
he,
She
I'm
hyped
sure.
him up enough to create Amazon. She was like, "Baby, I believe in you," and he was like, "Hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this."
I mean, that's the joke. If somebody
Look,
hit me up with her,
both of them, I
I'd
knew
do
something was going
really
on.
disgusting things if she
Both.
let me for sure.
Period.
I don't think she was sucking his dick for $1 million.
Okay, well then, all right, let's.
I
didn't have
actually
to.
think
She made the money with
did
him.
not
So
suck
then-
his dick.
so then,
hence the
If
divorce
that's true,
situation.
if that's true, let's keep an eye on who she dates next.
Oh,
I know.
I don't think she's dating anybody in the
She doesn't
spotlight.
need. She doesn't need to do shit. She can.
think
She's
the
worth
only way
$66
to-
billion.
That's
Dating
true.
somebody is royalty at this point.
But human nature, she will become lonely.
I bet she has a
for
bunch of
that.
20-year-old boys doing
yeah,
whatever
you
she
can just
wants.
pay people for that. You
Yep.
make them sign
And
a
how
contract.
many of those do you go through, right? Eventually,
Thousands, I'm sure.
eventually you'll find one where, as her, you're gonna find one where you're like, I connect with this person.
Not
What
when
does
he's
this have to do
20.
with anything?
Not when he's
I'm
20.
just saying your feelers are gonna get
Not
involved.
a 20-year-old dude.
Who cares?
Your
She's
feelers,
worth $66 billion. Makes him sign a prenup and doesn't do shit.
feelers will always trump money.
I don't even
Eventually.
think that she would marry them in the first place.
Right,
She would
she
be like,
doesn't
I
have
mean,
to.
like, I'll like pay for you and support you, but when we're
All right.
done, you're like, out.
All right, next 5 years, just watch.
Okay.
It'll
See
be
what
me.
happens.
It's fine.
See what happens.
Ooh.
See what
Let's
happens
make
next 5
it
years.
you.
I think it'd be great.
Let's
but-
make it. Yeah, we have joked around about this a lot. Let's make it you. And like, remember, I feel like we came up with a plan at one point. I was like,
We were
figure out what she's doing and like, let's get you there.
a lot more funding than I have available is what she's doing. Like, My
Kate
yearly.
is a expensive bitch.
I just know how to get what I want
I
in all aspects.
kind of wish the
Of my
Roomba
life.
would kick on and come out here right
Roomba? Did you say Robu?
now. Roomba?
Roomba. A little sweet girl over there. Oh, she's coming.
Well, that is my sweet girl.
Everybody.
Don't you worry.
I was
It's
just
not a
gonna,
Roomba
I was just
over
gonna
there.
drive it around.
Dickie, yes. Delayed timing. Perfect.
Nope, not going over those.
Chords.
Nightclubbers.
Did you ever get a text from Sarah after she told you she was coming back?
No.
Wasn't she?
Did you want to text her and make sure that she's okay?
I'm sure she's fine. She
Well,
was with her
I'm sure-
mom,
Okay,
so.
well, I'll text her and make sure that she's okay then. That she wasn't like driving down here or something weird happened.
Oh, okay.
You can do all that from your phone.
Yeah.
Cause that scares like the shit out of me.
Stop. Go home.
Ooh. Fun fact. I don't have Sarah's number anymore.
I'll
from
text
3
her.
years ago, 5 years ago, turns out. If you sat on that, would it still drive around? Do you think?
No. It's not that strong, for sure.
Hi, Evan.
Good night. No time.
Didn't I put 2 sets of
Did
clothes
you-
on?
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
Obviously, you did not. The proof is in the pudding on that one.
I didn't even put these clothes on. I think I meant to ask you one day if you could put clothes on for us, and
Well, that didn't
I
happen.
did not. So.
It was just being pissy because there's so much like cords in the way.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
How long are you guys staying?
Huh?
I said, how long are you guys staying?
Oh, till whenever.
Whatever. Pretty much.
That makes me feel better. I just, like, my house is empty now. My boyfriend doesn't live, so
He's where?
it's a big house. What?
Your boyfriend's where?
He went snowboarding
Oh.
in Beaver Creek.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
Beaver Creek?
Ah, BC. Nice. That's where Stephen Gillette and I went one time.
Oh, Stephen Gillette. How
Hmm.
is he?
I don't know. Well, we went there one time together. That was fun. That was a good time. We went four-wheeling in his Kia Rio.
Yeah.
Did not go well.
I
And then,
imagine it wouldn't.
yeah, and then we did some fishing. It was nice.
Steven, I don't know if I ever told you this. When I lived in, do you remember the townhouse Avery lived in off of Overland and Elizabeth?
Yes.
So when I took over that place from them, I lived there for what, like 4 years?
Yeah.
I lived there for 4 years.
I think you lived there longer than the boys did.
You actually came over. I have a picture of you and Dick together at
Yeah,
my
we
house.
came back from the comedy show. We were.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And Steven's girlfriends lived just across the parking lot from me.
Girlfriends. Oh my God. Steven.
Oh, I don't know about that juice.
No,
but-
you don't need to.
I saw him one day, and I was like sitting out on my patio, and I was like, Stephen G? And he was like, Caitlin? I was like, what are you doing around here? And he was like, oh, this is my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, very cool. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I see, like, I was like, your patio is super cool. You have like a hammock out there. You do yoga all the time. Like, I get it. She's like, yeah. And I was like, we just live down here. We smoke hookah and we drink a lot. Like, that's like total opposites kind of like situation. And like, he was like, well, that's like cool to know that like we can see you anytime we want to. And I was like, yeah, like I
Not
get
so
it. I was
much.
like, hey, you should come over if you want to. But yeah, obviously it's like not like that so much. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, we'll see you later. And I was like, for sure. And then I think I saw him a couple of times after that. I haven't seen him since.
I've seen that guy a long time. And I haven't seen. Well, the other day, Godwa hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, I
And-
saw his comments on somebody's. Maybe
It was on
And I-
hers. It was on
Yeah.
when you the friend request comment that he did.
Oh, I know.
And I love that dude.
That was
Godwa.
the best.
God was a
When
good dude.
I posted my, so we had gone down to Sunny Lubbock's for our way late Valentine's Day dinner.
Yeah.
And he was like, I used to work there. I was like, I know. We have a whole podcast about it, kind of. And he was like,
True.
I used to work there. How was it? And I was like, it was amazing. And then I just didn't hear back from him after that.
Yeah.
That sounds normal.
So I was like, well,
Yeah, no, I talked to him for a minute on Facebook, and then Eric made a few comments, and that was interesting. That was interesting. Obviously, we have a lot of history. Well, not you, but me and him. But you know about it.
like,
I know.
what's your Eric?
Actually, I don't think you know this, Eric.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And I relished in the fact that they both agreed with my, I guess, opinions on Led Zeppelin. So
I do believe I actually
Jesus
absolutely
Christ.
saw this because Gabriel was like, I need your opinions, Wingate and somebody else.
and that was
And
him.
I catch up this moment.
And both of
I
them
love it so much.
begrudgingly agreed with me.
Well, because it was like, these are the best Led Zeppelin songs of like all time. Wasn't that like the thing?
Best Led Zeppelin song
And I
from
actually-
every album.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't read the article. I was just like, whatever. I like the Led Zeppelin songs that I like, and that's like just how it goes.
And
And
that's
that's-
why you would actually be a good contributor to that discussion. As
Who's
would
to say one of the best? The numbers? I fucking disagree.
no,
It's
it's
whatever
it's
speaks
it's
to your
it's
heart.
not it's not about record sales. It's not about single
No,
sales.
it's whatever speaks to you as like that.
What
best song.
speaks to you? Yeah,
And I own all of those on vinyl.
and
Should have tossed set of calls on here for you. This is the same bowl. It's fine.
Oh yeah, well, blow it.
but yeah,
Blow it out.
I nailed it. And
Well,
even
I feel-
and even Godwell was like, the particular the Coda one. God was like, dude, didn't even think about that one.
Well, I remember, wasn't it just like a couple of years ago that we were all thinking about going to like a Led Zeppelin band tribute show?
Well, it's there's a couple of
Or
bands.
it's like the Mike thing. I might be getting roped up into like a few different situations here.
There's a couple different tribute shows that happen all the time. Les Zeppelin, yada
Right.
yada yada, blah blah blah.
But there was this, like, when he was telling me about something, he was like, it's the Mike thing. And I was like, you don't even listen to Led Zeppelin. I was like, when do you... And I'm not like
He
that
does.
like, stingy about... I'm not like, if you don't listen to him every day, you're not... even
But
a
I'll
real
say
fan, 'cause
he
obviously
is a
that's just not
casual
the same,
fan.
Like, situation.
He is a casual fan.
I'm like, I want to just like have a moment with you in a car, and you're just like jamming like one of the Led Zeppelin albums, and you're just like, this is like how I feel right now. And I'm like, okay, because like I do that.
Yeah, Mike Lemieux is not a guy that I can talk about Royal Orleans with. He has no idea what that is.
I think Lemieux,
But
if he was here, would be like, yes, you can. I totally know that. What are
yeah,
you talking
Royal
about right
Orleans.
now?
Okay, does it start in 3/8 or does it start in 7/8?
I don't think he gives a shit about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I do. But I fucking do. So, because classically, Led Zeppelin songs either start in 3/8 or 7/8. That's their jam.
I like Led Zeppelin, and I don't give a shit about any of that.
Okay, well, and that's over it, right? The only people that know what that means are people who have studied music ever.
Well, or people who are super obsessed with Led Zeppelin for no reason.
Me, but even then, like, then
But
you
then you
gotta
kinda
look
have-
up what that means.
You kind of have to
so
study
now
music
you're
to do
studying
that.
music.
Right.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you don't know what like your timing is on like music, and that's like how it is, you have no fucking idea what that means. If somebody
Walter's
was like,
Walk,
"This is
my
how it
favorite song,
goes,"
12/8.
You're like,
That's
what
the most
fuck does
insane
that mean?
time signature on the
You
face
would
of the earth.
never fucking know what than
Nobody, even
12 beats
Beethoven
than
didn't
eight.
do that. Like he
12
was
beats
just like,
than
that's
eight.
too stupid.
It's fucking so stupid.
And
Okay.
Led Zeppelin was like, fuck it, let's roll with
So
it.
the situation is
I love that.
that is, you know that is a mean girl moment.
That's
We're
fair.
not allowed to tell people if they like music that they don't like. Well, I'm not saying that you do this, but what I hate about it, because I went through this so much, so people are like, oh, do you even know where they went to high school? Like that moment? Like, do you even know that band? Like, no, I didn't fucking suck their dicks. Like,
I can tell you that it
wasn't
was
born with them.
Princeton Charles and Weatherby, but that's a whole different thing.
So if you like them, you like them, and even if you like them,
But that's not why I like them. You know what I mean? That's not why
it's not why you like them. It's like
I love Led Zeppelin
trivia
because
thing
of
that
the
you know about
number
them.
of factors that came together to make that band happen. Because that band was never supposed to
Even
happen.
that is only a contributor into why you.
What I like is all of those things coalescing.
You like the sound that came out when you first heard them.
I
and
do.
Then you were like, oh my
I do.
god, let's learn about them. And then
But I
you
like
put
the
together
story
all
too. I like the
story
story.
and the trivia to be like this. So that's actually secondary based on why you actually like them.
In a way, yes.
It absolutely
But-
is.
How was it in a way?
But
absolutely is.
also that's an important part of it. Is that
Now, because
Led
you stressed it so much.
Led Zeppelin was formed by misfits.
But you didn't know that when you first heard that. Bum, bum, ba-da-na, ch, ch, ba-da-na, ba-da-na, but
As
you're
the
like,
New
oh,
Yardbirds in
shit,
1968
yes.
in Stockholm. Yes.
There was no fucks on that scenario when you
So
first
the first
listened
time
to
you
it,
heard
though.
Led Zeppelin, you weren't thinking of, you didn't know any of these things. You were just like, I fucking like this. And
The
that
first
was
time I
like,
heard Led Zeppelin, I thought they were pretty cool. And
Yeah,
I didn't
there
think
you go.
anything of it.
There you go.
I didn't think a second thing about it. But then, working across the street from Tower Records, and I would go over there every night after work because they were still open, and I would go through their discount bin. That's how I got into the Doors. That's how I got into Rush. That's how I got into like all those bands. Was because I would go over there every night after work, and I knew the guy who put the records or tapes at that time. Sorry to date myself, but he would put those into the discount
What
bin.
are
Fucking
those?
makes
Like,
sense.
I didn't have a
He-
Garth Brooks tape that.
He would put those in a discount bin, right? But I already knew that because I grew up in a ranch, so I already knew all. Garth Brooks, country, Merle Haggard, whatever. I already knew all that.
Well, I understand like what you're saying.
But I didn't know
my
rock or
point
hip hop.
is-
I did not know
but
rock
the
or
point-
hip hop
When you
at
first
all.
heard Led Zeppelin, it wasn't because of all the facts behind how they became to be. Or
No,
who they
I saw
are.
the name and went in the discount bin there, and I was like, Led Zeppelin.
Like,
huh.
I could tell you, do you even, like, I could be the dick to a person who's like, Led Zeppelin, they're pretty cool, and be like, do you even know what a Led Zeppelin is?
But
I
well,
could be that
it's
person,
technically
but I
a
don't wanna
dirigible.
be that person.
But I grew up in a
We got
family.
sued over this one time. Like, right?
I
don't
grew
wanna
up
be
in a
that
family
person.
with music, right? And I grew up playing music. So as a result, when I got my first
Same.
Led Zeppelin, it wasn't even an album. It was just kind of a amalgamation of things they had done. I got this weird little album that had not even hits, but just sort of shit on it.
The
And I got it
B-sides are
from
the
Tower
greatest.
Records.
I love it the best.
Got it from Tower Records, and got it for $3. This was probably 2005. Got that, popped it, and it was a tape. Popped this in my
Fucking
tape
hate
player.
cassette tapes. I hate them.
Popped that tape into my Volvo, and that tape did not leave my tape player for the next 3 months.
Still in there.
Did not. In the junkyard somewhere it might be.
It might be. Well, so like if you think about it,
That car's been
so
crushed
the point
15
is,
years ago.
Probably, yeah, easily.
why people like the music that they do is not because of the facts that they know about the band.
I mean, she brings a good point though, because there's some music that you always like judge me for dancing music because you think it's stupid, but I like it. I mean,
But then there's
yeah.
other music that's so fucking good in terms of like not only how like the commercial response, like dance or whatever, but it's also so fucking good it's undeniable.
Well, yeah,
Like it's
But-
undeniable.
So
Like,
I have a
But it's
Hungry.
actually taste. It's taste worth, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you like something and classic rock is one of those things. I rarely meet a person who has not been like, oh yeah, like I know that band. They were like this and this and this, like right. I have books on this in my house. Like I have
so
so many of the books. Like it just you.
So
I have
both of you, because
Yeah.
she has, because unfair advantage, but have both of you heard of the band called Paul Revere and the Raiders?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They have a song called Hungry,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably the best classic rock song ever written. And it's just there.
I mean, that's always a debatable situation. So
Well,
I have a.
It's
I have a-
one of the best.
So
it's just there.
here's a different
it's
take.
just there. It's just there.
Winnie, here's a different take on music and like how like our tastes have changed over time. And this is something like that was brought to like my attention. I was listening to, I think it was a podcast, it might have been something else, interview or something with Talib Kweli.
I'm hungry for those sweet things.
I will fucking hit you. But Talib Kweli was like, he was talking about how nostalgia has made us like things that we didn't like when they came out. And I'm very much a victim.
There's a whole vein in that. for
I'm a
sure.
very like victim of this situation too. He was talking about like, you know, back in like the 90s, how while on the radio, Tupac and Biggie were big, and like that was like the popular scenario in the 90s. But the underground didn't like it at all. But now as an old man listening to that stuff, he was like, now we hit the shit like, oh, I always have loved this song. And then it's
Yeah.
kind of the same problem that like I hear like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and shit, and musically obviously not great. But
when
like
it
as
when it leaves you and then it comes back,
Right.
it does have that
So-
nostalgia.
But dude, I
it's
could
good.
get down some Backstreet Boys.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but when we were like in teenage years,
I hated it, but I
we
grew up with
hated
it.
that shit, hated it.
But I
and
kinda
now we're
like
like Backstreet's back.
All right.
For the simplest fact, I want to play this song that is the best classic rock song of all times. But because of the podcast, I don't want to play it because we'll get flagged.
Right.
So we'll play it later. But it's always taste worthy, right? So like, what we think is like amazing, something else speaks to their heart in like a different
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And that's really what music is supposed to do anyway.
Right.
So when it really became this thing where it's like, well, you don't even know like where they
Your
went to
drink
high
has been
school,
empty for a while,
or
sir.
you didn't know like all the trivia behind like how they made
keep
their
reaching
music
down
and what
for
their
it.
band was. It became more tedious to like a band and more embarrassing to like a band than it was to actually just
Like it.
free love
Well,
their
and
music.
you
Right.
watch a
And
lot of
that sucked.
interviews with bands and stuff, and they're just like, yeah. Like even Slayer, even a band like Slayer, playing Raining Blood or Angel of Death or like their big hits, right? They were always just like, here we go.
Well,
right.
it gets old,
Like,
you know, for
they're
someone
just like,
that's
yeah,
constantly.
y'all love it, that's fine, but we don't like it.
We're glad you guys like it, but we're sick of it. And like I feel like we always talk about this. If I was famous, I would hate it. And I always think about that moment where it's like the point where people want to know everything about you. And like, do you even know like where they went to high school? Do you even know like how they became a band? Like I love their like origin story, but like to go beyond that, like he was born in a shack in England.
That shit's
and, like, that
fascinating,
kind of
but at
shit.
the same time,
Like
the
I
product.
don't need people to be like testing each other. I just want people to like
Yeah.
appreciate the art that like came out. I don't need you to know like the trivia behind it.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things too. Like I know like
in that vein,
people get
you know,
really like
Vicente
pissy with like
Fernandez's stuff.
again like bands like One Direction or
Ooh,
Nickelback
I do.
or things
Ooh, I
like that,
do.
and you're like, they make millions of dollars and they
He's
have
a little poor
If you
boy.
like them, you like
yeah.
them.
Who cares?
It's a preference. Like I personally am not a big
He
fan
just-
of like
he
all the
just came and made it
Nickelback.
work.
It's fine.
Just made it work.
What are you doing over here, Wingate?
Oh, we're talking about Vicente Fernandez, my favorite Mexican singer.
Yeah. Do you not care?
Well, no, it's not that. But he was like,
Her
"Do you know?"
mom.
I grew up with him. Listening
Okay.
to him
He's all, do you
because
even
my
know
mom
where he was
listened
at high
to him,
school?
You know? But yes, that's exactly what he just said. He's like, do you
Wing it.
know his? And I was
Most
just
people
like,
have
I
no
don't-
idea.
I don't
Vicente
because
Fernandez.
I didn't-
Wingate is the person. Do you know who they went to high school? That's
Yeah.
him.
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta chill on that. Like,
But at
the
the same
trivia
time,
is cool,
it's
but it
fucking
doesn't
dumb.
matter
Oh,
if
I'm
people like it.
never chilling on that. But the thing is, I'm not going to make a deal out of it.
You do make a deal out of it. You literally just did.
If
You
they went to
actually
my
just
high
saying
school-
it is making a deal.
I went to your high
I would
school.
say.
And okay. what I'm saying is, I enjoy knowing all that information about people, kind of like you're talking about. I enjoy knowing all that.
It just goes right back to that sucking that dick.
Well, and
straight.
I love like the
I
good,
enjoy
like,
that.
trivia moment, but you can't shit on somebody else because they don't know it because
No,
if
and
they like
and
ideas.
I never do. In
You
that
do.
regard.
You just started the conversation as that scenario
No.
about like the 3/8 and the 7/8.
I never hold anything against anybody that doesn't know something musically. Like that's not a thing.
You totally do that. You literally just did it to her too.
I don't hold it against.
I know you actually
Alright,
don't, but you
do
just
it,
say
but
it to
you
make a joke.
unintentionally do
Yeah,
it.
I'm making a joke. Exactly. Like
I feel like
don't.
it's you do it, but it's unintentional.
Yeah.
But you do it.
Yeah.
Because I hear a song, I pick out the time signatures immediately, and I start clicking.
Yeah,
and
but you
dang,
do
dang,
it
dang,
more
dang,
than that.
dang.
Again, like what high school did she go to? What college? When were they born?
But I'm just
all
fascinated.
this garbage. I
I'm
know.
just fascinated. I'm not doing that to be a dick or to hold it
But you
over
do
anybody.
sometimes.
I might if I need.
If we
someone.
talk about Metallica,
All right,
immediately.
all right. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
I know you love Dave Mustaine, but goddamn.
He's the best. The only time
See, I know how to like poke the pride.
Hey, the only time I use information against somebody, the only time ever I use information against somebody in that regard, is if they're being an asshole.
I know, but you also like to be an asshole sometimes too.
If they're being an asshole,
You're definitely.
that's it.
You definitely just do it anyway.
That's it. If you,
I love that I can like rile you up like bam, bam, bam.
No,
I'm just gonna go pee during this.
if you trigger me, I will burn you,
I trigger you all the time.
and I don't burn you because I love you.
I do it to get you riled up, and you know that. But you do the same thing to get other people riled up. You're not immune to the situation.
And neither are you, sir.
No, I do it. I do it on purpose, specifically for a lot of reasons.
Well, I get you riled up sometimes.
Yeah, but it's so much easier to get you riled up than me riled up.
That is probably true. However,
This is a heated show.
It's no longer a car
that being
show.
said, there are times.
Heated show.
I've been trying to get him to do a podcast with me on cars for like a year
There's
now.
a few topics where I've gotten Diggy to the point where he's screaming at me.
Yeah, it happens. I get like
So,
That MCHC is opening in Denver.
I did see that.
what does that mean?
It's Music City Hot Chicken.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't really affect me in any way as long as I keep
Yeah.
it here.
Okay, cool. As long as they're still open over here.
I mean, my problem is I love that place, but I just can't eat it every week. It kills me.
I wouldn't mind having their mac and
Not only that, I've been hesitant to go back there.
Goes over here.
Oh, that's right.
You've been hesitant to go back there?
Yeah.
Why?
Last time I ate there was dog shit.
Well, that does happen on occasion where it's bad.
It was 1,000% dog shit last time I ate there.
What have you been doing?
And,
Jesus.
and the worst
Trying
part
to suck the
was
cum
I
out of
was
this one for sure.
I was taking
got
someone
it.
there. I was taking someone there to show them how great it was, and it was 1,000% dog shit.
Really?
And that pissed me off. I was like,
You know, when everything is so custom, that happens occasionally.
It does.
Where like
It does.
again, sometimes you'll go there and the chickens are like tiny and like little and like it's not hot, and then like other times it's like
expired.
huge.
In our case, completely expired.
And so it's just one of those like things where like it doesn't. They have such a variety of like suppliers and that kind of shit. That happens sometimes.
Totally
and that's
get
where
it.
like a place
Totally
that
get
like
it.
does like real food and not just processed
Yep.
shit. It happens that way.
Yeah, I've been back since, and it's been fine. But that one time was embarrassing. Like that was not cool.
You were just embarrassed.
Yeah, I was because I brought someone there.
Talking about me being a dick
Well, when you took me over there, I thought it was good.
No, it's very good. 9 times out of 10, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
But there's once in a while.
But
Where
yeah, again, any place that makes like real stuff, it happens that way.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like where it's like
It's not
you
very
make
good.
there's something you make every time that's like super dank and super bomb.
Yeah.
And there's that one time like something was just
Luckily,
not right.
the
I've
mac
done
and
that.
cheese, the mac and cheese was the saving grace.
I've done
So.
that.
That sucks. I've never had that experience.
And I've had
I
it a
haven't
couple
either.
times.
That's the only time. It's
I've
the
had it a couple
only
times,
time.
and that's just what it is. Like
It's
again,
the
like,
only time.
I
where
know
I've
that
been
like
in
as
Music
a
City
as a
where I'm
real
like,
place that's
this
not
is
just
awful.
serving processed shit. That's what it's gonna be on occasion, where it's
I've
not.
had it like where it's not so good.
Yeah.
It was delivered to the house. It was like the first time John ever had it, and I was like, I swear to God, it's so good.
Oh,
And
it's the
we
best
got-
thing. It's the best thing.
Yeah, we got chicken strips that were just.
That was
all
my
tendons,
experience, too.
And it
I brought somebody there
sucked.
and was like, "This is gonna be the best chicken. This is gonna be the best chicken." And we got there and it was not good.
Yeah, it
But,
just.
yeah,
didn't
it
work
happens
out.
on occasion.
And it sucked because I was like, damn it! And he was like, why is this good? Like it's all tendon. Like we're pulling like tendons like out of our chicken strips. And I was like,
Our chicken
I don't
was
even
fucking
know
old.
like what
It
is
was
going
old
on right now.
and it tasted old.
But I haven't
Again,
had the experience
was
since,
terrible.
and so that's good.
It does
But-
happen. It's just one of those things, especially like
Yeah.
this Pandy also kind of fucked their shit up a little bit too, where they had to like figure out
Yep.
what they were doing again.
Yep.
The
Pandemic.
That's fine.
Pandana?
That's fine.
Pandy.
the pan.
The pandy.
Taloo?
The
Pandy.
pandy.
The pantaleones.
We've been going for like almost 4 hours.
Have we?
Well, what's kind of nuts is that we're just having like a normal conversation. We're not even like really doing this. So
Right.
if we gotta call it.
Well, I was just saying, we've been doing it for so long, we put some
4
music on,
hours?
somewhere- Almost.
Yeah, let's
Do
throw some
whatever,
music
man.
on. I don't want to dip out our YouTube situation because we threw on a song that we were like, let's see if it's the best classic rock song in the
Well,
world.
on Twitch.
Oh. All right. Oh. Okay.
I already
oh.
have it queued
wait.
up. I already have it queued up.
Whoa. Whoa.
Thanks so much,
Hey.
guys. We'll see you later.
You have opened